In order to make money, I secretly went to the hospital to donate sperm, but I accidentally ran into the school beauty doing a prenatal checkup. I saw that she was 10 weeks pregnant on her ultrasound report. I felt something was wrong. It was because I was drunk that night 2.5 months ago, and I accidentally took the school beauty's first blood, but she left without saying a word. I thought I would never have a chance again. Now we stand together, but it's like we're separated by a screen. I can only see her covering her face and talking to herself. How did I get caught in the first place? Hearing this, I felt a headache and couldn't help asking, is this child mine? It's you. Li Mengyao was startled at first and leaned back involuntarily. 2 months later, that face is still impressive and unforgettable. And a feeling of grievance surged into my heart. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I cried softly. Lin Xuan hates to see girls cry in front of him. At the same time, many people in the hospital looked at this place and couldn't help but sigh that there was another scumbag. Lin Xuan already felt that everyone was looking at him as if he were a monkey. Well done, T cry. Or everyone will think I'm bullying you. Lin Xuan panicked instantly. Li Mengyao burst into tears, her eyes were red, and her hands were tightly clenched together. You are bullying me. This child is yours. I am going to be a father? Hit the mark? Lin Xuan was shocked. Li Mengyao continued to cry softly, and suddenly a strange voice echoed in Lin Xuan's mind. Ding, the God-level nanny system is connecting. Link successful. Congratulations to the host for activating the God-level nanny system. There is no doubt that the children in front of us are your masterpiece, and they are twins, a boy and a girl. Congratulations to the host for activating the God-level nanny system for the first time and receiving the newcomer gift pack. 100,000 yuan reward for childcare startup funds, please check. Bonus. A comprehensive guide to pregnancy knowledge, please check it out. Reward, 100 enhancement of human attributes. Please check. System? What is a system? Lin Xuan, who had never read a novel on Fan Qi, naturally had no idea what a system was. Ding dong. Lin Xuan opened his mobile phone and saw that 100 yuan had been deposited into his Alipay account. Immediately afterwards, the most comprehensive pregnancy knowledge in the world suddenly popped into Lin Xuan's brain. Lin Xuan is already an excellent pregnancy expert. Wait, there seems to be something wrong with my body. An invisible force surged into my body, as if my Ren and Du meridians were opened up. Full of strength, now he can knock down a cow with one punch. This seems to be true. A 100,000 yuan that arrived in your Alipay account might be a trap set by someone else, but the comprehensive knowledge about pregnancy and strengthening your physical fitness cannot fool anyone. How could such a good system fall into my hands? Am I the chosen one? Lin Xuan here was still feeling complacent. Li Mengyao saw Lin Xuan frowning and not speaking, and choked up and said, You don't believe it? If you don't believe it, you can do a paternity test. Lin Xuan finally came to his senses, looked at the tearful school beauty in front of him, and then took out a pack of tissues from his pocket and handed it to her. Stop crying and wipe your tears first. I am responsible for my own actions. If it is mine, I will definitely take responsibility to the end. Although Lin Xuan was amazed at this magical system, he couldn't be 100% sure that the school beauty was pregnant with his child. There were many people who took over these days. Lin Xuan's firm answer stunned Li Mengyao. She raised her delicate hand, took the tissue, and gently wiped away her tears. Okay, let's go now. After 3 hours of long waiting, the doctor announced slowly, MRLN, the match between you and MSLI's baby is as high as 99. Confirm the parent-child relationship. They are ready to be parents at such a young age. Young people nowadays are really open-minded. The doctor couldn't help but sigh. But why do we need to do a paternity test? Could it be that? The doctor looked at Lin Xuan with a strange look. Lin Xuan pretended to be calm as he held the appraisal report in his hand, but he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. It's over, I've made a big mistake. I'm really a father. Lin Xuan looked back at Li Mengyao, whose eyes were red, and felt even more guilty. Okay, thank you, doctor. It was almost 12 noon when Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao walked out of the hospital. Mengyao, what are you going to do next? Goo. Li Mengyao's stomach made a noise. She had not eaten breakfast in order to go to the hospital for a checkup in the morning. Li Mengyao clenched her hands together and her face turned red. Mengyao? Let's find a place to eat first. Yeah, Li Mengyao nodded. Lin Xuan opened his phone and called an online taxi. In less than 5 minutes, the taxi arrived at the hospital entrance. Lin Xuan very gentlemanly helped Li Mengyao open the car door. After Li Mengyao said firmly, he carefully closed the door, then walked around to the other side and got into the car. Master, let's go to the Peace Hotel. Young man, did you have a fight with your girlfriend? The master looked back at Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao sitting in the back seat through the rearview mirror, and guess what happened? He started the car and couldn't help but say with a smile, Brother, as a person who has been through this, I have to comfort my girlfriend more. Lin Xuan's face turned awkward. Brother, you are right, I am trying to coax him out to eat. After saying that, he turned around and glanced at Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao blinked her elegant eyes gently, turned her pretty head to the window, and a blush appeared on her beautiful face. Looking at Li Mengyao, Lin Xuan smiled. Here we are, young man, remember to give me a good review. Okay. No problem, Lin Xuan agreed readily. Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao got out of the car and walked quickly into the Peace Hotel. The food at this Peace restaurant is very good. Not expensive, and the hygiene is very good. I often ate here during my 4 years at university. Lin Xuan found a seat by the window and arranged for Li Mengyao to sit down first. Oh, thank you. Lin Xuan picked up the menu and handed it to Li Mengyao, saying with a smile, you must be starving, order whatever you want, but you can't eat raw food. Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes, raised her little hand and ticked a few lines on the menu. I've ordered it, see if you need anything else. Lin Xuan took the menu and took a look at it. He exclaimed that it was no wonder that the school beauty had such a good figure and ordered so little even though she hadn't had breakfast. Hello, we want 1 portion of stir-fried beef with tomatoes, beef brisket, shrimp, tofu and bell peppers, and 1 portion of steamed sea bass, plus an additional portion of egg custard. A waiter took the menu and said with a smile, okay, please wait a moment. Lin Xuan looked at the charming Li Mengyao. Mengyao, I will be responsible. Are you willing to give birth to the child? Li Mengyao smoothed her smooth hair. How are you going to take responsibility? We haven't graduated yet, we don't have a job, and we don't have a stable source of income. Lin Xuan is a master in the School of Computer Science at Jinghe University. He has won the gold medal in the ACM International Collegiate Programming Contest and is also very handsome. Li Mengyao is a Chinese language and literature major and is the recognized campus beauty of Jinghe University. Both of them are seniors and are about to graduate. I have been doing part-time jobs from my freshman to my junior year, and I have received various scholarships during college. I have saved quite a bit of money now. I will work harder to make money and give you and your baby a warm family. Lin Xuan said a lot with a smile, and his tone was very firm, fearing that Li Mengyao would reject him. Seeing Lin Xuan say so much in one breath, Li Mengyao burst out laughing, her big watery eyes sparkling with a gentle light. This is what you said. I'm going to give birth to the baby. Li Mengyao gently stroked her belly and smiled. Of course, stupid Lin Xuan didn't know that Li Mengyao had liked Lin Xuan since freshman year. Not only was he handsome but he was also very capable, otherwise, she wouldn't have been dragged out for a drink by her roommate for the first time. And then she wouldn't have fallen into Lin Xuan's arms when she was drunk. What follows is something that cannot be described in words. The food is served, the waiter arrived late. At the dinner table, Lin Xuan kept picking up food for Li Mengyao, and her small bowl was always full. After lunch, the two took an all-night taxi back to Jinghe University. Lin Xuan sent Li Mengyao downstairs to the dormitory and said gently, you've worked hard today, go back and have a rest. I'll take you to the hospital for a comprehensive checkup tomorrow. A hint of happiness flashed across Li Mengyao's face. Okay. Lin Xuan showed a smile on his face and hummed a song all the way back to the dormitory. When I returned to dormitory 622 and opened the door, 3 little heads came forward at the same time. Lin Xuan, where have you been? Did you go on a date with a schoolgirl? You didn't even call me. Lin Xuan gently touched his son's heads with his hands and said, stop asking about adults' affairs. Hey, I gave you face, didn't I? Brothers, let's take him down together. A friendly interaction between dormitories started. In the afternoon, Lin Xuan continued to work on the previous project, completed the delivery ahead of schedule, and earned another 10,000 yuan in extra money. Together with the 100,000 yuan given by the system before, his small treasury already had more than 200,000 yuan. Well, I have to find time to rent a house outside. It is inconvenient after all that Li Mengyao cannot live in the dormitory all the time because she is pregnant. At night, Lin Xuan took his sons to the Summoner's Rift to dominate the world. 5 defeats in a row, unwilling to give up, Lin Xuan was just about to lie down and rest. Another crisp sound came from the system. Ding dong, it is detected that the host needs to take the baby for a comprehensive examination. To facilitate the host's travel, a top-of-the-line Xiaomi SU7 is my reward. It has been parked in the parking lot of Zone C of Jinghe University, please check it. This system is quite user-friendly, it actually knows what the host needs at the moment. Xiaomi SU7, is it the recently popular Mi Ji? I'll check out the parking lot tomorrow. The next day, after Lin Xuan got up, he found an exquisite car key on the table without thinking much about it. He picked up the key and went straight to the school parking lot. Soon, in an inconspicuous corner, Lin Xuan found a purple Xiaomi SU7. I have to say that the appearance is still very cool, with smooth body lines and simple and elegant design, giving people a sense of fashion and technology. The color of the rosy purple adds a unique charm. and it is worthy of being the king of cost performance. Lin Chuan excitedly opened the car door and sat in the driver's seat. Took out his cell phone and pressed the dial button. Hello? Lin Chuan? Li Mengyao voice was soft and gentle, probably because she hadn't woken up yet. Mengyao, are you awake? Just woke up. And let's go to the hospital together for a pregnancy test later. The first 3 months are the most critical period. I'll pick you up downstairs of the dormitory. Okay, then wait for me for 10 minutes, I'll get ready. Li Mengyao felt warm in her heart and was very happy, which meant that Lin Chuan still cared about her and the baby in her belly. Lin Chuan drove the Xiaomi SU7 directly to the downstairs of Li Mengyao's dormitory. Along the way, many students took out their mobile phones and took pictures of the Xiaomi SU7, although the top-end version of the Xiaomi SU7 only costs 300,000 yuan. But she is so good-looking that she attracted the attention of many students. Not long after, Li Mengyao came jogging down from the dormitory. She was wearing a light blue dress and a solid-colored belt with some crystals on it. It was beautiful and elegant. After seeing this, Lin Chuan hurried forward to hold Li Mengyao and reminded her, "Slow down, don't fall." Li Mengyao smiled slightly. "It's okay, I'm watching, sorry to have kept you waiting." Lin Chuan stared at Li Mengyao and said with a smile, "You look really good today." Li Mengyao blushed and whispered, "What about yesterday? It looks better every day." "Smooth talker, let's go." "Good." Lin Chuan brought Li Mengyao to the front of the Xiaomi SU7, opened the door and said gently, "Wife, please get in the car." Li Mengyao's face turned red instantly, and she muttered in a low voice, Who is your wife?" Despite this, she still obediently sat in the passenger seat. At this moment, a layer of shy blush appeared on her delicate little face, as beautiful and charming as a blooming peach blossom. After Lin Chuan got into the driver's seat, Li Mengyao couldn't help but ask, "Lin Chuan, did you just buy this car?" "Yes, Mengyao. You should have a driver's license, right?" "Yes," Li Mengyao nodded. "And I'll give you this car from now on. It will be convenient for traveling, and good for you and the baby." No need, I'm not familiar with driving. Besides, if I leave, you will have no car to drive. You should drive it yourself. I have other cars. Let's just say it's settled. I'll teach you when the time comes. After saying that, Lin Chuan started the car and drove towards Jingha People's Hospital. The other car that Lin Chuan mentioned is actually the electric scooter that has been with him for more than 3 years. When they arrived at the hospital, Lin Chuan accompanied Li Mengyao to start the prenatal checkup. In fact, no special examination was needed when the pregnancy was around 8 weeks old. First, an ultrasound examination was performed to see whether the size of the gestational sac in the uterine cavity was consistent with the gestational age, and whether there was fetal bud development and heart-tube pulsation in the gestational sac. Then I did routine tests such as blood test, urine test, hepatitis B, blood sugar, liver function test, etc. After a while, the examination report came out and the embryo development was normal. Just as Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao were about to leave, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. "Brother Xuan, why are you here?" Xu Quan looked at the two of them with curiosity. Xu Quan is Lin Chuan's roommate. He just happened to come for a physical examination today unexpectedly. He met Lin Chuan, and he was in the obstetrics and gynecology department. "I'll be over there for a moment," Lin Chuan said to Li Mengyao with a smile. Li Mengyao spoke softly. "Quaner, why are you here?" Lin Chuan slowly walked towards Xu Quan. "Good fellow. You are secretly hooking up with the school beauty? No wonder you've been running out so often recently. You, Reynao in the obstetrics and gynecology department of the hospital. Tell me. Tell the truth," Xu Quan said with a sly smile. "Find a place tonight, I'll treat you. And you have to call me sister-in-law? You said it. Look, we're going to give you a good beating. Because you kept quiet and did great things. Go and do your thing. I'll tell you guys when I get back in the evening." Before leaving, Xu Quan shouted to Li Mengyao, who was not far away, "Goodbye, sister-in-law," and then disappeared in a flash. Lin Chuan returned to Li Mengyao and saw that her face was flushed. "He is my roommate. It's getting late. Let's go back." "Okay." Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes. Ding dong, it is detected that the host is doing the first pregnancy test for the baby. You'll be rewarded with a suite at floor 1601. Building A, Jinwan Mansion. All the formalities have been completed by the system for you. You can move in directly. Ding dong, it was detected that the host gave the Xiaomi SU7 to Li Mengyao and obtained the system's hidden reward. A Maybach 680 as reward has been parked in the Jinwan Fu parking lot. Please check it. Host, as long as you make Li Mengyao and the babies happy, the system will continue to provide generous rewards. The clear voice of the system rang again in Lin Chuan's mind. The system is so awesome, not to mention that it also rewarded a Maybach 680 luxury car, worth more than 3 million yuan. Jinwan Mansion is also a high-end residential area in Jingha City. A unit in this building costs more than 8 million yuan. Lin Xuan's net worth is almost reaching 10 million. He is very excited to have suddenly become a wealthy man. This is also thanks to Li Mengyao. If she hadn't agreed to give birth to the baby, Lin Xuan would not have been favored by the system. Mengyao, let's go. Lin Xuan returned to reality and said to Li Mengyao, who was a little sleepy. It may be because I didn't get enough sleep in the morning during pregnancy. People usually like to sleep. Lin Xuan reached out, gently held the fair little hand, and looked at her with a smile on his face. The first time I held Li Mengyao's little hand, it was so soft and tender. Li Mengyao was awakened by the sudden hand holding. A blush appeared on her face, and a hint of happiness flashed across her face. Well, let's go. The two returned to the Xiaomi SU7. Lin Xuan started the car, and Li Mengyao fell asleep in the car. If Li Mengyao hadn't fallen asleep, she would have discovered that Lin Xuan had bypassed Jinghe University and was running all the way on the streets of Jinghe City without speeding. Dear owners of Jinwan Mansion, welcome home. The crisp sound woke Li Mengyao up. Ah, where is this? Isn't this at school? Li Mengyao raised her jade hand and rubbed her eyes gently when she saw the tall building in front of her. She was slightly stunned. This is not a school, it's in Jinwan Mansion, our future home. Lin Xuan smiled slightly. Future home? Have you bought a house? Li Mengyao said in shock, her lips slightly wide open. Yes, you are pregnant, so it is definitely not possible for you to live in the dormitory all the time, and we are about to graduate. So I bought a set, so that it will be more convenient for me to take care of you on a daily basis. Lin Xuan looked at the other party tenderly. Well, it must have cost a lot of money. Where did you get so much money? Li Mengyao pursed her lips. I forgot to mention before that I started investing since my freshman year. And all of this money is earned from investments, Lin Xuan said confidently. So let's find time to move in later. Li Mengyao's pretty face turned red. This, are they living together? Is this too fast? This is only the second time we met? And we are already living together. While Li Mengyao was still daydreaming, Lin Xuan had already parked the car steadily in the community parking lot. Seeing that Li Mengyao was still worried and cute, Lin Xuan couldn't help but reach out and gently pinch her snow-white and soft face. Wife, what are you thinking about so intently? Lin Xuan said gently. Who is your wife? Not yet. She slapped the dirty hands on her face with one hand, raised the other hand and ran towards the soft flesh on Lin Xuan's waist, then twisted it hard. Yes. It hurts, be gentle, honey. You're still screaming. Li Mengyao pretended to increase her strength. How could Lin Xuan give her a chance? He grabbed the pink little hand and smiled. Stop messing around, let's go up and take a look at the house. Li Mengyao pouted slightly and then stopped. The two got out of the car. And Li Mengyao soon discovered a slender Mavic 680 park. Not far away it was indeed a high-end residential area, and it was obvious at first glance that it was a luxury car. Lin Xuan naturally saw it as well, but did not say anything. He reached out and held Li Mengyao's hand and walked towards the elevator. Soon, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao arrived at the house in Jinwan Mansion. It was a large flat with an area of 200 square meters. The decoration style was modern and simple. With a combination of gray and white colors, it had 5 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. And the furniture was also fully matched. Li Mengyao walked to the large balcony and saw the afterglow of the river, covering the surface of the river with a layer of golden gauze. The June wind blows gently across the girl's face, making the whole picture warm and romantic. Seeing such a beautiful scene, Lin Xuan finally couldn't help but step forward, stretching out his hands and gently holding Li Mengyao in his arms. Li Mengyao was startled at first, but did not struggle. Instead, her delicate face flushed again and she asked softly, "This house must have cost a lot of money." Well, more than 8 million. Lin Xuan savored the fragrance of the girl. You bought a car and a house, but I can't give you anything. I feel so useless, Li Mengyao murmured with her head down. Lin Xuan gently turned Li Mengyao around, looked at her with his deep and bright eyes, and said in a firm tone, "Who said it's useless? You and the baby in your belly are the greatest gifts. Wife, you gave me a home. I will also do my best to protect this home." Deep in love, Lin Xuan looked at Li Mengyao with misty and affectionate eyes, slowly lowered his head, and slowly approached that tempting cherry mouth. Li Mengyao was also panicked for a moment. Her heart started beating wildly. She closed her eyes tightly, and let Lin Xuan do whatever he wanted. Suddenly a cell phone ring interrupted the two of them. Li Mengyao regained her senses instantly, gently pushed Lin Xuan away, and said hurriedly, "I have a call." Li Mengyao opened her cell phone in panic. It was a call from her mother Huang Shifang. She pressed the answer button. "Hello? Yao Yao, what have you been busy with recently?" "Mom, I haven't been busy lately," Li Mengyao explained in a panic. "Why are you speaking in a panic? Are you hiding something from Mom?" Her precious daughter knows herself best and she knew something was wrong with her tone just now. "Did someone bully you?" "No." Because Lin Xuan was very close, he could clearly hear the conversation between the two. Seeing Li Mengyao's nervous look, Lin Xuan couldn't help but laugh out loud. Li Mengyao glared at him, then raised her hand and twisted Lin Xuan's waist again. Does Yao Yao have a boyfriend? Li Mengyao blushed and said hesitantly. Okay, it's time to find a boyfriend in college. What's he like? He's very nice. Then if you are free next week, bring him back and I will take a good look at him for you. Her daughter, who was studying in another city, suddenly had a boyfriend. It would be a lie to say that she was not worried. Motherly had to check it herself. Then I'll ask him later. Okay, then I won't bother you anymore. After hanging up the phone, Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan with a fierce look. It's all your fault, my mom found out. It's just a matter of time. I'm ready to have my legs broken, Lin Xuan said shamelessly. Then will you accompany me back next week? Li Mengyao clenched her hands tightly. Let's go back together. We stole someone's precious daughter, so naturally we have to visit them in person. Let's prepare to move in tomorrow, Lin Xuan said gently. Okay, Li Mengyao smiled sweetly. Afterwards, the two prepared to drive to a nearby shopping mall to eat. When they arrived at the parking lot downstairs, Li Mengyao was about to take out the car keys but was stopped by Lin Xuan. Us park this Xiaomi SU7 in the community parking lot and drive my car there. Do you have other cars? Li Mengyao asked puzzled Lai. Yes. This is it. Lin Xuan pointed to the Maybach S680 not far away, took out the car key and unlocked it. The car started, and a pair of headlights emitted a unique beam of light, dazzling like a meteor shower. So this Maybach is yours. Li Mengyao opened her lips slightly and blinked her big, round almond eyes. Lin Xuan held Li Mengyao's hand and walked to the passenger seat. After settling her down, he sat in the driver's seat, started the car, and drove towards the mall. When they arrived at the destination, Li Mengyao couldn't help but ask, "What else are you hiding from me?" "No, didn't I tell you before that I have other cars to drive?" Lin Xuan said gently. "But I think this car looks like new. I just washed the car yesterday," Lin Xuan answered firmly. He couldn't say that it was given by the system. "I'll just believe you for now. I don't like people lying to me, especially people close to me." Li Mengyao lowered her head and said in a low voice, "Wife, I will definitely consult you when I have something to discuss next time. Okay?" Because Li Mengyao likes to eat fish, the two walked hand in hand into a grilled fish restaurant in the mall. After lunch, Li Mengyao was already drowsy. Lin Xuan drove her back to the school dormitory, and he also returned to the doghouse where he had lived in college for more than 3 years. Daddy is back." Lin Xuan kicked the door open and said with a smile. It was him who abducted the school beauty. Shu Quan pointed at Lin Xuan in pretended anger. "A good boy, you actually dare to do something big behind your father's back." Zhang Zisheng also echoed. "If you tell the truth, we might give you a lighter sentence," Chen Jinming said with a sly smile. Afterwards, Lin Xuan was surrounded by 3 people again. Lin Xuan told the whole story truthfully. They were brothers who had lived together for almost 4 years and knew each other well, so they didn't hide anything. Of course, the system didn't mention this, and the key is that no one would believe it. This is the situation. Lin Xuan shrugged. "Did I hear it right?" Zhang Zixing said in shock. "I was wondering why I saw you and the school beauty in the obstetrics and gynecology department of the People's Hospital. It turns out that..." Shu Quan was also stunned. "Wow! You're driving a rocket so fast. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years and we haven't reached that stage yet." Chen Jingming put one hand on Lin Xuan's shoulder and laughed. "Keep it a secret for me first. I don't want to become the public enemy of all the boys in the school. Mengyao and I are going to move out tomorrow. I'll pay for everything tonight," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Stop talking nonsense, log in first, and I'll give you a good meal tonight." It is normal for senior students to move out, so no one asked Lin Xuan where he moved to, thinking that he just found a rental house nearby. "Quanner, save your ultimate move for the new year. You don't understand, I'm biding my time." At night, dormitory 622 went out together. Shu Quan just opened his phone to call a taxi, but was stopped by Lin Xuan. "Let's drive over there." "Where did we get the car?" Shu Quan asked puzzled Lai. "I just bought it. Please don't move around here. I'll be back soon." Just when the 3 were still curious about what type of car Lin Xuan bought, a slender Maybach slowly drove over, rolled down the window, and revealed a handsome face. "Get in the car. Isn't this a Maybach? A luxury car worth more than 3 million? Brother Xuan, are you so rich? Why did you seem so stingy and secretive before?" The 3 of them were confused. "My family just bought it. It will be convenient for taking care of the baby in the future," Lin Xuan explained with a smile. Afterwards, Lin Xuan drove to the restaurant where he often had dinner parties in the university dormitory. "Now that you are here, please take a seat. I have reserved a private room for you." "Are you about to graduate from college?" the proprietors greeted warmly. "Yes, you can come here often even after graduation," Chu Quan said with a smile. "Don't forget it when the time comes. I'll give you a discount," the proprietors said with a smile. This restaurant has unique flavors, and the proprietors often gives discounts to Lin Juan and his friends, so the dormitory often comes here for dinner. After the boss lady left, Lin Juan said to the three people, "You are about to graduate from college, what are you going to do next?" "I have signed up for the civil service examination and joined the army of candidates. I will become a civil servant in the future," Xu Quan said firmly. "My girlfriend and I have both been admitted to graduate school and will continue to study at Jingha University in the future," Chen Jingming said with a smile. "I am planning to start my own business, but unfortunately I don't have the platform and funds. I'd better go to a company first," Zhang Zesheng said helplessly. "Brother Xuan, what about you? What are you planning to do after graduation?" Xu Quan looked at Lin Xuan. "I'll take care of the baby full-time first," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "You deserve to die, you, Ray being Versailles again," Xu Quan complained. In fact, Lin Xuan originally wanted to start a business with Song Zesheng after all. The two of them were among the best in the School of Computer Science at Jingha University. But plans can't keep up with changes now. Lin Xuan just wants to take care of Li Mengyao and the baby in her belly wholeheartedly. He can only wait for an opportunity in the future. Serve the food. The four of them devoured the meal. The next day, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao agreed to move their luggage to Jinwan Mansion together at 10 o'clock in the morning. Lin Xuan drove the Maybach slowly towards the female dormitory and soon saw a familiar figure downstairs of the dormitory. Today, Li Mengyao wore a solid color shirt with a denim skirt, which looked fresh and pleasant, like the cool breeze in the morning. Refreshing. "My wife looks good in everything she wears." "Huh? Why is there another girl next to her?" "She is tall with delicate features, showing a cold beauty, and her sharp eyes reveal a hint of hostility." Lin Xuan opened the car door, walked quickly to Li Mengyao, gently took her little hand, and said tenderly, "I said I'd call you down after I arrived. Have you been waiting too long?" Li Mengyao's face flushed slightly. "No, we just came down too. By the way, this is my roommate Liu X since he insisted on coming along." "Hello? I'm Lin Xuan, Li Mengyao's husband," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "It was you who kidnapped my Yao Yao?" he said angrily when he saw Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao holding hands. Liu Uxin saw that Lin Xuan was indeed very handsome and drove a Maybach, so she thought that his family conditions must be good. However, many rich second generations are very fickle nowadays. As Yao Yao's best friend, she must keep a close eye on him. "Yes. Yao Yao will be left to me from now on," Lin Xuan said with a firm face. "You wish if you want to get Yao Yao, you have to get past me first. Aren't you going to let Yao Yao move over? I want to go and see for myself if you can take good care of Yao Yao." After Liu Uxin finished speaking, she pulled Yao Yao's suitcase and walked towards the car. Lin Xuan looked helpless and followed behind holding Li Mengyao's hand. This time, Li Mengyao did not sit in the passenger seat, but sat in the back seat with Liu Uxin. The car started slowly and soon arrived at the gate of Jinwan Mansion. Liu Uxin looked at the gate in front of her with a surprised look on her face. Jinwan Fu is a famous high-end residential area in Jingha City. It has a beautiful environment and is located in a prosperous area. You can also see the beautiful river view. Although Lin Xuan's ability is indeed good, it isn't clear how he will treat Yao Yao, and whether he will get tired of the old and love the new. Soon, Lin Xuan parked the car and moved all the luggage into the house. Ding dong! It is detected that the host is moving for the baby for the first time. In order for the host to take better care of the baby in the future, I will reward you with a complete set of 5-star cooking skills. Please check it out. In an instant, all kinds of culinary knowledge from all over the world flooded into Lin Xuan's brain. Now Lin Xuan is the most versatile 5-star chef. In fact, Lin Xuan has always been reluctant to let Li Mengyao eat outside food. After all, she is pregnant. What if the food outside is not clean and affects the baby? This 5-star cooking skill comes at the perfect time. It's almost time for lunch, so I'll show off my cooking skills at noon. Wife, you and your best I should rest at home for a while. I'll go to the market to buy some vegetables. Also, what do you want to eat? Lin Xuan asked with a smile. You can also cook? Liu Uxin looked at her with doubt. There are really few men who can cook nowadays. I'm fine with it. I like everything you do. A hint of happiness flashed across Li Mengyao's face. Yao Yao. I'm still here. Liu Uxin glanced at Li Mengyao's speechless lie, and then said, I want sweetened sour pork ribs, boiled pork slices, braised beef brisket with potatoes, and braised fish. These are Li Mengyao's favorite dishes. Okay, I'll be back soon. Lin Xuan put on his shoes and prepared to go out. Suddenly, a petite figure broke into Lin Xuan's arms, accompanied by a faint fragrance. Come back early. Li Mengyao lowered her head and hugged Lin Xuan tightly with her hands. Okay, my wife. Lin Xuan reached out and gently stroked Li Mengyao's hair. Then Li Mengyao loosened her hands and ran back to the room with a red face. What's that smell so bad? It turns out to be the sour smell of love. Liu Uxin looked at everything that had just happened with disdain. Uxin. Stop talking. Li Mengyao's face turned red. Yao Yao, why are you so willing to give in? You're living with Lin Xuan so soon. You are the campus beauty of Jinghe University. You are alone with a man and a woman in the same room. What if he treats you badly? No, he is very good to me and has always taken good care of me, and I have liked Lin Xuan for a long time. Oh, you love-brained person. It can't be so fast, Yao Yao. Are you hiding something from me? Liu Xian stared at Li Mengyao. No. Li Mengyao clenched her hands tightly together, blushing and stammering as she explained, not daring to look the other person in the eye. You are lying. Tell me or I will do something bad. Li Mengyao and Liu Ux, I have known each other for almost 4 years as good friends. They could tell at a glance that Li Mengyao was lying. Stop it. It's Sichi. Liu Xian pounced on Li Mengyao, put her hands on her waist, and kept tickling her. Say it or not. I'll tell you. Li Mengyao had no choice but to surrender. She was most afraid of being tickled. Li Mengyao wiped the tears from her eyes and said shyly, actually, I'm pregnant. Huh? Did I hear it right? Liu Xian was shocked with her mouth wide open. It's been more than 2 months. Afterwards, Li Mengyao told Liu Xian what had happened. It seems that Lin Xuan is quite responsible. But I have to remind you that you two should hold on when living together. Lin Xuan wouldn't be like that. You are so beautiful, who knows what will happen if he gets beastly someday. No, that can't be. Li Mengyao's face turned red instantly. At this time, there was a sound of the door opening, and Lin Xuan walked in carrying large and small bags. You're back. Li Mengyao walked quickly to Lin Xuan and stretched out her hand to take the bag. I'll be there. What are you two talking about? Your face is so red. Lin Xuan gently pinched Li Mengyao's pretty face. I won't tell you. Li Mengyao pouted her lips slightly, looking proud. Then I'll go cook. It will be ready soon. Lin Xuan couldn't do anything with her, so he had to go into the kitchen and start cooking. It is indeed a reward from the system. Looking at these ingredients, I can come up with the corresponding cooking methods in my mind, whether it is frying, roasting, boiling, steaming, stewing, deep frying or braising. I am proficient in everything. The house given by the system is also fully furnished, and they are all big brands. After a while, a fragrance wafted from the kitchen, like an invisible hand, pulling Li Mengyao and Liu Xian closer involuntarily. Serve the food. Lin Xuan filled the dining table with delicious dishes. Wow! This is so delicious, it must be a 5-star chef. Liu Xian took a piece of beef brisket and stuffed it into her mouth, unable to help but exclaim. Li Mengyao was also eating it in small bites. Yao Yao, your future life will be so happy, with the chef by your side every day. Li Mengyao didn't expect that Lin Xuan's cooking could reach the level of a chef, and her face was filled with happiness. Lin Xuan took a sip and found it mellow in taste and rich in aroma. Every sip was intoxicating. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for successfully preparing a delicious meal for Li Mengyao and the babies. The reward is 500,000 yuan in cash, and the critical strike probability is triggered 6 times. So the reward is 3 million yuan in cash. It has been transferred to the host bank card through formal and legal means. Please check it. Lin Xuan heard the system's voice again in his mind. The system was still as awesome as ever, giving out a reward of 3 million right away. After lunch, Lin Xuan sent Liu Xian back to school. Lin Xuan drove quietly and glanced at Liu Xian sitting in the backseat through the rearview mirror. I say, why are you staring at me? Lin Xuan said helplessly. When are you going to get married? Yao Yao is pregnant with your child. You have to give her a name. You know everything? Lin Xuan was a little surprised. Of course, Yao Yao and I are good friends who can talk about anything. Liu Xian looked proud. We plan to go back to Mengyao's hometown together next week. When we get my mother-in-law's consent, we will get married, Lin Xuan said in a firm tone. Okay, I'll leave Yao Yao to you first. Yao Yao's family is not very good. Her father died in a car accident in his early years, leaving only her and her mother, so Yao Yao lacks a sense of security. She hasn't mentioned these to me yet, Lin Xuan said with a sad heart. Don't be fooled by her soft and weak appearance. She is actually very strong inside and sometimes very stubborn. Since she has decided to follow you, you should treat her well. If you dare to bully Yao Yao, I will never let you go. Liu Xian waved her little pink fist. I know that no matter how much I say, it won't be as good as actual action. I will definitely not let Mengyao down. You can supervise me at any time. After safely delivering Liu Xian, Lin Xuan immediately returned to Jinwan Prefecture. I'm back. There was no response. Lin Xuan walked into the room and found Li Mengyao sleeping on the sofa. She must have been waiting for Lin Xuan to come back, and ended up falling asleep in a daze. At this time, Li Mengyao had changed into a white nightgown, revealing her charming long legs. Lin Xuan walked carefully to the sofa, squatted down, and carefully looked at the sleeping beauty. Her body was slightly curled up, her eyes were closed, her eyelashes were like butterfly wings. trembling gently, and the corners of her mouth were slightly raised, as if she was having a sweet dream. Thinking of Li Mengyao's tragic childhood experiences and the bitterness of both mother and daughter, Lin Juan's heart ached. I will be a good husband, Mengyao, Lin Juan said gently. Li Mengyao made a slight sound as if she heard it. Lin Juan gently picked up Li Mengyao and slowly walked towards the master bedroom. Li Mengyao had a beautiful dream. In the dream, she and Lin Juan were walking in the marriage hall, hugging and kissing each other. Li Mengyao woke up around 5 in the afternoon. There was nothing she could do about it. Pregnancy really made her sleepy. She remembered that she seemed to have fallen asleep on the sofa, but when she opened her eyes she found herself in bed. Her face turned red and she hurriedly got up and opened the door. At this moment, Lin Juan was in the computer room, sitting in front of the computer, his fingers clacking on the keyboard. No one knew what he was doing. Lin Juan, what are you doing? Li Mengyao's voice was a little hoarse, as if she was still immersed in a sweet dream. Wife, are you awake? I'm doing a part-time job. Lin Juan walked quickly to Li Mengyao and said gently. Have I disturbed you? Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes slightly. You never disturb me at any time. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat tonight? Lin Juan could not hide the doting in his eyes. It's all right, I'm not picky about food. Li Mengyao stretched out her hands and said coquetous lie. Lin Juan gently held Li Mengyao in his arms. She exuded a unique fragrance, not strong but lasting, like the tranquility in a valley. Are we going shopping in the mall tonight? Lin Juan asked. Why do you suddenly want to go shopping? Li Mengyao looked confused. Normally, it is girls who should take the initiative to suggest shopping. It is rare for boys to take the initiative to suggest it. Take you to buy something. I don't have anything to buy. You'll understand once you get there. It's very important. Okay. Li Mengyao's brilliant smile made people's hearts tremble. Chapter 7 Shopping. In the evening, Lin Juan put local chicken, shiitake mushrooms, ginger slices and other ingredients into a pot and stewed them. The freshness of the mushrooms and the unique aroma of the local chicken blended together to make a mellow mushroom and local chicken soup. Wife, come and try the local chicken soup I made. Lin Juan placed a small bowl of chicken soup in front of Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao had a poor appetite during her pregnancy and had no appetite for anything. So Lin Juan made delicious chicken soup, and with the help of a 5-star chef, it directly stimulated Li Mengyao's taste buds. Lin Juan, why are you so skilled at cooking? Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes and drank in small sips. I have to blame my mom. She always likes to come up with new ideas. For example, kiwi rice and dragon fruit fried meat. In short, the cooking skills are not very good. Later, I studied cooking on my own during the winter and summer vacations. Lin Juan recalled painfully that his mother Sheng Shilan's cooking skills were really not that good. So there was really no other way. I could only cook for myself, and over time I learned how to cook. Although I'm definitely not as good as a 5-star chef, at least I can eat. Li Mengyao burst out laughing. Don't say that about Auntie. In the evening, the two drove a Mavic to a nearby large shopping mall, Jinwan Plaza. Jinwan Plaza is the commercial center of Jinwan district in Jingha City. It is dazzling with flashing neon lights and numerous shops. Li Mengyao took Lin Juan's arm and walked into Jinwan Plaza. You haven't told me what to buy yet? Li Mengyao gently squeezed Lin Juan's hand. You'll know soon enough, just ahead. Afterwards, the two entered a store selling daily necessities for pregnant women. Welcome, what can I do for you too? The clerk greeted them warmly. Hello, do you have any moisturizing lotion to prevent stretch marks? Lin Juan asked. Yes. This one is a very popular product recently. It is very effective in removing wrinkles and has a high cost effectiveness. The shop assistants seemed to be two young men, and they did not recommend the most expensive items right away. Otherwise they would scare people away. Lin Juan glanced at the specific information of the product and frowned. Although this product has a good effect in removing wrinkles, it is not the best. There are also these ones. Although the wrinkle removal effect is not as good, they are much cheaper than the previous one and are also good. The clerk saw Lin Juan frowning and thought that the two of them probably didn't have that much budget. Could you please show me the most expensive and best performing product in your store? Lin Juan asked the clerk with a smile. Okay, please wait. This is the one. I guarantee that there won't be any stretch marks after using it. The clerk quickly brought it over. Lin Juan relied on the pregnancy knowledge encyclopedia rewarded by the system and took a look at the product information. It was free of fragrance, alcohol, chemical additives, etc. And it was indeed the best for removing wrinkles. Li Mengyao took a look at the price and took a deep breath. This small bottle costs 1,000 yuan. So he gently pulled the corner of Lin Juan's clothes and whispered, buy the previous one, this one is too expensive. It's okay. Your husband has money. You don't want to have stretch marks after giving birth, so use the best. Lin Juan gently squeezed Li Mengyao's little hand and said softly. Hello, could you please give me 5 bottles of this? Thank you. Okay. Please wait a moment, I'll pack it for you. The clerk was very happy and sold it for 5,000 yuan in one go. After paying, the two walked out of the maternity daily necessities store, and Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao and continued walking forward. Do you want to buy anything else? Li Mengyao wanted to hold Lin Xuan back, not wanting him to spend any more money, so he should save some money. I also want to buy this, Lin Xuan said with a smile pointing forward. Li Mengyao looked in the direction where she saw a store specializing in maternity clothes. Why buy these? After 3 months of pregnancy, your belly will start to show, and the clothes you wore before will no longer fit. So let's buy some maternity clothes. Lin Xuan continued to teach Li Mengyao about pregnancy. How do you know all this? Li Mengyao's face flushed after hearing this. I have done my homework for you and the babies, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Lower your head. I have something to tell you. Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes happily and whispered. Why are you being so careful? Lin Xuan bent down obediently, and she gently tiptoed and left a gentle kiss on Lin Xuan's cheek. Then he quickly distanced himself from the store and walked towards the store with his calves clacking. A faint smile appeared on Lin Xuan's face, as if the whole world had become beautiful. After Li Mengyao picked out a few maternity clothes, she went into the changing room to try them on. Lin Xuan glanced at the jewelry store opposite, estimated the time, and quickly ran in. Welcome, a tall, decent-looking clerk came up to greet us. Hello. Do you have any diamond ring recommendations? Lin Xuan asked with a smile. This is a 1-carat, G-grade engagement diamond ring. A novel design is very popular among young people, and it only costs 20,000 yuan. The clerk saw that Lin Xuan still looked like a college student, so he probably didn't have much budget. Although this one has a novel design, the quality of the diamonds is a bit low. Do you have any better ones? Lin Xuan asked with a smile. Sir, what is your budget? About 500. Zero. The clerk was shocked. 500,000 yuan. How can a student have so much money? It seems that he might be a rich second generation. My monthly salary is only a few thousand yuan. It's really frustrating to compare myself with others. Soon, the clerk took out a new diamond ring. The design of this diamond ring was exquisite, the cutting craftsmanship was superb. And it was crystal clear, like the dew-drops in the morning, and it looked even more precious when set on the ring. This 2-carat grade rare pure diamond is a rare treasure that proves the eternity of true love. Grade D is completely colorless, the highest grade of color, and is extremely rare and precious. The price is exactly 500. Zero. Lin Xuan was blinded by the light for a moment. It was indeed true that you get what you pay for after all. It was worth 500,000 yuan, which was almost as much as a house in a small county town. Okay. Thank you. I want this one, Lin Xuan said as he told the clerk the size he had measured yesterday while Li Mengyao fell asleep. Okay sir. Please come over here to pay and I'll help you pack it. The clerk was very happy because he would get a lot of commission after completing this big order. After paying the bill, Lin Xuan immediately returned to the maternity clothing store and pretended nothing had happened. Lin Xuan, this looks good. Li Mengyao just walked out and turned around on the spot. It looks good. My wife looks good in anything she wears, Lin Xuan said with admiration. Although Li Mengyao's belly is not noticeable yet, she still looks like a pure beauty in this outfit. It's the same as if I didn't say anything. Li Mengyao looked at it in the mirror in front of her, thought it was good, and bought it. After buying clothes, they drove back to Jinwan Mansion. It was already 10 o'clock in the evening when Li Mengyao got home, and she was extremely sleepy. And I'll go back to my room, take a shower and go to bed. Good night. Li Mengyao yawned. Do you want a goodnight kiss? Lin Xuan leaned forward and asked very gently. No, I've already kissed you today. Li Mengyao's face turned red instantly, and she quickly turned around and walked back to the room. Then there will be one tomorrow? Besides. Li Mengyao returned to the room and closed the door gently. Chapter 8. Can you come over here for a moment? Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for successfully accompanying Li Mengyao to buy products for pregnant women. A reward of one luxury store in Jinwan Plaza, please check. The system's voice came into Lin Xuan's mind again. At the same time, staff from Jinwan Plaza also called. Hello. MRLN, I am the marketing manager of Jinwan Plaza. The relevant procedures for your purchase of the Jinwan Plaza luxury store have been prepared. When are you free to come and check it? Okay, I'll check in a few days. Lin Xuan hung up the phone. Thinking what time it was, the staff at Jinwan Plaza were still working overtime. This society is too twisted. These days, Lin Xuan took care of Li Mengyao's 3 meals a day as usual. The weather forecast shows that there will be heavy thunderstorms in Jinwan district late at night. At this time, Lin Xuan brought out a plate of cherries after dinner. Li Mengyao was lying leisurely on the lazy chair, looking at the sparkling river surface and accepting feeding from Lin Xuan. Is it tasty? Delicious. Hey, shall we watch a movie together tonight? Okay. What movie do you want to see? I want to watch a horror movie. Li Mengyao hesitated slightly. Horror movie? Lin Juan was slightly stunned. Li Mengyao is usually so weak, how could she like watching horror movies? I didn't watch horror movies before, but after entering college, UXIN often played horror movies in the dormitory. I liked the thrilling feeling I got from watching them, Li Mengyao explained in a low voice. This girl. No, the emotions and mental state during pregnancy will affect the baby's development. Watching horror movies can create emotional waves of tension and fear, which can be passed on to the baby. So let's pick a heartwarming movie to watch. Okay? Lin Juan explained gently. Okay, Li Mengyao pouted slightly. In the end, the two chose the movie Hachiko, A Dog's Story. In fact, there is another important reason for not watching horror movies. That is, Lin Juan has been afraid of ghosts since he was a child. When he was a child, he was frightened by the older sister of the neighbor. One time, she took advantage of being a few years older than Lin Juan and forced him to watch a horror movie together, which caused indelible trauma in his young heart. A living room has a high-definition projector with a 200-inch large screen, comfortable sofas, shocking sound effects, and clear picture quality, creating the ultimate viewing experience. After Lin Juan adjusted the projector, Li Mengyao took some fruits and snacks, leaned quietly beside Lin Juan, and fed him while watching a movie. Hachiko, A Dog's Story tells the story of the deep emotional bond between humans and dogs, and also reminds us to cherish the people and animals around us, and the love and companionship they give us. Sure enough, after watching the movie, Li Mengyao's eyes were blurred with tears and she was completely immersed in the emotional world of the movie. Appropriate crying can help pregnant women release inner pressure, reduce psychological burden and relieve emotional tension. As for Lin Juan, he gently hugged Li Mengyao and kept handing her tissues with his other hand. Although the movie was very touching, Lin Juan did not have any emotional fluctuations. It's impossible for me to cry. It's not decent for a grown man to cry while watching a movie. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening when they finished watching the movie. Li Mengyao yawned, raised her jade hands and gently hugged Lin Juan's neck, raised her head slightly, and left a kiss on Lin Juan's face. I'm going to bed, good night kiss. After saying that, he trotted back to the room. Lin Juan had no way to deal with this kind of person who flirts and then runs away. After turning off the projector, Lin Juan returned to his room and prepared to go to bed. Late at night, the wind howled in the darkness. Lightning flashed and thunder roared, a flash of lightning streaked across the sky, and heavy rain poured down, violently hitting the earth. Li Mengyao, who was sleeping soundly, was awakened by a loud thunder. The thunder was deafening. Li Mengyao was frightened and turned pale. She trembled and curled up. Li Mengyao has been afraid of thunder since she was a child, although as she grows older, she is no longer afraid of ordinary thunder. But now the thunder seemed to be right above Jinwan Prefecture, deafening. Coupled with the fact that I was pregnant, the feeling of fear was magnified. On the other hand, although Lin Juan was also awakened by the first thunder, he prefers thunderstorms. I always feel that I sleep better with the sound of thunder and rain. Lin Juan was just about to fall asleep again when his cell phone suddenly rang. Who is it, sending me a message in the middle of the night? Lin Juan was very reluctant, but he couldn't resist his curiosity. I opened my phone and saw that it was Li Mengyao. Lin Juan, can you come over here for a moment? Li Mengyao continued to curl up after sending the message. In the past, she could have just gritted her teeth and got through it. But now it was different. She thought of Lin Juan. I was afraid of disturbing Lin Juan's sleep, so after thinking it over again and again, I decided to send a message first. Wife, I'm coming in. Lin Juan knocked on the door gently, and pushed it open and walked in. Li Mengyao heard Lin Juan's voice and quickly jumped off the bed. Like a frightened bird, she flew into Lin Juan's arms and hugged his neck tightly. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were afraid of thunder. Lin Juan gently stroked Li Mengyao's hair. Then I'll watch you sleep. Lin Juan looked at Li Mengyao, who was trembling slightly in his arms. Let's sleep together. A faint blush appeared on Li Mengyao's face. Is there such a good thing? Lin Juan suddenly wanted to thank the weather tonight. Lin Juan carried Li Mengyao back to the bed and lay down himself, gently holding Li Mengyao in his arms, giving her enough sense of security. Li Mengyao was no longer so scared when being held by Lin Juan. Instead, she felt very warm. What followed was the temperature of the face continuing to rise. Li Mengyao is shy. Lin Juan looked at Li Mengyao, whose face was flushed, and said with a smile, You're not scared now, are you? It's not the first time I hold you in my arms while sleeping. Why are you so shy? The last time was when I was pregnant. The bad guy Lin Juan dares to tease me at this time. Li Mengyao became more and more angry as she thought about it. He pinched Lin Juan's waist. Okay, I was wrong. I won't tease you anymore. I just want to ease your fear. You've cried enough today. Any more crying won't be good for the baby. Are you still scared now? Lin Juan coaxed gently. Not afraid anymore, Li Mengyao murmured. Soon, Li Mengyao fell asleep. But Lin Juan didn't feel so good. This girl doesn't sleep well. He held Lin Xuan tightly with his hands and feet and hung his whole body on him. Lin Xuan was in great agony at this moment. Chapter 9 You're going to be a grandmother. The next morning, a telephone rang in Li Mengyao's ears. Li Mengyao, sleepy and dazed, picked up the phone and pressed the answer button. Hello. Li Mengyao's voice was soft. Lin's mother on the other end of the phone was shocked and stunned. What's going on? I called my son and heard a woman's voice on the other end of the line. Who are you? Where is my son Lin Xuan? Lin's mother asked anxiously. Lin Xuan? Lin Xuan is sleeping next to me. After saying that, Li Mengyao put the phone close to Lin Xuan, then continued to sleep while hugging Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan is sleeping like a pig because he stayed up late last night. Only the person on the other end of the line was left. Hello, why is there no one here? Hello? 2 hours passed. Lin Xuan slowly opened his eyes, stretched, and finally came back to life. Looking at Li Mengyao holding her tightly in her arms, her charming cherry lips. I really want to have a bite. At this moment, an angel and a demon appeared in Lin Xuan's mind. Angel, people trust you so much, Lin Xuan, you can't take advantage of them. Devil, you already have a child, so what's wrong with a kiss? Lin Xuan, kiss her hard. Lin Xuan fell into deep thought. What both of them said made sense. And just choose the middle option. It's not too much to secretly kiss Li Mengyao's little face. Li Mengyao has also secretly kissed Lin Xuan's face several times, as a token of reciprocity. Lin Xuan lowered his head and slowly approached Li Mengyao's delicate face. When they were still a few centimeters away, Lin Xuan's breathing made Li Mengyao's eyebrows tremble slightly. She slowly opened her eyes, and her eyes gradually became clear, revealing a kind of freshness and innocence as if she had just woken up. What do you want to do? Li Mengyao regained consciousness and spoke weakly. I just want to see you up close, Lin Xuan said guiltily. Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan's eyes, then lowered her head to look at her collar. And her little face instantly turned red. Rogue, pervert. And she quickly distanced herself from him, buried her head in the quilt, and was too shy to come out. Lin Xuan has a doting look on his face, and his wife scolds people in a gentle manner. No more funny. After being in a daze for a while, Lin Xuan was about to get up. Coincidentally, Lin's mother called again. Lin Xuan didn't think much about it and pressed the answer button. Hello? Mom, what's the matter that makes you call so early in the morning? Where are you now, little brat? Me? I'm in the dormitory. Lin Xuan looked at the situation and felt that it was difficult to explain now, so he could only lie to the old lady. In the dormitory? Then why did a girl answer my call just now? You're not going to break into the girls' dormitory at night, are you? You are really going to torture me. I won't care about you when the time comes, Shang Shelan said angrily. Lin Xuan quickly opened his phone and saw several calls from Shang Shelan. The first one was connected. Could it be Li Mengyao who answered it? At this time, Li Mengyao fell asleep again. Pregnant women can really sleep. Mom, I'll explain it to you later. Lin Xuan lowered his voice and hung up the phone. This brat even dared to hang up on me. I'm so pissed. Shang Shelan looked at Lin Zhengguo, who was playing with his mobile phone not far away. Lao Lin, go wash the vegetables if you had nothing else to do. Lin Zhengguo looked at him innocently. What does it have to do with me if my son provokes you? Due to my family status, I had no choice but to walk into the kitchen. On the other side, Lin Xuan tiptoed out of the room, opened the first call record on his mobile phone, and clicked replay. Hello? Lin Xuan? Lin Xuan is sleeping next to me. Li Mengyao's soft voice came. Oh no. My mom must have misunderstood. But it's time to confess to my family. It's nothing more than mixed doubles, which was a common occurrence when I was a kid. And Lin Xuan quickly called his mother back. You little bastard, are you too arrogant to hang up on your mom? Mom, don't be angry, I'm fighting back, Lin Xuan said with a grin. Tell me quickly. What happened this morning? Mom, you have to prepare yourself mentally. Still preparing yourself mentally, you won't really. Mom, don't let your imagination run wild. There's no way it would do something like that. Shang Shelan thought about it carefully and realized that she knew her son well and it was unlikely that he would do such a thing. Then tell me, kid. I heard it clearly. Mom, it's nothing, it's just. You're going to be a grandmother. It's okay, it's really nothing. What? Shang Shelan jumped in shock. The person who just answered the phone was your daughter-in-law. You bastard boy. What did your father and I teach you? You let her get pregnant before marriage. Are you doing her justice? If I hadn't caught you, you would have hidden yourself away for the rest of your life, right? You really make me mad. Shang Shelan clenched her fists tightly, wishing she could fly over and beat Lin Xuan up. Mom, don't be angry. Isn't this because you're not ready yet? And I'm planning to marry her, and then we'll have a grand wedding. Lin Xuan hurriedly explained. So where do you live now? It can't be in the girls' dormitory. Of course not. I now live in Jinwan Mansion, Jingha, I City. Just wait, kid. Your dad and I will be there this afternoon. Send me the address. By the way, if you have a photo of my daughter-in-law, please send it over as well. Shan Shaolan was so angry. Although she really wanted to be a grandmother after retirement, she couldn't become one suddenly. No one could bear this. She had to go and see the scene. Lao Lian, come out. Shang Shaolan shouted towards the kitchen. What's going on? It feels so tense. Lin Zhengjiuo looked innocent. Take a leave from work these 2 days, and we'll go to Jingha City in the afternoon. Why do you suddenly ask for leave? I am a middle-level leader in a state-owned enterprise, so it's difficult to approve it. Your son got someone else's daughter pregnant. You're going to be a grandfather. Do you want to take a leave? Shan Shaolan rolled her eyes at Lin Zhengjiuo. Huh? What the hell is going on? After Shang Shaolan's explanation, veins popped out on Lin Zhengjiuo's forehead with anger. You little brat, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Where are my belts? Bring me a few more. At this time, Shang Shaolan found her good sister who was doing business in the countryside and asked her to bring a few local chickens over quickly. Then the two of them began to rummage through the boxes and pack up their things. On the other side, Lin Xuan was in a state of panic, pacing back and forth in the hall. It was over. He was going to be beaten in the afternoon. At this time, Li Mengyao just pushed open the door and walked out, and saw Lin Xuan's anxious look. Lin Xuan, what are you doing? Honey, are you awake? Are you hungry? I'll go make breakfast right now. When Lin Xuan saw Li Mengyao, his anxious mood instantly disappeared. A hint of happiness flashed across Li Mengyao's face. After a while, a fragrant mushroom and lean meat porridge was served. Looking at Li Mengyao drinking in small sips, Lin Xuan's heart was filled with happiness. Anyway, the matter has been settled, and the worst that can happen is that I'll get a couple of beatings. 1 meal at my own home, 1 meal at my wife's home. Wife, did you receive a phone call this morning? Is there? Li Mengyao tried hard to recall while drinking porridge. It seems like someone said they were looking for Lin Xuan and then That's my mother. Lin Xuan said helplessly. At this time, Li Mengyao's eyes were wide open, and her cherry lips were slightly opened, unable to close for a long time. Chapter 10. Don't pull your ears. Li Mengyao couldn't even drink the porridge anymore. She was shocked and didn't know what to do. Lin Xuan gently embraced Li Mengyao in his arms and said softly, "Don't be afraid, honey, this will happen sooner or later. I was going to tell them after I visited your mother. My parents are also very easy to get along with. They are so happy to see such a beautiful daughter-in-law." Li Mengyao frowned. "I'm still a little nervous. Will your parents think that I am a casual person?" Lin Xuan gently played with Li Mengyao's hair, which exuded a faint fragrance. "No, they think I've let you down. I guess he's busy packing now. I'm going to come over and beat me up this afternoon." After hearing this, Li Mengyao's mouth corners slightly raised, a beautiful arc like a crescent moon, and she seemed less nervous. "Well, how did your parents beat you?" "My dad has an heirloom belt, and my mom has an heirloom hanger. It's a mixed doubles match between two people, and it's a round-based match. This time, after my dad beat me, my mom comforted me. Next time, after my mom beat me, my dad comforted me. The two of them sang the same tune." Lin Xuan recalled painfully. Li Mengyao chuckled and blinked her elegant eyes slightly. "You must be too naughty. You just wanted to be a hooligan to me." "Can it be called hooliganism when a husband kisses his own wife?" Lin Xuan said shamelessly. Not yet. We're not married yet." Li Mengyao's little face flushed instantly, and she raised her little hand and gently hit Lin Xuan's chest. "It's only a matter of time." Li Mengyao rolled her eyes and then hesitated. "I used to have a happy family. But when I was 8 years old, my dad left us early because of a car accident. I was still young at that time and naively thought my father was going on a long journey. The next time we met was in the black and white photo on the tombstone. After that, my mother started to work hard every day to support the family. When I was in school, I was often teased and told that I was a fatherless child." Li Mengyao recounted many of the bitter experiences of her childhood, tears streaming down her face with red eyes. And she hugged Lin Xuan tightly with both hands. Lin Xuan gently wiped away her tears with a tissue, then hugged Li Mengyao tightly. "Don't cry. I'll always be here for you. I will give you and the babies a wonderful home in the future," Lin Xuan said in a firm tone. "Yeah, I believe you. Do you still want to drink the porridge?" "No more drinking. I'm still a little sleepy. Carry me back to bed." Li Mengyao smiled sweetly. "Little lazy bastard." Then Lin Xuan effortlessly picked her up like a princess. "Hiss, don't bite, I was wrong." Lin Xuan carried Li Mengyao back to the room. After coming out, he looked at the cute teeth marks on his arm and smiled happily. Ding dong. The brat sent a message. Shan Shaolan opened it and was instantly attracted. In the photo, Li Mengyao is wearing a white nightgown. She has delicate features and looks fresh and charming. Her cherry lips are biting a cherry, giving people a feeling of comfort and tranquility. That's right. This is a photo Lin Xuan took secretly even without beauty filters or makeup. She still looks like a fresh beauty. This daughter-in-law is so pretty. Old Lin, take a look. Shan Shulan handed it to Lin Zhengjiuo impatiently. I'm driving now. I'll see when we get there. I'm telling you, when you see your daughter-in-law later, don't put on a sour face. Okay? If you want to beat your son, go out and solve it. Don't scare your daughter-in-law. Do you hear me? I know, I'll do as you say. Lin Zhengjiuo was helpless. It seemed that his family status was going to decline again. Lin Xuan's hometown is in Yunhai City, a 3-hour drive from Jinghai City. So for the time being, Lin Xuan can still survive for 3 hours. But what is coming will come. In the afternoon, Chen Shulan and Lin Zhengjiu arrived at the gated Jinwan mansion and were also attracted by the beautiful scenery of the community. This neighborhood is pretty nice. Chen Shulan was comparing her own community, although the community she lived in was considered good in Yunhai City. The gap was huge compared to the Jinwan mansion in front of her. This brat, renting a house in such an expensive place, doesn't he know that it costs a lot of money to get married and have children? One more reason to beat Lin Xuan. Then he made an angry phone call. Hey, brat. Or here, hurry down and pick us up. Coming. Lin Xuan said helplessly. So fast, it's only been 2.5 hours. Lin Xuan quickly put on his shoes and ran to the gate of the community to greet the two elders. Soon, Lin Xuan saw the familiar figures, familiar faces, and angry eyes. Mom and Dad, come here, ouch, it hurts. Stop pulling my ears. You little brat, you ignored my previous instructions, didn't you? Chen Shulan grabbed Lin Xuan's ears, and because Lin Xuan was tall, he was forced to be pulled down. Everyone around was looking at this place with a look of watching onlookers, which made Lin Xuan very embarrassed. Mom, please listen to me and let me explain slowly. Save some face for your son in public. Lin Xuan wailed in pain and looked for help at Lin Zhengjiuo, who was standing next to him. Lin Zhengjiuo's mouth opened and closed, as if he was telling Lin Xuan something in sign language. There's nothing I can do. And I'll have to beat you later. Lin Xuan looked desperate. Chen Shulan looked around and then let go of her hand. Let's go up and talk. And the three of them walked towards Lin Xuan's house, and Lin Xuan told the two elders everything that had happened. The strange thing is, my mom didn't seem very angry. But my dad was smiling but not really smiling. Where is my daughter-in-law? Chen Shulan asked impatiently. I'm sleeping in my room. I should be awake by now. Then let her continue to sleep. I'll go make some chicken soup for my daughter-in-law to replenish her nutrition. After saying that, Chen Shulan got up and prepared to go to the kitchen. The father and son were shocked. Mom, I'll do it, you guys just rest. Lin Xuan hurriedly stopped her. Can you make chicken soup? Of course, now your daughter-in-law only eats the food I cook, you might not be used to it. Chen Shulan had no choice but to use her daughter-in-law's trick. Then Lin Xuan rushed into the kitchen and attacked the poor hen. After a while, the room was filled with the rich aroma of chicken soup. At this time, Li Mengyao had just woken up and came to the hall following the fragrance. Lin Xuan, have you made chicken soup again? It smells so good. As soon as Li Mengyao finished speaking, she saw Chen Shulan and Lin Zhengjiuo beside her, looking at her tenderly. From a happy face to shy. And then ran back to the room in a panic. Chapter 11 Uncle, don't hit Lin Xuan. When Chen Shulan saw her daughter-in-law running away, she punched Lin Zhengjiuo next to her. But of course she didn't use much force. Look at your playful face. Look, you scared your daughter-in-law away. Chen Shulan glared at him and then walked into the kitchen. Lin Zhengjiuo felt a little aggrieved, thinking, didn't you tell me not to put on a sour face before? And you were also smiling. Of course Lin Zhengjiuo didn't dare to say it out loud, he could only endure it silently and take it out on his son when the time came. Son, go and see my daughter-in-law, she seemed to have been scared away by your father when she came out just now, Chen Shulan said to Lin Xuan. Is Mengyao awake? I'll go right away. The chicken soup is almost done, Mom, please stop processing it. Lin Xuan walked away while turning back and giving instructions. Got it, go ahead. Chen Shulan knew that her son disliked her cooking skills, so she glared at him. Lin Xuan walked into the room and closed the door. Li Mengyao was wearing a light purple ruffled dress. Like an elf walking out of a sea of flowers, exuding a charming and fresh temperament. A light makeup on her face also makes her look more fresh and pleasant. Does it look good? Seeing Lin Xuan staring at her, Li Mengyao asked shyly. Very beautiful. Like a fairy, Lin Xuan walked to Li Mengyao and took her soft little hand. I was so sleepy just now that I forgot your parents were coming. Will they like the way you look now? Li Mengyao pursed her lips, still a little nervous. There is no parent in the world who wouldn't like a little fairy like you. Lin Xuan pinched her tender little hand. You are the only one who can speak. Li Mengyao blinked her beautiful eyes. Let's go out together. Don't worry, I'm here with you. Then the two of them walked out of the room hand in hand. Lin Xuan in front and Li Mengyao following closely behind. Mom and Dad, let me introduce you, this is Li Mengyao, the child's mother. Mengyao, these are my parents, Lin Xuan introduced. Hello, uncle and aunt, Li Mengyao greeted nervously. Chen Shulan and Lin Jiuozeng were looking at their daughter-in-law in front of them. She was even more beautiful in person than in the photo. He admired that he was indeed his son and had good taste. Mengyao, come and sit down. Auntie wants to have a good chat with you. Chen Shulan greeted them warmly, pushed Lin Xuan aside, and pulled Li Mengyao to sit down. Mengyao, where are you from? Stillwater City. Seeing that Li Mengyao was still very reserved, he thought it might be Lin's Eng Jiyuo who was beside her, and then glared at her. Old Lin, don't you have something to say to your precious son? You guys go out and discuss this. Lin Zeng Jiyuo and Lin Xuan left reluctantly. We already know about your situation, it was my brat who wronged you. I just gave him a severe lesson here. Our Lin family would like to apologize to you. And Shang Shulan took out a bracelet from her bosom. The gems on the bracelet were exquisitely inlaid and shining brightly. The unique bracelet design was like a work of art. We don't have any heirloom bracelets. This is a bracelet I bought while traveling a few years ago. I plan to give it to my daughter-in-law in the future. I'll give it to you as a meeting gift. Auntie, I can't accept such a valuable thing. Li Mengyao quickly refused. Here, this is what that kid owes you. Don't worry. If this kid dares to treat you badly, just tell me and I will definitely help you teach him a lesson. Li Mengyao heard the lesson and suddenly thought, could it be that Lin Xuan went out with his father? Li Mengyao's face changed drastically and she quickly ran out the door. Just then, Lin Zeng Jiyuo was seen holding a belt, ready to beat Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan stood still, ready to accept the punishment. Li Mengyao quickly rushed towards Lin Xuan, hugged him tightly, and looked straight at Lin Zeng Jiyuo. Uncle, don't hit Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan is not wrong. It was caused by our carelessness. Lin Xuan has been taking good care of me during this period and has also taken on responsibilities. I like Lin Xuan very much. Lin Xuan also didn't expect that Li Mengyao, who had always been weak, would be so brave, and even for the sake of protecting himself. Oh, Lin Xuan, you decide what to do, Lin Zeng Jiyuo sighed helplessly. I will take responsibility and spend my whole life accompanying you and taking care of you, Lin Xuan said in a firm tone. I believe you. Li Mengyao lowered her head shyly. Okay, stop standing outside. Mengyao must be hungry. Come in and have a bowl of chicken soup to replenish your nutrition. Chen Shuling came out to smooth things over and pulled Li Mengyao back to the restaurant inside the house, followed by Lin Xuan and Lin Zeng Jiyuo. Lin Xuan went back to the kitchen and cooked some home-cooked dishes. The family finally had dinner. Huh, brat, when did your cooking skills become so good? Shen Shulan and Lin Zeng Jiyuo were both shocked it tasted so delicious. However, Shen Shulan did not forget to pick up food for Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao's bowl was never empty. After dinner, Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao for a stroll around the community as usual. Chen Shulan and Lin Zeng Jiyuo stayed at home. Wife, were you scared just now? Lin Xuan held Li Mengyao's hand and asked. Yeah, a little bit. My parents are actually pretty nice people. I was taught from a young age to be an upright person, not to cause trouble, and not to get involved in bad habits. This time they should be both angry and happy. They are angry because I bullied you, and they are happy because they have such a beautiful daughter-in-law and are becoming grandparents. So it's normal to want to beat me up. If I had known earlier that I wouldn't protect you, I would have let you get beaten up. Li Mengyao raised the corners of her mouth slightly and smiled happily. On the other side, Shen Shulan and Lin Zeng Jiyuo stayed at home. Old Lin, you're going to be a grandfather now. Shouldn't you show some appreciation? Shang Shulan asked. Well, let Lin Xuan go and see the house when the time comes. Lin Zeng Jiyuo said. That's all we can do. This prodigal son, he doesn't save money and rents such a big house. Doesn't he know that it costs a lot of money to have a baby? As Shang Shulan was talking, she wanted to hit Lin Xuan again, but she could do nothing when she thought about her daughter-in-law not letting her. After Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao came back in the evening, Li Mengyao was already feeling sleepy, so she went back to her room early to rest. After Lin Xuan helped his parents clean up the room, he was pulled over by Shang Shulan. Son, go check out the house in Jinghai City in a few days. Now that Mengyao is pregnant, we have to buy a house quickly and prepare for the wedding. Here is 1 million yuan your father and I saved it for you to marry a wife. Take it. As he said that, he took out a bank card and handed it to Lin Xuan. Mom, no need to buy it, I already have a house. Lin Xuan stepped back. Where did you get this house? Isn't it rented? I bought this house, Lin Xuan said proudly. Shang Shulan was stunned for a moment, then slapped Lin Xuan on the head. Smelly boy, where did you get so much money? I started learning about investment when I was in college. And I've also been working part-time as a designer in the past few years, so I've saved some money. Let's leave this money to Cece, Lin Xuan explained, covering his head. Zhang Xiaolan has never denied that her son is smart. After thinking about it carefully, my son was quite reliable except for this incident. So I believed it. Okay, just tell mom if you don't have enough money. Zhang Xiaolan took back the bank card. By the way, does Cece know about this? Lin Xuan also has a younger sister who is currently attending high school at Yanhae City. No, one middle school. I don't know yet, she went to school. Okay, it's getting late now. Their dad and I are going back to the room to rest. Seeing that it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening, Lin Xuan was ready to go back to his room to rest. I opened the door and found a beautiful figure lying on the bed. Chapter 12, Luxurious Restaurant. Lin Xuan went out and looked at the room again, and he was sure he had gone to the right place. Could it be that this girl? Lin Xuan didn't care about that. He climbed onto the bed gently and lay down next to Li Mengyao. Lin Xuan looked at the sleeping Li Mengyao and wondered what delicious food he should make for his wife tomorrow. Make a bowl of red dates and white fungus soup. Red dates and white fungus can both nourish and beautify the skin. Make another serving of stir-fried broccoli with shrimp to supplement protein, vitamins and folic acid. Another serving. Suddenly, Li Mengyao turned around and gently hugged Lin Xuan with her delicate hands. Her beautiful eyelashes trembled slightly and the corners of her mouth rose slightly. Lin Xuan looked at Li Mengyao pretending to sleep and chuckled. Wife, are you asleep? Lin Xuan gently pinched the little face with his hand. Ignore it, but Li Mengyao frowned slightly. It hurts. Big gangster. Li Mengyao turned over, leaving Lin Xuan with only the back of her head showing. Lin Xuan smiled, came forward and hugged Li Mengyao, saying gently, Wife, why did you come to my room today? Li Mengyao's face turned red, and she said proudly, This is my room. It's you, be gone to the wrong place. Lin Xuan knew that Li Mengyao was shy, so he said lovingly, Okay, I took the wrong path. And I'll always go the wrong way from now on, okay? My wife is always right. Li Mengyao couldn't listen anymore. Turned around in annoyance, raised her pink fist, and gently hit Lin Xuan. Stop talking. Okay, I won't say any more. Lin Xuan hugged Li Mengyao into his arms. We'll go to your house the day after tomorrow to visit your mother-in-law. Okay? Li Mengyao hasn't seen her mother for a while. By the way, what does your mother like? I have to prepare some gifts for her, Lin Xuan asked. No need. Just buy some fruits when the time comes, and she will be very happy. Li Mengyao shook her head gently. That won't work. Let's go to the mall again tomorrow. Okay. Li Mengyao yawned and was obviously very sleepy while Lin Xuan was not paying attention. She secretly kissed him on the face. Good night, idiot Lin Xuan. And he turned over and fell into a deep sleep, flirting and running away again. Lin Xuan had no way to deal with her. I'll deal with you later, Lin Xuan said in a low voice. And he fell asleep while holding Li Mengyao. The next day, after lunch, Zhang Xiaolan and Lin Zhengjiyuo prepared to return to Yanhae City. Before leaving, Zhang Xiaolan pulled Li Mengyao over and started mumbling something, laughing as she spoke. Lin Xuan is very curious, he won't tell me about his childhood scandals. Lin Xuan was about to move closer to listen when the two of them stopped talking. Son, take good care of Mengyao. Call home if anything happens. Hurry up and find some time to go to Mengyao's house and apologize. Zhang Xiaolan said that the more she looked at her daughter-in-law, the more she liked her. Got it, Mom. We will go tomorrow. And have a safe trip, Lin Xuan said. After seeing off the two elders, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao returned home. Lin Xuan asked curiously, What did my mom say to you? You're laughing the whole time. Li Mengyao smiled and snorted. I won't tell you. Lin Xuan deliberately put on a stern face, lifted her chin and asked her to look at him. Tell me or not. If you don't, I will take action. Li Mengyao narrowed her beautiful eyes. I won't tell you. Let's see what you can do to me. Lin Xuan suddenly performed a princess hug, hugged Li Mengyao tightly, and slowly walked towards the room. What are you doing? Put me down. Li Mengyao stretched out her hands in panic and hugged Lin Xuan tightly, leaving only her two legs to resist slightly. Lin Xuan carried Li Mengyao back to the room and gently put her back on the bed. Looking at that delicate face, Lin Xuan lowered his head and kissed Li Mengyao's forehead, saying gently, Take a nap, and when you wake up we'll go to the mall. Li Mengyao lowered her head shyly, acting like an ostrich because of the kiss just now. After waking up, the two drove a Mavic to Jinwan Plaza. Lin Xuan first bought a lot of health products for Li Mengyao's mother, and later bought her some bags for middle-aged people and some jewelry. Seeing Lin Xuan buying more and more, Li Mengyao finally couldn't help it and grabbed Lin Xuan's hand. Lin Xuan, don't buy any more, there are already enough. Lin Xuan suddenly had a bad idea and pretended to say, No, I need to buy more, these are not enough. Li Mengyao puffed up her cheeks like a puffer fish. If you buy it again, I'll be angry. You don't have to buy it, but if you give me a kiss, I won't buy it. Lin Xuan said shamelessly, It was because of me that I ran away after flirting with her yesterday. Let's go back. Let's talk about it later, there are too many people here. Li Mengyao blushed and turned her pretty head to the side. Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao's hand and said happily, I'll take you to see a place. Lin Xuan picked up the phone and called the marketing manager of Jinwan Plaza. Hello, manager. I purchased a luxury store in Jinwan Plaza before, can I come over to check it now? Is that MRLin? The other party replied. Yes, I'm on the first floor of Jinwan Plaza now. Okay. Wait a moment, I'll be down to pick you up right away. After a while, a man in a suit with a decent appearance came jogging over. Hello, MRLin, I'm the marketing manager at Jinwan Plaza. My last name is Chen. Hello, Manager Chen, can you take us to see the store now? Lin Xuan asked. Of course, please come this way. Manager Chen gestured. Li Mengyao was slightly stunned again when did Lin Xuan buy another store, and in Jinwan Plaza, where every inch of land is worth a lot of money. Then the two of them came to the 5th floor of Jinwan Plaza, where there are various restaurants. Manager Chen took the two of them to the largest shop on the 5th floor. It is worthy of being a reward from the system. Each one is a top-notch product. This shop is 150 square meters, and according to the price of 30,000 yuan per square meter. For 0.5 million. MRLin. Just sign here. Manager Chen took out a document and handed it to Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan read it carefully and signed his name. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lin. If you have any follow-up questions, you can call me at any time. Okay, thank you, Manager Chen. After Manager Chen left, Lin Xuan asked Li Mengyao, who was in a daze. Wife, what do you think of this store? It must be a restaurant. And it's so big. Li Mengyao gestured with her little hands. Well, let's open this place as a fish restaurant. Why is it a fish restaurant? Li Mengyao looked puzzled. Lin Xuan squeezed Li Mengyao's little hand and said, because my wife likes fish the most. Chapter 13 Wife, you still bite me. Li Mengyao's heart was surrounded by a warm emotion and she was so moved that she was speechless. And she gently put her arms around Lin Yixuan's waist, rested her head on his chest, and felt his warmth. After the two of them stayed together for a while, they drove back to Jinwan Mansion. Lin Xuan returned to the kitchen to prepare dinner. And Li Mengyao also wanted to help. Lin Xuan gently pushed her out, saying that pregnant women cannot smell the smell of cooking fumes. Helpless, Li Mengyao had to sit on the sofa and watch the show. Ding dong, Liu Yuxin sent a message. My dear Yao Yao, how have you been these days? Had Lin Xuan bully you? I haven't seen my Yao Yao for a long time. Crying expression. Li Mengyao smiled brightly, picked up her phone, took a picture of Lin Xuan busy in the kitchen, took another picture of herself watching TV series on the sofa, and sent it to Liu Yuxin, little Shibu expression. No way, this is all going to be fed dog food. Yao Yao, can love really disappear? Little Shibu vomiting blood expression. I still love you very much. Xin. Xin is fine, don't add a big word in front. 50-meter sword emoji. If you want to find me, you can just come directly. Really? I hope your husband won't mind after all. I'm interrupting your private time. Sly smile. Not yet, my husband. Although Li Mengyao had always heard Lin Xuan calling her wife, she was still a little shy when the word husband was mentioned. You're still shy, we've been eaten up. Okay, I'm going to eat now. Lin Xuan brought out 2 bowls of mushroom and chicken claypot rice, a plate of steamed mandarin fish and a bowl of tomato and egg soup. Wife, prepare dinner. Li Mengyao walked forward, threw herself into Lin Xuan's arms, and murmured, thank you for your hard work. I feel warm in my heart that I will have such a considerate husband in the future. After the two of them stayed together for a while, they started to eat dinner. Lin Xuan, Yuxin said she wanted to come here to find me. Is that okay? Li Mengyao asked while eating in small bites. Of course, you don't need to ask me about this. You are the hostess here, Lin Xuan said gently. Okay. Li Mengyao smiled sweetly again. Seeing Li Mengyao eating with relish, Lin Xuan felt extremely happy. Until now, Lin Xuan still doesn't know why Li Mengyao likes to eat fish. But since Li Mengyao didn't say anything on her own initiative, he wouldn't ask as long as she was happy now. That was all that mattered. As for whether the luxurious shop can be used as a fish restaurant, Lin Xuan still has no idea at the moment. First of all, it needs to be renovated. After the renovation, you need to find a reliable store manager and a chef. With the system's 5-star chef certification, he could be a chef in a restaurant. But now his wife is pregnant and he can't spare the time. Forget it, let's take it one step at a time. It's given by the system for free anyway. I'll just pass the test with my mother-in-law tomorrow. After they had their dinner, Lin Xuan washed the dishes and then played online games with his roommates, while Li Mengyao watched a TV series in the living room. At around 10 o'clock in the evening, Lin Xuan prepared a cup of hot milk and placed it in front of the bed, then pulled up Li Mengyao, who was looking at her phone. Wife, have a glass of milk. After drinking a cup, the two washed up and lay on the bed. Lin Xuan played with Li Mengyao's hair. Wife, do you want to buy some bird's nest or something tomorrow? No, that's enough, my mother really doesn't care about these. Li Mengyao snuggled into Lin Xuan's arms with a smile on her lips. Are you nervous? Of course I'm nervous. I'm really afraid of being kicked out by my aunt. Lin Xuan looked embarrassed. Now imagine if your own daughter suddenly told you that she was pregnant, and then pointed to a college student who was still wet behind the ears and said, "He is very good." Then Lin Xuan would probably break all his legs. The current situation seems to be similar. Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan's nervous look and burst out laughing. Don't worry, my mother has always been very gentle. Besides, I will help you. Honey, you said you would give me a kiss in the afternoon at Jinwan Plaza. Li Mengyao was stunned. This change was too fast. Suddenly, Lin Xuan felt a warmth on his face, accompanied by a faint fragrance and a hint of pain. Wife, you're still biting me. Lin Xuan touched his cheek that had just been kissed and smiled slightly. I'm going to sleep, good night. Li Mengyao turned her head away so that Lin Xuan wouldn't see her pretty face, which was already flushed. Lin Xuan has become accustomed to Li Mengyao's personality of flirting with him and then running away. Then he gently hugged Li Mengyao from behind and fell asleep together. The next morning, after breakfast, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao are preparing to set off for Jingshui City. Jingshui City is a fourth-tier small city in He Province, a 4-hour drive from the provincial capital Jinghe City. Lin Xuan's hometown, Yanhe City, is a third-tier city, so it is less than 3 hours drive from Jinghe City. Lin Xuan, why don't we drive the Xiaomi Su7? Li Mengyao held Lin Xuan's hand. Why? Lin Xuan looked confused. He still liked that Maybach very much. He used to see. It's not that your parents-in-law are not hospitable, it's that you don't drive a Maybach. What Maybach has set up is not a symbol, but a waist that has not been able to straighten up for more than 10 years. That's getting off topic. Because I feel that driving a Maybach is a bit too ostentatious, Li Mengyao muttered with her little hand. What's wrong with being a little ostentatious? I went to beg your mother for permission. Otherwise I'll seem too stingy. Besides, it takes 4 hours to drive there and 8 hours to go there and back. If you drive a Xiaomi electric car, you have to charge it, which is a bit troublesome. I have to rely on this Maybach to keep my head up straight. Lin Xuan pinched Li Mengyao's little face. Okay. Li Mengyao looked at the purple Xiaomi SU7 parked nearby. She had never driven it before. Lin Xuan saw what his wife was thinking and said tenderly, when we come back, you can drive the Xiaomi SU7 to go for a ride with your best IE. Li Mengyao showed a sweet smile. The two came to the parking lot. Lin Xuan opened the back seat of the Maybach and said to Li Mengyao, because we are going to the highway, for safety reasons, honey, you should sit in the back seat. It is best for pregnant women not to sit in the front passenger seat, especially when driving at high speed. After Li Mengyao sat quietly, Lin Xuan walked around to the driver's seat and started the car. The Maybach drove towards Jingshui City like a shining pearl. Chapter 14. Actually, I'm pregnant. While the Maybach was driving, Lin Xuan glanced at Li Mengyao through the rear-view mirror. At this time, Li Mengyao was supporting her chin with one hand, looking out the window quietly, humming a little tune from time to time, with a happy smile on her face. Wife, it's going to take 4 hours to drive. Don't you want to take a nap? Lin Xuan asked gently. I just woke up this morning and I'm not sleepy anymore. And I'll be able to see my mother soon. So I can't sleep even more. Li Mengyao smiled brightly, her eyes curved with joy. And tell me about life in Stillwater. Lin Xuan wanted to know more about the city where Li Mengyao grew up. If you like someone, you want to know more about that person's previous life. Let me tell you, Jingshui City is only a small fourth-tier city, with a slow pace of life and not very prosperous. But it is full of human touch, warmth and harmony among neighbors. Also, the night in Jingshui City has soft lights, which makes people feel a sense of tranquility and warmth. My home is in the old city. And there is a small park downstairs. When I was a kid, I often played hide and seek in the park. One time, my mother couldn't find me and got really angry, but I was scolded afterwards. Also, there is a very cute tabby cat in the small park. I wonder if it recognizes me. And talking about Li Mengyao's hometown, her eyes sparkled with joy and she shared it with Lin Xuan incessantly. While driving, Lin Xuan listened quietly. Perhaps because she was tired, Li Mengyao leaned on the car seat and fell asleep quietly. 4 hours passed quickly, and Lin Xuan drove out of the Jingshui City toll station and parked on the side of the road. Wife, we're here. Lin Xuan gently pinched Li Mengyao's soft face. Are we there yet? Li Mengyao rubbed her sleepy eyes. She looked a little silly having just woken up. What came into view was the city that Li Mengyao was familiar with. Have you called your aunt? Lin Xuan asked gently. Not yet, I'll call now. Li Mengyao immediately took out her cell phone. Hey, Mom, we're almost there. You're here. Mom has already prepared the food, including your favorite braised fish. A gentle voice came from the phone. We set out at 8 in the morning and it was already 12 noon. We just got off the highway and are going back now, Li Mengyao replied. After hanging up the phone, Lin Chuan started the car and soon arrived at Li Mengyao's home. Although the houses in this old town are a bit old, it is full of life with people coming and going. Li Mengyao's home is a standard 140 square meters small commercial house, not too big or too small, but living on the 8th floor, climbing the stairs is still a bit tiring. Lin Chuan carried 2 large bags of gifts and climbed to the 8th floor with Li Mengyao after seeing the familiar door of their home. Li Mengyao took out the key to open the door. Mom, I'm back. A middle-aged woman with a kind face, walnut brows and beautiful appearance came up to me. Her almond eyes were as white as stars. Although time had left marks on her skin, it did not affect her beauty. Instead, it made her exude a unique mature charm. Li Mengyao instantly threw herself into Huang Shifang's arms, and the mother and daughter hugged each other tightly. I'm glad you're back, Yao Yao. Have you gained weight recently? Huang Shifang touched Li Mengyao's pretty head and asked happily. No, Li Mengyao blushed and said softly. At this time, Huang Shifang began to look at Lin Chuan with gentle eyes. Hello, Auntie. I'm Li Mengyao's boyfriend. My name is Lin Chuan. Nice to meet you, Auntie. This is a gift for you. As he said that, Lin Chuan handed over 2 large bags of gifts. Hello, what are you bringing with you? Don't do this next time. Come in quickly, Huang Shifang said with a smile after taking it. Entering Li Mengyao's home. Although it is a bit old, the whole house is tidy, clean and tidy, and the furniture is neatly arranged, giving people a feeling of comfort and tranquility. Are you all hungry? Come, wash your hands and eat, Huang Shifang said with a smile. On the table were stir-fried pork belly with green peppers, braised prawns, boiled fish fillet, braised fish and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. These are all Li Mengyao's favorite dishes. Xiaoshuan, don't be polite. Just treat it as your own home. Try Auntie's cooking, Huang Shifang said gently. Li Mengyao sat down next to Lin Chuan and started eating. Yao Xiaoshuan hasn't even started eating yet, but you're already eating with big mouthfuls. That's so unruly. Huang Shifang pretended to be angry, but his eyes were full of smiles. Mom, I'm really hungry. Li Mengyao pouted and said proudly. Seeing that the mother and daughter had a very good relationship, Lin Chuan smiled happily. He peeled a few prawns for Li Mengyao before starting to eat. Auntie, the food you cook is so delicious, Lin Chuan said. Although the home cooking of Huang Shifang is not as good as that of a 5-star chef, it is very warm and has a homely taste. If it tastes good, eat more, Huang Shifang said gently. Li Mengyao also picked up a few pieces of pork belly for Lin Chuan and said happily. Lin Chuan, this is delicious, try it. Thank you, old. Li Mengyao glared and mouthed. My mother is still here. Lin Chuan had no choice but to swallow the word wife. Huang Shifang smiled gently when she saw Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao being so affectionate with each other. How did you two meet? Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao were both stunned for a moment and looked at each other. We met at a school party, Li Mengyao said a little nervously. Yes, that's right, I fell in love with Mengyao at first sight, Lin Chuan also agreed. Huang Shifang looked at the two of them with gentle eyes and noticed that her daughter was a little flustered. But she didn't say anything. After lunch, Huang Shifang cleaned up the dishes and washed them in the kitchen. Lin Chuan wanted to help but was rejected. Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao had no choice but to return to the living room and sit quietly. Li Mengyao took Lin Chuan's hand and asked, Lin Chuan, are you nervous? Of course I'm nervous, but we'll have to face it eventually. It's worth it to marry such a beautiful wife, even if I get beaten up. Lin Chuan held the pink little hand back, interlocking their fingers. It's already this late, and you're still not serious. Li Mengyao rolled her eyes and gently hit him with her other little hand. My mother is gentle and generous, she won't hit anyone. After Huang Shifang finished the kitchen, she returned to the living room and sat opposite the two of them with a smile on her face. What are you two whispering about? Xiaoshuan, why did you buy so many expensive items? Auntie can't afford it. Huang Shifang looked at these health products and jewelry, all of which were famous brands and expensive, probably costing tens of thousands of dollars. Auntie, these are just some tokens of my appreciation for our first meeting, please accept them, Lin Chuan said in a firm tone. Huang Shifang saw her daughter looking nervous and knew something must have happened. Yao, are you hiding something from your mother? Huang Shifang asked gently. Li Mengyao hesitated for a moment and finally made up her mind. Mom, I want to tell you something. Go ahead. Mom's listening. Mom, actually I'm pregnant. Chapter 15. Are you such a mom? Huang Shifang guessed that her daughter was hiding something from her. Maybe she wanted to live with Lin Chuan, or maybe she wanted to marry Lin Chuan. She guessed all of this. I never expected that my daughter would get pregnant. Huang Shifang's eyes widened at this time, full of shock and confusion. Yao, are you kidding me? Li Mengyao lowered her head and said guiltily. Mom, I'm sorry. At this time, Lin Chuan stood up and said in a firm tone. Auntie, it's all my fault. I made Mengyao pregnant. Don't worry, I will take good care of Meng Yao. If you are not satisfied, just beat me up, I will let you do whatever you want, Annie. Huang Shifang closed her eyes and frowned. She knew her daughter would not lie to her about being pregnant, but she still couldn't accept that the daughter she had raised with so much effort was. Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao held their hands tightly together, as if this could provide invisible strength. After a while, Huang Shifang opened his eyes. With a hint of anger, but still in a gentle tone, he said, Yao Yao, come into the house and talk to mom. Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan with panic eyes, and Lin Xuan responded with a firm look to comfort her. And the mother and daughter entered the room and closed the door. Yao Yao, what's going on? Why are you? Huang Shifang asked, trembling. Lai. Lin Xuan and I couldn't help it for a moment, Li Mengyao said with red eyes. Seeing that her daughter was about to cry, Huang Shifang softened her tone and spoke gently. Mom is not against you finding a boyfriend, but you are moving too fast. Mom asks you, do you like Lin Xuan? I like it, Li Mengyao said with a firm face. Huang Shifang touched his forehead helplessly. I trust my daughter's judgment. I think he is handsome and polite. He is a good guy. But I'm still angry about the fact that he made you pregnant before marriage. Li Mengyao clenched her hands tightly together and spoke in a low voice. In fact, I also have a lot of responsibility for this matter. I approached him first. You. Huang Shifang said weakly on the bed. Mom, when Lin Xuan found out I was pregnant, he immediately said he would take responsibility. He has been taking good care of me during this period. I really like Lin Xuan. Li Mengyao also sat next to her mother, holding her hands tightly. Did he propose to you? Huang Shifang asked. He said that once he gets your consent, they will get married. Li Mengyao's face turned slightly red. It seems that Lin Xuan still respects the opinions of his elders at this time. Huang Shifang's favorability towards Lin Xuan has increased a little. Lin Xuan in the living room was sweating from nervousness, wondering why the two of them took so long to go and whether Auntie would disagree in the end. As when Lin Xuan was still daydreaming, the mother and daughter walked out of the room and sat opposite Lin Xuan. The difference is that just now Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao were sitting next to each other, but this time the mother and daughter were sitting next to each other. Huang Shifang looked at Lin Xuan and said in a gentle tone, Lin Xuan, Auntie will ask you a few questions. Don't worry. Auntie won't hit you. Besides, I am too old to hit you. Auntie? Please ask. Lin Xuan sat up straight and said in a firm tone. I already know what happened. You said you would be responsible for Yao Yao. So how are you going to take responsibility? I am going to get your consent, Auntie will get married right away. And I will give Meng Yao a grand wedding. Where are you going to live then? You can't keep renting a house while you're pregnant. Huang Shifang thinks that if the two are still in love, there is no problem with renting a house, but now Li Mengyao is pregnant and she can't live in a rented house after the child is born. Auntie, I have already bought a house. This is the one Mengyao and I live in now. Look, these are photos and property certificates. Lin Xuan opened his cell phone and handed it to Huang Shifang. Huang Shifang took a look. Although she had not been to big cities much, she could tell at a glance that the housing in this community was not cheap. What surprised her even more was that the property certificate was written in the names of both Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao. This made Huang Shifang's favorable impression on Lin Xuan increase again. Nowadays, many men who buy houses before marriage are unwilling to add the woman's name. So what kind of job do you plan to do after graduation? Huang Shifang continued to ask. I have no plans to work yet. I plan to take care of Meng Yao during this period. I will make plans after the baby is born and Meng Yao is out of confinement. Of course, I have not been idle during this period. I will make some investments. Lin Xuan said. With such a powerful system, who would still work? Wouldn't it be better to just be a good father? So what do your parents mean? Huang Shifang asked, puzzled. Lai. My parents came to see Meng Yao and me a few days ago. They like Meng Yao very much. After you gave me a beating, you told me to go and apologize to you, Auntie. Lin Xuan suddenly stood up at this moment and said with a firm look and tone. Auntie, please rest assured and leave your daughter to me. I will take good care of Meng Yao. Li Mengyao also stood up and ran to Lin Xuan's side. She held Lin Xuan's hand tightly and looked at Huang Shifang with a firm look. Huang Shifang looked at the two of them and shook his head helplessly. When Lin Xuan saw his aunt shaking her head, he suddenly felt a pang in his heart. Could it be that his aunt disagreed? Li Mengyao saw her mother shaking her head and her eyes began to turn slightly red. It's already a done deal. And you two are in love with each other? Can aunts still object? I just didn't expect to be a grandmother so soon. Huang Shifang looked at the two of them, shook his head involuntarily, and then smiled slightly. Mom, Li Mengyao couldn't help but her eyes turned red. Thank you, Auntie. Lin Xuan thanked her in surprise and wiped Meng Yao's tears with a tissue. Lin Xuan, remember your promise. My daughter and I have lived together since childhood and have suffered a lot, so I don't want my daughter to continue to suffer in the future. If I find out that Yao Yao is not doing well, I will definitely settle the score with you. Huang Shifang changed his previous gentle tone and spoke in an unusually firm tone. Okay, auntie? You can move in with us, our place is big enough. This way you and Meng Yao can continue to be together, Lin Xuan said with a smile. As an old man, I won't live with you young people. Besides, I have lived in Jingshui City for most of my life, and I am not used to living in a big city. I will be very happy if you come back often to visit me. Huang Shifang smiled. Well, it's getting late. Lin Xuan, you are tired from driving, go back to the house and rest, Huang Shifang urged. Li Mengyao went back to the guest room and looked around, then said, Mom, didn't you clean up the guest room for Lin Xuan? Huang Shifang looked at her silly daughter, smiled and said, Lin Xuan will sleep with you. In your room. Li Mengyao? Are you such a mother? Chapter 16 Old Husband. Lin Xuan walked into Li Mengyao's room. The room was decorated warmly and elegantly, with pink walls and a soft bed. The bookshelf was filled with various books, full of the feminine atmosphere of a girl. Li Mengyao smiled and said, Lin Xuan, let's go to bed. Lin Xuan changed into pajamas and lay on the bed without saying anything. Li Mengyao turned her head away in shame. Wife. Now that auntie agrees, shouldn't you call me husband? We're not married yet. I'm going to change my clothes, you turn around, Li Mengyao said with a red face. Call me husband and I'll turn around, Lin Xuan said with a grin. Husband. Li Mengyao's voice was mixed with a hint of annoyance, and she glared at him at the same time. Lin Xuan then turned around happily and faced Li Mengyao with his back. After changing her clothes, Li Mengyao climbed gently onto the bed and hugged Lin Xuan. Suddenly, a clear voice sounded in Lin Xuan's mind. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for passing the mother-in-law's test. Reward, a king-class apartment in Times Garden, Jingshui City. Please check it. The system appears again, another house for free this time. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for triggering the lottery mechanism. You will be awarded a chance to draw a prize. The prize pool includes 1. Triple cash credit card, 2. An exclusive fish recipe book, 3. 1 free voucher for store decoration, 4. Thank you for your patronage. Excuse me, host, would you like to draw lottery? The system also has a lottery mode. From this point of view, as long as you don't win the lottery, you will make a lot of money. I am willing to spend the conditions of my roommate Shu Quan's big guarantee every time he plays Yuan Shen to exchange for the top 3. Lottery. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for winning a free voucher for store decoration. It has been placed on the desk of Jin Wan Mansion, please check it. The system is really thoughtful now. The decoration of the luxurious store in Jinwan Plaza has been settled. Ding dong, a warm reminder. A result of this host's lucky draw should be thank you for your patronage. But the host successfully used Shu Quan's big guarantee every time, so it was changed to a free redemption coupon for store decoration. You can still play like this. Quaner, I'm sorry, laughing wildly. When Lin Xuan came back to his senses, Li Mengyao was already sleeping quietly, and they both fell into a sweet dream together. On the other side, Shu Quan, who was far away in the dormitory of Jinghe University, was clicking on the prayer button in disbelief. I believed your lies. How come it's a big guarantee again? I've won the big guarantee 4 times in a row. Me, haha, come out here, Shu Quan roared angrily. BS, does anyone have the experience of continuous guarantee? Chen Jingming glanced at it with disdain, took out his computer and fired 10 shots in a row in front of Shu Quan. Ooh, golden legend. Double yoke. You'd better give up this game as soon as possible. It's against you. Chen Jingming patted Shu Quan. You, I'm going to fight you, Shu Quan roared angrily in the dormitory. The two of them started to make moves. 2 hours later, Li Mengyao was still sleeping soundly. Lin Xuan woke up first and tiptoed out of the room. At this moment, the phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Lin Xuan pressed the answer button. Hello, is this Emerelin? Yes. It's like this. I'm the sales manager of Times Home, the 1201. Building A. Times Home that you purchased is ready. When are you free to come and check it? Can I go tomorrow? Of course, I'll wait for you tomorrow. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xuan sighed at the high efficiency of the system. Lin Xuan, are you awake? Come and talk to auntie. When Lin Xuan walked into the living room, he saw Huang Shifang sitting on the sofa, looking at him kindly. Yeah, I just woke up. Meng Yao is still sleeping. What do you think of this girl Meng Yao? Huang Shifang suddenly asked. Meng Yao is gentle and kind. Gentle and elegant, but also strong and courageous. She never backs down in the face of difficulties and always brings me the warmth of home, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Meng Yao lost her father when she was young and lacked fatherly love, so she is very independent, has a strong self-esteem and is also a little sensitive. So auntie would like to ask you to be more humble. Auntie is leaving her only daughter to you, please treat her well. Huang Shifang looked at Lin Xuan with gentle eyes. Don't worry, auntie, I will take good care of Meng Yao, Lin Xuan responded firmly. And auntie will be relieved. By the way, what do you want to eat in the evening? I will make it for you, Huang Shifang asked. Auntie, can I cook with you tonight? I want to ask you for advice on how to make the dishes that Meng Yao made at home. Even though Lin Xuan has the skills of a 5-star chef, he can only bring out the best in the ingredients and cannot replicate the taste of Li Mengyao's home. Do you really want to learn? Huang Shifang was surprised and relieved at the same time. Nowadays, there are very few men who can cook for their wives. Well, I think when Meng Yao wants to eat the taste of her childhood home, I can make it any time. Okay, Auntie will teach you. Huang Shifang smiled and walked into the kitchen. In the evening, after dinner, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao decided to go out for a walk. The two held hands and came to a nearby small park. Although the park was small, it was well planned, with green trees and colorful flowers under the illumination of the night. The lights were soft, creating a quiet and peaceful atmosphere. Lin Xuan, this is the small park I often visited when I was a kid. What do you think? A hint of happiness flashed across Li Mengyao's face. This park is nice and warm, but what? Li Mengyao asked, puzzled. Why? But you called me the wrong name just now, you should call me husband. Lin Xuan pulled Li Mengyao into his arms. I'm not used to it. Li Mengyao lowered her head and blushed. You'll get used to it after calling me a few times. Lin Xuan lifted Li Mengyao's chin and asked her to look at him. Husband, Li Mengyao said softly. Chapter 17, Isn't it a kiss on the cheek? Looking at Li Mengyao's charming eyes and slightly open mouth, she gives people an indescribable temptation. If it weren't for the crowds around the small park. Meow? A clear and pleasant meow came from under Li Mengyao's feet. Xiaoli, you are still here. Li Mengyao came out of Ling Yuan's arms, squatted down, and gently stroked the cat's soft fur with her little hands. This tabby cat has colorful fur, clear facial features, soft and shiny fur with unique patterns, eyes as crystal clear as amber, and is fat. It doesn't look like a stray cat at all. This is the kitten I used to feed. It was just a little kitten at that time, super cute. I didn't expect you still remembered me. While stroking the cat, Li Mengyao looked back at Lin Xuan and said with a smile. At this time, Xiaoli squinted his eyes and enjoyed Li Mengyao's touch. It's really cute. You can't tell it's a stray cat at all. Lin Xuan squatted down and stretched out his hand to touch the little cat, but the little cat dodged lightly and meowed. You don't know him well, so of course I won't let you touch him. But I have a plan. And Li Mengyao took out a small bag of snacks from her bag and handed it to Lin Xuan. Put the snacks in your hand and the little raccoon will come over. Li Mengyao tucked her hair behind her ears and smiled quietly. I'll try. Lin Xuan put the snack in the palm of his hand and handed it to Xiaoli. Sure enough, a little fox walked up to Lin Xuan with light steps and licked him gently with its little tongue. After a while, the snacks were licked clean, and the little fox did not forget to lick Lin Xuan's palm with his tongue. It's quite itchy. Lin Xuan gently stroked the little fox's soft fur with his hand. After feeding the little raccoon, the two of them strolled around for a while and then went back. At night, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao were lying on the bed playing with their cell phones. The two of them were now lying on the same bed naturally. Wife, I'll take you somewhere tomorrow. Lin Xuan spoke first. Where are you taking me? Li Mengyao blinked confused. This is her hometown, and I'll be the one taking you there. And Li Mengyao thought about it. Turned around and hugged Lin Xuan's waist with her little hands, pouted her lips skewly, raised her head and said proudly. Are you hiding something from me again? Yes, there is something, but it's a good thing. Lin Xuan could not hide the doting in his eyes. Go ahead. Tell me. Li Mengyao chirped in Lin Xuan's arms and rubbed her delicate little face against Lin Xuan's face. If you don't tell me, I'll ignore you. Li Mengyao raised her head again, pouted her little mouth and said proudly. Okay. I can say it, but wife, you have to give me a kiss. Lin Xuan took the opportunity to put forward conditions. And then just kiss me. Li Mengyao hesitated slightly and spoke in a low voice. Li Mengyao thought. It was just a kiss on the cheek, she wasn't that shy anymore. Lin Xuan gently lifted Li Mengyao's chin, slowly approached her tempting cherry mouth, and then kissed her mouth. Li Mengyao, isn't it a kiss on the cheek? After a long time, the two lips separated. You asked me to kiss you. Lin Xuan was extremely thick-skinned. Li Mengyao was so angry at this time that she raised her jade hand and pinched Lin Xuan's soft flesh. It hurts, wife, I was wrong. Seeing this, Lin Xuan quickly begged for mercy. Li Mengyao twisted Lin Xuan's waist hard several times before she slowly calmed down. Lin Xuan knew that his wife was no longer angry. So he hugged her again and said gently. Okay, it's getting late, we should go to bed. Li Mengyao said softly. And they fell asleep together. The next day, the two of them slept until 9 o'clock. Huang Shifang had already left breakfast and went to work. At the dinner table, Li Mengyao was enjoying her breakfast quietly. Suddenly, she recalled what happened yesterday, and her little face turned red again. Suddenly she realized a problem. Lin Xuan still didn't say where he was going yesterday. And why is Lin Xuan so skilled? Lin Xuan looked at his wife, whose face turned red again, and asked, "Wife, what's wrong with you?" Li Mengyao shook her head slightly, glared at Lin Xuan, and said angrily, "Nothing." Lin Xuan saw that Li Mengyao was angry again, and he must be thinking about yesterday. "But we are getting ready to get married. So there is nothing wrong with that." Li Mengyao slowly raised her eyelids, which had been lowered, stared into his eyes and couldn't help asking, Why are you so skilled?" Lin Xuan couldn't help but be slightly stunned. He didn't expect Li Mengyao to ask this. Boys are naturally gifted in this area, and they will learn it as they kiss each other. Li Mengyao thought of a very important thing. Her first kiss was given to Lin Xuan. But was it Lin Xuan's first kiss? You will learn it by kissing. Have you kissed many times before? If not, which girl did he give his first kiss to? Li Mengyao bit her lip in frustration and continued to ask. So is this your first kiss? Tell the truth. Lin Xuan suddenly felt a sense of crisis and hurriedly hugged Li Mengyao. What are you doing? Tell me if it is true. Li Mengyao punched Lin Xuan angrily. Lin Xuan gently scratched Li Mengyao's nose and said with a smile, Of course I did. Last night was my first kiss. Li Mengyao felt shy for a moment and subconsciously pulled up her hair to cover her slightly red cheeks, and spoke in a low voice. Oh. After breakfast, the two came to the Maybach Park downstairs. Lin Xuan helped Li Mengyao sit in the passenger seat, then drove around and returned to the driver's seat. You haven't told me where you're going yet. Li Mengyao stared at Lin Xuan with her eyes as bright as a deer. To the Garden of Time. Lin Xuan started the car and drove slowly forward. Chapter 18. This is me, my husband. The unique body of Maybach shines brightly as it races through the streets of Jingshui City, attracting the attention of people around. You should know that in Jingshui, a small fourth-tier city, a Maybach S680 worth more than 3 million yuan is rare. But too soon arrived at Times Garden. Lin Xuan parked the car and walked to the gate holding Li Mengyao's hand. The gate of Times Garden is like a magnificent arch, majestic, solemn and dignified, demonstrating dignity and elegance. Although it is not as good as the Riverview houses in big cities, this is also a high-end community. Because it is fully decorated, it costs 10,000 yuan per square meter. Husband, have you been buying random things again? Li Mengyao hesitated slightly, but still said she was not used to it. No, these are the things I should buy it. It's not considered random buying, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Do you? It's like my old house, Li Mengyao asked in a low voice with her head down. Yes, Lin Xuan's family is so well off. He must not be used to living in that old house. Now that Lin Xuan brought her to see Times Garden, he must have bought it. Lin Xuan saw what his wife was thinking, squeezed her little hand, and said gently, No, I stayed very comfortably yesterday. But this is not a long-term solution, and it will have to be replaced in the future. I don't want my future mother-in-law to climb the 8th floor every day. Besides, this place is close to my aunt's work schedule, so I don't have to squeeze on the bus every morning. Besides, we will come back often in the future, so it's just convenient to buy them together. Wang Shifang is not yet reached retirement age and is still working in a nearby shopping mall. Li Mengyao hugged Lin Xuan tightly with both hands, raised her head and looked at him, her eyes full of admiring little stars. Thank you, husband. Lin Xuan took advantage of the situation and held Li Mengyao's waist, leaned over and kissed her on the face, then smiled, cheerfully. Thank your husband with practical actions. Li Mengyao's face began to turn red, and she whispered, still outside. Okay, stop messing around. Let's go in and take a look. Then Lin Xuan picked up his phone and called the manager of Times Garden yesterday. Hello, manager. I am MRLN, who purchased room 1201, building A. Times Garden yesterday. Can I check it now? Hello, Mr. Lin. Of course. Where are you now? I'll be there right away. I'm at the gate now. Please wait a moment, I'll be there soon. After a while, a young man in a neat suit and with a confident smile trotted over. Hello, MRLN. I am the manager of Times Garden. My last name is Huang. Hello, Manager Huang. Can you take us over now? Of course, both of you, please come this way. Manager Huang dared not neglect it at all. MRLN bought the king of the building in Times Garden, and it was a mid-rise building. One of the most expensive houses in the entire community. In the end, he paid in full. Is this your first time in Times Garden? Manager Huang asked with a smile. Yes, this is our first time here. Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao looked left and right, aching in the environment of the community. The first time he came here, he bought a house worth more than 2 million. How rich is that? And let me give you a brief introduction. A reason why Times Garden is called a garden is because its greening rate is as high as 50. When you enter from the gate, you can see lush vegetation and colorful flowers, just like a gorgeous painting. The paths in the garden are winding, the plants on both sides are arranged in an orderly manner, various flowers are competing for beauty. and pavilions and towers are dotted among them, forming a beautiful landscape that makes people feel relaxed and happy. To put it simply, the community environment of our Times Garden is second to none in Jingshui City. No other community dares to claim to be first. Following Manager Huang's introduction, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao both nodded with satisfaction. We soon arrived at Building A of Times Garden. The design of the building's king block was obviously more prominent and grander than that of other buildings. And they took the elevator to the door of 1201. Manager Huang took out the key and opened the door, and Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao walked in. The house is also 200 square meters, with 4 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. The decoration is quite good and the workmanship is quite meticulous. You get what you pay for. It's expensive for a reason, but there's no furniture, and it will have to be renovated later. It seems that I will have to work for a while before I can move in. Lin Xuan held Li Mengyao's hand and came to the large balcony. The view from the king floor balcony overlooked the entire Times Garden, and the view was quite good. Wife, what do you think? Lin Xuan looked at Li Mengyao gently. It's very beautiful. It has a completely different style from the Jinwan mansion we live in Jinghe City. Li Mengyao smiled, looking very happy. Manager Huang was very happy to see that the two people in front of him were very satisfied. He had closed a big order and could get a lot of commission. If there are no problems, just sign here. Manager Huang handed Lin Xuan a sales contract. After reading it carefully, Lin Xuan signed his name. And congratulations to both of you for becoming distinguished owners of Times Garden. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. I won't bother you anymore. Manager Huang left after saying this. After Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao carefully inspected the new house again, they took the elevator downstairs together and prepared to go to the nearby shopping mall to pick up their aunt after get off work. Just as the two of them walked out of Building A of Times Garden, a crisp voice rang in their ears. Mengyao! Mengyao! It's really you, you're home. The person who came was a girl with a fresh and beautiful appearance, although she was not very stunning. Her smile was charming. Ting Ting, I didn't expect to meet you here. Li Mengyao smiled happily. Mengyao, we haven't been together for a long time. Give me a hug. Then the two of them hugged each other happily. It was then that Chen Ting discovered that there was a super handsome guy behind Li Mengyao. Mengyao, why don't you introduce yourself to me? Chen Ting squinted at Li Mengyao. Mengyao, I haven't seen you for a few months. Not only have you become more and more beautiful, but you also have such a handsome boyfriend. Wow. Li Mengyao turned around and took Lin Xuan's arm, blinked her elegant eyes gently, and said with a smile, Ting Ting, let me introduce you, this is me. My husband, Lin Xuan. Although they are not married yet, they have a child and have done everything they should and shouldn't do. So Li Mengyao simply introduced him as her husband. Chen Ting widened her eyes, finding it unbelievable after just a few months of not seeing each other. Li Mengyao was already married. Honey, this is my childhood friend, Chen Ting. Li Mengyao continued to introduce. Chen Ting quickly pulled Li Mengyao aside and said with tears in her eyes, Mengyao, tell me this isn't true. Li Mengyao was a little at a loss and blinked blankly. It's true. Chapter 19. My mom is still here. We haven't seen each other for just a few months. And you're getting married? Chen Ting asked. Not married yet, but it should be soon. Li Mengyao's face turned red. She secretly glanced at Lin Xuan and found that he was looking at her, so she quickly turned her head away. Chen Ting looked at them flirting with each other and said helplessly, Yao, you really have him in your grasp. Well, he is very nice to me. Li Mengyao nodded gently. Chen Ting smiled and said, well, as a good sister, of course I will bless you. But if Li Ji and the others knew that you were planning to get married, they would probably howl in anger tonight. Li Mengyao, don't talk nonsense. They and I have always been ordinary friends. Chen Ting waved her hand. I know. You never gave them any chances. By the way, why are you in Times Garden? Chen Ting moved to Times Garden not long ago. His parents sponsored a lot of money, and he was able to barely buy a small apartment of less than 100 square meters. Li Mengyao, we came to see the house and are ready to go back now. Chen Ting didn't think much about it and said, oh, okay, come to my house next time you have time. I tell you, the view from my house is amazing. She remembered that Li Mengyao's family situation was not very good, and it was unlikely that she could afford such an expensive community. She was probably just looking at it. Okay, we'll have plenty of opportunities to play together in the future. Li Mengyao smiled slightly. Walked quickly back to Lin Xuan's side, took his arm, and said gently, sorry for the wait. Lin Xuan pinched Li Mengyao's little face and smiled. What did you talk about? Li Mengyao shook her head and smiled happily. Nothing. Just a simple reminiscence. Okay, let's go back then. Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao and prepared to walk towards the parking lot. Suddenly a shout came from behind. MRLN, please wait a moment. I saw Manager Huang running over here quickly. After finally catching up with Lin Xuan, Manager Huang gasped for breath. Manager Huang, do you have anything else to say? Lin Xuan asked, puzzled. Lie. I forgot to give you the key to the community access control. I'm very sorry. Manager Huang handed the key to Lin Xuan while panting. I almost forgot, thank you. Lin Xuan picked up the key and left with Li Mengyao. Not far away, Chen Tingting, who had not yet left, was very puzzled when she saw Manager Huang. Isn't this the sales manager I bought the house from? But it be that Li Mengyao and her husband have already bought it? Then Chen Tingting walked up and asked, hello. Manager Huang, do you remember me? Manager Huang turned to look at Chen Tingting and said, embarrassed lie. I don't quite remember. May I ask what can I do for you? I'm Miss Chen who bought 3,201 in Building E a few months ago. Chen Tingting said angrily that before the deal was completed. She called every day to ask if I wanted to buy a house and if there were any discounts during this period, but now she doesn't recognize me. Oh, I remember now. You bought the top floor, right? Sorry, I've been having a lot of clients lately, so I can't remember it right now. What do you want to talk to me about? Asked Manager Huang. Chen Tingting. I want to ask if those two people just now also bought Times Garden. Manager Huang. Yes, they are the distinguished guests of Times Garden. They bought the 12th floor of Building A, the king of buildings, and they paid in full. Chen Tingting widened her eyes in shock. The best apartments in the building were all large 200 square meter apartments, mid-rise buildings, and cost more than 2 million yuan. Looking back at my own life, I had no choice but to choose the top floor because of lack of funds. Thus now she was so proud to invite Li Mengyao to her house, how embarrassing. But she was also really happy for Mengyao, as it seemed she had met the right person. Then Chen Tingting took out her phone and said in a group chat, I just met your goddess but she seems to be getting married. So you don't have a chance, laughing expression. This isn't true, tell me it isn't true. Whoever kidnapped my goddess, I will beat him up. Aren't you planning to get married? I still have a chance. Dog head expression. On the other side, Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao to the supermarket to buy some vegetables, and then came to Heping Shopping Mall. Huang Shifang worked at Heping Shopping Mall and it was time for him to get off work. People in the mall would see a black and slender Maybach parked at the door after get off work call, though some people didn't know how much it cost. They could tell at a glance that it was a luxury car and must be very expensive. At this time, Huang Shifang and her colleague Chen Li were getting off work and preparing to take the bus home. The two of them walked and talked. And Chen Li began to set her sights on Huang Shifang's daughter. Shifang, do you want to reconsider? My boy works in a state-owned enterprise, and his salary and benefits are quite good. No need, Chen Li, my daughter already has a boyfriend. Huang Shifang declined tactfully. When did it happen? What job does your daughter's boyfriend do? Chen Li was a little surprised. He hasn't graduated yet. Huang Shifang didn't want to reveal too much. Not graduated yet? That means you don't have a job yet. Let me tell you, it's hard to find a job nowadays. Look, my son works in a state-owned enterprise, and every year many people rush to get a job, Chen Li boasted. Huang Shifang thought about how Chen Li's son always acted arrogantly and looked down on others. She also heard that he was very unfaithful and changed girlfriends frequently. How could she possibly give her daughter to such a man? As when Huang Shifang came out to wait for the bus, a dark and slender Maybach stopped in front of them. Mom, I'm here to take you home. Li Mengyao stuck her head out and smiled brightly. Yao Yao. Is this your car? Huang Shifang asked in shock. Although she doesn't know much about cars, she can still roughly tell the difference between ordinary cars and luxury cars. Auntie, get in the car, we have already bought the food for lunch. I'll show my skills to Auntie when I get back, Lin Xuan said with a smile. At this time, Li Mengyao also discovered Chen Li next to her and asked happily, Aunt Chen, are you going back too? Let us take you back. No need. My son will come to pick me up later, you guys go back first. Chen Li smiled awkwardly. This is my son-in-law. I'll go back first. Huang Shifang turned around and said something to Chen Li, then sat in the back seat of the Maybach. Chen Li sat down on the next bus in a depressed mood. In the Maybach, Huang Shifang hesitated and couldn't help asking, Lin Xuan, is this the car you bought? Yes, Aunt, I just bought it not long ago. It is convenient for taking Mengyao out. Lin Xuan drove steadily. Buying such an expensive car to travel, and Xuan's family must be very rich. Will the in-laws be difficult to talk to? Will they dislike our family? Mom, doesn't Aunt Chen's son never pick her up from get off work? Li Mengyao asked curiously. Yeah, she's just being stubborn. Her son won't come to pick her up at all. She always pestered me to introduce her son to you. I told her that I already had a son-in-law. Now that she has seen it with her own eyes, she should give up. Huang Shifang came back to her senses. Lin Xuan smiled and said, it seems that my wife is still very popular. I have to keep a close eye on her. Li Mengyao's face instantly turned red. She glared at Lin Xuan and whispered, my mom is still here. Huang Shifang covered her mouth and laughed in the back seat. Chapter 20. Morning sickness. After returning home, Lin Xuan went to the kitchen and started cooking. Huang Shifang tried to help many times but was rejected, so she had to watch Evie in the living room with her daughter. After a while, Lin Xuan prepared a table of dishes, including steamed turbot, mushroom and scallop soup, stir-fried beef with green onions and garlic, steamed spare ribs and stir-fried broccoli. Because Li Mengyao loves fish, there is always a fish dish at every meal. Lin Xuan always cooked for Li Mengyao in different ways, and Li Mengyao's face was filled with a happy smile. Dinner is ready, Lin Xuan shouted. Lin Xuan, you cook so many dishes, Huang Shifang said with a smile. Not much. Just 4 dishes and 1 soup Annie, come and try my cooking. After saying that, Lin Xuan first picked up a large piece of fish for Li Mengyao, and then gave Huang Shifang a large piece of beef. Huang Shifang felt more reassured about Lin Xuan when she saw how well her future son-in-law took care of Yao Yao. This is better than many famous restaurants in Jingshui City. Lin Xuan, who did you learn this cooking skill from? It's so delicious. Huang Shifang was shocked and exclaimed. I used to cook when I had nothing to do at home. If it tastes good, eat more. Lin Xuan smiled. After a while, Lin Xuan saw that he had almost finished eating, so he said, Auntie, I bought a new house in Times Garden. We'll move in together after the renovation is completed. Huang Shifang's heart skipped a beat. And he said in disbelief, Lin Xuan, are you serious? Lin Xuan nodded seriously. Huang Shifang was silent for a moment, thinking that the house in Times Garden was not cheap. And even if Lin Xuan had money, he couldn't spend it carelessly. And he said to Lin Xuan, how much will that cost? This house is a bit old, but it's still habitable. Lin Xuan, listen to Auntie and return the house. Lin Xuan said in a firm tone. It's okay. Auntie, just leave the old house as it is. Times Garden is very close to your workplace, so you don't have to climb up to the 8th floor anymore. And he looked at Li Mengyao. Besides, Mengyao and I will come back often in the future. And the baby will be able to play in the neighborhood of Times Garden. Huang Shifang thought about it and finally agreed. They decided to move to Times Garden together after a while. After lunch, Lin Xuan wanted to clean up the dishes, but Huang Shifang snatched them away. With nothing to do, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao returned to the bedroom early. Lin Xuan hugged Li Mengyao with one arm and played with her hair with the other. Honey, what kind of decoration style do you want for the new house? Li Mengyao raised her beautiful eyebrows and said, the new Chinese style. A one in Jinwan mansion is already a new minimalist style. Let's try a different one this time. As he said this, he showed Lin Xuan the pictures he found on his phone. Okay, let's go check out the decoration companies and furniture stores in Jingshui City this afternoon. Okay. Li Mengyao's eyes were full of bright light. And she was as happy as a little child. She soon fell asleep holding Lin Xuan. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Xuan got up and looked at Li Mengyao, who was still sleeping in his arms. I couldn't bear to wake up this sleeping beauty, so I tiptoed out of the room. After a simple tidying up, Huang Shifang was seen walking out of the room and preparing to go to work. Auntie, let me take you to work. I just happened to be visiting a decoration company. Lin Xuan said with a smile. This is too troublesome. It's no trouble. I'm just sitting around doing nothing anyway. Afterwards, after Lin Xuan drove his Maybach to send Huang Shifang to Heping Shopping Mall, he went to visit some famous decoration companies in Jingshui City. I don't know how long it took, but Li Mengyao's little hands kept touching around the bed, as if she was looking for something. Where's my husband? A little hand turned around but couldn't find anything, which meant that Lin Xuan was no longer in the room. Li Mengyao rubbed her eyes gently, got up with difficulty, and walked out of the room. I searched the whole house but couldn't find Lin Xuan. Li Mengyao thought about it and took out her cell phone. Husband, where are you? Then the bear made an angry expression. 5 minutes later. Wife, are you awake? After seeing this, Li Mengyao directly made a video call. She didn't do it before because she was afraid that Lin Xuan was driving and it would be difficult to answer the video call. Soon, Lin Xuan's handsome face appeared on Li Mengyao's mobile phone screen. Why didn't you wake me up? We agreed to go together. Although her tone was calm, the expression between her eyebrows fully demonstrated that she was a little unhappy. I saw you were sleeping so soundly that I didn't call you. I've looked at several companies. I'll bring you the plans and renderings when the time comes. You can rest at home. Lin Xuan smiled and quickly started to make fun of him. Then you should come back soon. Lin Xuan was also thinking about her, so he stopped acting like a spoiled brat. I just checked the time and I slept until almost 5 o'clock. I sleep too much. I may not be able to get up even if Lin Xuan calls me. Okay. My dear wife, I'll be back after I pick up my aunt. And Li Mengyao hung up the phone. Her face read, a wife is a wife, why add adults? Lin Xuan has been working hard all afternoon and should be hungry when he comes back. Let me cook dinner today, and let Lin Xuan taste my cooking skills. Then Li Mengyao found the ingredients. She bought at noon from the refrigerator and started to get busy in the kitchen. I didn't feel anything unusual at first, but halfway through, I suddenly felt nauseous. Li Mengyao covered her mouth, hurried to the toilet, and began to vomit violently. After vomiting for an unknown amount of time, Li Mengyao came out of the bathroom with a pale face. She picked up a small cup of water, drank some hot water, and sat on the sofa in a daze before she gradually came to her senses. I didn't expect my first morning sickness to be like this. Afterwards, the door was opened and Lin Juan and Huang Shifang came back. I'm back. Lin Juan smiled happily. Li Mengyao hurriedly stood up, walked quickly forward, threw herself into Lin Juan's arms, and said in a hoarse voice, "Welcome home." Lin Juan felt something was wrong as soon as he heard it. The voice sounded like someone who had been crying. He looked at his wife in his arms, and saw that her eyes were red with faint traces of tears and her lips were quite dry. "Wife, what's wrong with you?" "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left you alone at home. I won't do that again next time." Lin Juan picked up Li Mengyao and gently placed her on the sofa. "No, I was just trying to make you dinner. But halfway through, I felt really sick and vomited." Li Mengyao rubbed gently in Lin Juan's arms and said in a soft voice. Huang Shifang looked at the two of them, knowing that she was now redundant, and said to Lin Juan, "Lin Juan, I'm going to make dinner first, you take care of Yao Yao." Lin Juan nodded to Huang Shifang. "Okay, auntie?" Lin Juan turned around and gently wiped away Li Mengyao's tears with a tissue. He felt distressed when he thought of Li Mengyao vomiting violently in the toilet. The first 3 months are the most common period for pregnant women to experience morning sickness. Lin Juan had always given Li Mengyao small but frequent meals and refused to let her into the kitchen, in order to avoid morning sickness as much as possible. However, it still happened. "Don't go into the kitchen anymore, leave all the housework to your husband, okay?" Li Mengyao leaned in Lin Yizhuan's arms. The intense discomfort she had just felt disappeared, and she revealed a happy smile. Chapter 21. I can't finish eating. After dinner, Lin Juan and Li Mengyao went for a walk by the river. Jingshui River is the mother river of Jingshui City. So the residents of Jingshui City will come to the river for a walk at night. Because Li Mengyao's home was far from the river, Lin Juan and Li Mengyao drove there in a Maybach. When they arrived at the river, Lin Juan parked the car, took Li Mengyao's hand, and the two walked along the river together. The banks of Jingshui River are bustling with people, and everyone coming and going has a smile on their face. The river water ripples under the light, and it complements the neon lights on the shore, full of life. Life here is really comfortable. Lin Juan admired the night view of Jingshui River inside. "Yes, I like this small fourth-tier city very much. There is no hustle and bustle of first-tier cities, only a leisurely life and a peaceful atmosphere." Li Mengyao smiled sweetly at Lin Juan. "We can always come back after the house in Times Garden is renovated." Lin Juan pinched Li Mengyao's little hand and said with a smile, "Well, I used to come here to play when I was a kid. I remember there was a kind old man selling candied haws here. They used to give me a candied haws on a small bamboo stick." Li Mengyao kept recalling her childhood, and Lin Juan listened quietly beside her. Strolling along the river, they soon passed an ice cream shop. This is an internet-famous store in Jingshui City because the ice cream they make tastes delicious. There are many people queuing up every night. "Honey, do you want some ice cream?" Li Mengyao looked at the ice cream in the store. Her stomach growled and her face turned red. "I want to." Because Li Mengyao had morning sickness in the afternoon, she had no appetite for dinner and didn't eat much. "Now I'm out for a walk, I'll get hungry soon." Lin Juan took Li Mengyao to the ice cream shop because there were still a lot of people queuing. Lin Juan took Li Mengyao to an empty seat. "Honey, please take a seat first, I'll go line up to buy. What flavor do you want?" Li Mengyao took Lin Juan's hand and shook it gently, saying with a smile, "I want strawberry flavor." "Thank you for your hard work, husband." Lin Juan took Li Mengyao's little hand and gave her a kiss on the back of her hand. It smelled sweet. "Good." Li Mengyao quickly pulled her hand back. Her face flushed. How could this guy be so shameless as to kiss her in public? Lin Juan smiled and started queuing up at the back. Seeing that the line was still very long, Li Mengyao picked up her phone and started watching videos. "Uxin. My big Yao Yao, where are you now? I'm here to play with you." Li Mengyao. "I'm in Jingshui City, do you want to come?" "Uxin, why did you come home suddenly?" Li Mengyao. "Take my husband home." "Uxin, are you calling me hubby now? You're not married yet." Li Mengyao. "Almost." "Uxin. So auntie has agreed? Didn't break his legs?" Li Mengyao. "Don't talk nonsense. My mother has already agreed." "Uxin. Girls are useless when they grow up. You are just a freeloader." "Okay, you are gone and I will play by myself. I won't eat your dog food." Li Mengyao replied with a little bear nodding emoticon. Just after finishing chatting with Liu Uxin, a boy sat opposite Li Mengyao. The boy was quite handsome, dressed neatly, and had the fluffy Korean hairstyle that was very fashionable recently. He smiled and chatted with Li Mengyao. "Hello, beautiful lady. Can you add me your contact information? Li Mengyao took a look and said politely. Excuse me, I have a husband. The boy saw that Li Mengyao still looked like a student, and there was no so-called husband next to her, so he guessed that it must be made up. We are very compatible, so we just added each other's contact information. Seeing that he was still not giving in, Li Mengyao said with cold eyes. Please stop bothering me, I told you I have. Didn't she say she had a husband? I do? Lin Chuan rushed over at this time, staring fiercely at the man who was flirting with his wife. Li Mengyao immediately took Lin Chuan's hand and hid behind him. A boy looked at the person in front of him who was taller and more handsome than him, and knowing that he couldn't compete with him, he walked away dejectedly. Honey, next time you meet someone who's trying to flirt with you, just call me and I'll come right over. Lin Chuan smiled and handed the extra-large strawberry sundae in his hand to Li Mengyao. Well, why did you only buy one? And there are so many, I can't finish them. Li Mengyao nodded and smiled sweetly. Eat slowly. Lin Chuan touched Li Mengyao's little head, then held her hand and continued walking along the river. Li Mengyao looked at the extra-large strawberry sundae in front of her, thought about it, and took out her mobile phone to take a picture and send it to her good friend Liu Uxin. Uxin. Li Mengyao, it's delicious. Uxin. Yao, please behave yourself. When Uxin had a boyfriend in college, she showed her love to Li Mengyao every day and kept encouraging Li Mengyao to find one. Now that they have broken up, it is Li Mengyao's turn to show her love to Liu Uxin. Li Mengyao adjusted her hair and raised the corners of her mouth slightly. Lin Chuan saw his wife grinning at her phone and asked curiously, "What's so funny?" Li Mengyao came back to her senses and looked at Lin Chuan with an innocent face. "No, nothing. I can't finish it." Li Mengyao looked at the strawberry sundae that she had eaten half of and looked very embarrassed. "Then give it to your husband, I'll take care of it." Lin Chuan smiled gently. "Did you want to eat my?" Li Mengyao, realizing Lin Chuan's plan, was too embarrassed to continue speaking. She could only glare at Lin Chuan and handed the strawberry sundae in her hand to Lin Chuan. After Lin Chuan got it, he started eating it in big mouthfuls and swallowed it in no time. The two continued walking along the river, and soon Li Mengyao felt a little tired. "Honey, I'm a little sleepy. Let's go back." Li Mengyao pulled Lin Chuan's little hand. "Okay, let's go back the same way." Just as the two were about to go back, an old man was guarding his candied haws stall on the bustling street, waiting for customers with a smile on his face. "That's the grandfather who often gave me candied haws when I was a child," Li Mengyao said excitedly. "And let's go buy a bunch of candied haws. I think he only has one string left, so let the old man close the stall early." Lin Chuan looked at Li Mengyao gently. Lin Chuan walked forward holding Li Mengyao's hand. "Grandpa, how much do you sell this candied haws?" Lin Chuan could feel that Li Mengyao was very happy. $3 a string. I want a bunch. Grandpa, do you still remember me? Li Mengyao smiled and looked very happy. The grandfather selling candied haws looked up at the girl in front of him. He felt that she was familiar and suddenly remembered her. "Are you the little girl who often ate my candied haws when we were little?" Chapter 20 To the babies will grow up quickly. It's me. I didn't expect Grandpa still remembered me." Li Mengyao's eyes were curved with joy. "How could I not remember? When I was little, many kids gathered around me to buy candied haws. You just stood not far away and drooled at the sight." Grandpa Tang Hulu smiled kindly. But his brows narrowed into slits at the corners of his eyes. Li Mengyao said a little embarrassed lie, "I was just greedy." Grandpa Tang Hulu. "So I always leave a candied haws for you. Hey, I'll give you the last bunch of strawberry candied haws, because most candied haws are made from hawthorn. And pregnant women should try not to eat hawthorn-based foods as they will have adverse effects on the body. But if it is candied haws made from fruit, such as the strawberry candied haws in front of you, pregnant women can eat it." Li Mengyao waved her hands quickly. No, let's buy it." Lin Chuan took out his mobile phone and scanned the code. "Yes, Grandpa, we will buy it. Thank you for taking care of her when she was a child." Grandpa Tang Hulu looked at the two people holding hands tightly and smiled with satisfaction. "I just thought you were a pitiful girl. You looked especially cute with two braids on your head. It reminded me of my own granddaughter. Here, your candied haws." As he said this, he handed the last string of candied haws to Li Mengyao. "Thank you, Grandpa." Li Mengyao was as happy as a little child, smiling from ear to ear. When Lin Chuan left, he secretly left 100 yuan for Tang Hulu Grandpa to thank him for taking care of Li Mengyao. Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao continued to return the same way. On the way, Li Mengyao ate candied haws while holding Lin Yixuan's hand, swinging it up and down, as if they were back in their childhood. "Wife, is it delicious?" Lin Chuan smiled. "It's delicious. It still tastes like when I was a kid. It hasn't changed at all." Li Mengyao nodded happily, then looked up blankly and asked Lin Chuan, "Do you want to eat?" Lin Chuan looked at the candied haws that Li Mengyao handed to him and smiled. "I just ate, you eat." Oh. Li Mengyao continued to taste her candied haws, which were sour and sweet and full of flavor. There's only one left, are you sure you don't want to eat it? Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan and blinked her elegant eyes gently. No. Lin Xuan said in a firm tone, and kept looking at Li Mengyao's tempting cherry lips. Li Mengyao always felt that Lin Xuan had bad intentions, but she was too naive to think of anything and just decided not to eat. Then he stuffed the last candied haws into his mouth after holding it for a while. His cheeks were about to up when Lin Xuan suddenly spoke with a smile. Wife, I want to eat candied haws now. There are no more. Li Mengyao looked at the gourd skewer in her hand, and shook her pretty head and said, Isn't there another one? There's another one, there's another one in my mouth. Li Mengyao suddenly realized something and quickly reached out to cover her mouth. You can't, man. But someone got there first. Lin Xuan put one arm around Li Mengyao and held her in his arms with the other hand. He lifted Li Mengyao's chin and leaned over to kiss her seductive lips. This caused Li Mengyao to push hard. She looked around and luckily there was no one around. Then she looked at Lin Xuan angrily. Why did you steal my candied haws? I like to eat sweet candied haws. Lin Xuan said shamelessly. Li Mengyao was so angry that she raised her hand to twist Lin Xuan's waist. It hurts, stop twisting it. I already have several scars on my waist. Lin Xuan, who was smiling playfully in the last second, turned into a ferocious look in the next. Snort. Li Mengyao pouted and turned her little face slightly away from Lin Xuan. Okay, wife. I know I was wrong, let's go back quickly, Lin Xuan coaxed. Every time you say you know you're wrong, you do the same thing next time. Li Mengyao scolded angrily and continued not to look at Lin Xuan directly. This girl wouldn't be really angry, right? Lin Xuan suddenly felt that the candied haws in his mouth were no longer sweet. After a while, Li Mengyao turned around and looked at the bewildered idiot Lin Xuan, and burst out laughing. Are you scared? Li Mengyao gently patted Lin Xuan with her little hand. I'm scared. Wife, Lin Xuan also smiled. Next time, don't suddenly. Okay, we can kiss each other again when we get home. Li Mengyao stared at him with her bright eyes like a deer and spoke softly. Okay. Lin Xuan agreed readily without any hesitation. The two finally returned to the parking place after Lin Xuan sent Li Mengyao to the passenger seat. He returned to the driver's seat, started the car, and drove towards home. In the car, Li Mengyao looked at her little belly and asked Lin Xuan, Honey, do you think this is a boy or a girl? Is it possible that there is one boy and one girl? Lin Xuan replied with a smile while driving steadily. How can we be so lucky to have twins, a boy and a girl, all at once? Li Mengyao raised her beautiful eyebrows and smiled happily. It's almost 3 months, the baby needs to grow up quickly. Li Mengyao gently stroked her soft belly. Wife, I want to touch it too. Lin Xuan glanced and said enviously. Let's talk about it when we get home. Doctors, carefully and don't look around. Soon, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao returned downstairs to their home. After Lin Xuan parked the car, he took Li Mengyao's hand and prepared to go home. Li Mengyao looked at who was standing at the door of her house, holding a bouquet of flowers. When she got closer, she saw that it was Li Ji. Li Ji was the class monitor of Li Mengyao's high school and had been pursuing Li Mengyao, but Li Mengyao didn't like him and had clearly rejected him several times. However, Li Ji felt that since Li Mengyao didn't have a boyfriend, he had a chance, so he kept pestering her. Later, Li Mengyao simply ignored him. When Li Ji saw Li Mengyao holding a man's hand and getting out of a luxury Maybach, his fists clenched. But he still tried to keep smiling. It seems that what Chen Tingting said is true. Li Mengyao really has a boyfriend. Mengyao, I heard you were back, why didn't you tell me? These flowers are for you. Li Ji handed the flowers to Li Mengyao with a smile, completely ignoring Lin Xuan. Li Mengyao frowned when she saw that it was Li Ji. Li Ji, why are you here at my doorstep? I've said before that we're not suitable, please give the flowers to someone else, thank you. After saying that, he was about to hold Lin Xuan's hand and prepare to go home. Unexpectedly, Li Ji blocked Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao again and shouted anxiously. Mengyao, can't you give me a chance? I have been hired by a well-known company in Jingshui City. My parents are both working. We will have a good life in Jingshui City in the future. Li Mengyao's eyes were cold and she interrupted angrily. I'll say it again, there's no chance for us, and I already have a husband. Get out of the way. It was the first time that Lin Xuan saw Li Mengyao so angry looking at Li Ji, who was still not giving in. He clenched his fists. But it hurts. Li Ji wanted to explain, but Lin Xuan reached out and grabbed Li Ji's arm and twisted it hard to hold him down. After receiving the first reward from the system to enhance his physical fitness, Lin Xuan's strength has far exceeded that of ordinary people. I've made it very clear, if you dare to harass my wife again, I won't be so polite next time, get lost. Then Lin Xuan kicked Li Ji's butt hard, and Li Ji fell flat on his face. Chapter 23 Husband, you are the best. Li Ji got up in a panic, his face grim, and he watched Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao leave with gritted teeth. You will not give up easily. He has been pursuing it for so many years and has become obsessed with it. Then he limped away. After Lin Juan and Li Mengyao returned. As it was already late, they quickly washed up and lay down on the bed. Li Mengyao was quietly looking at her phone, while Lin Juan was staring at his wife in a daze. Li Mengyao quickly noticed something unusual, put down her phone, turned around, hugged Lin Juan, and raised her head. "Honey, what are you thinking about? You keep staring at me." Although they haven't gotten married yet, it feels natural for Li Mengyao to call him husband now. It's just a matter of time anyway. Lin Juan came back to his senses, stretched out his arms and hugged Li Mengyao tightly, saying gently, "I was wondering why my wife is so popular. The aunt's son this morning, a boy in the ice cream shop in the evening, and the man downstairs just now. 3 people wanted to steal my wife in just one day. It's infuriating just thinking about it." Li Mengyao was a little helpless but couldn't hide her gentle smile. "Is that why you did this? This is out of my control? They insisted on coming up to me. And there was nothing I could do." Lin Juan smiled and lowered his head, touching his forehead with hers, showing his signature smile. "And I'll have to keep a closer eye on it next time." Sure enough, a barrage of kisses followed, first on her forehead, then moving to the tip of her nose, and finally stopping on her lips. Lin Juan and Li Mengyao continued to stay in Jingshui City for a few more days. After arranging the decoration and furniture placement of Tian's garden, they prepared to set off back to Jingha City today. The 3 of them went downstairs. Huang Shifang looked at Lin Juan taking such good care of his daughter, smiled with relief, and handed the household registration book in her hand to Li Mengyao. "Yao Yao, take this household registration booklet and remember to come back often." Li Mengyao stared blankly at the household registration booklet in her hands. He realized what her mother meant and her eyes felt sore. Seeing this, Lin Juan took Li Mengyao's hand and said in a firm tone, "Auntie, don't worry, we will come back often." Ripples appeared on Li Mengyao's face. "Yeah Mom, we will definitely come back often." Wang Shifang's eyes also turned slightly red. And she spoke gently, "Mom knows, be careful on the road." After Lin Juan helped Li Mengyao sit firmly in the back seat, he walked into the driver's seat, started the Maybach, and slowly left. Wang Shifang could no longer hold back her tears. Her daughter, who had depended on her for more than 10 years, was now getting married. In the Maybach car, Li Mengyao was also crying with red eyes. Lin Juan was driving quietly in front, knowing the hardship of the mother and daughter. He did not go out of his way to comfort them and gave them some time. Soon, 4 hours passed. The dark and slender Maybach drove into the parking lot of Jinwan Mansion again. After Lin Juan parked the car steadily, he walked out of the door and went to the back seat. Not long after Li Mengyao got on the car, she fell asleep while crying. Now she is sleeping quietly like a cute little girl. Lin Juan gently picked up Li Mengyao and slowly walked towards the elevator. Soon the beauty in his arms woke up, and their eyes met, looking at Lin Juan in a daze. "Awake," Lin Juan said with a doting look in his eyes. "Hurry. Put me down." Li Mengyao's pretty face turned red. "We're still outside. It would be embarrassing if someone saw us." "It's okay, there's no one here." As he spoke, Lin Juan walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the 16th floor. The elevator rose slowly and suddenly stopped at the first floor. The elevator door opened and an old lady and an old man came in. The old lady looked at the 2 of them with a smile on her face. At this time, Li Mengyao was so embarrassed that she buried her head in Lin Juan's chest and used her little hands to pull her hair up to cover her red face. Finally made it to the 16th floor. The elevator was particularly slow today. After getting out of the elevator, Li Mengyao struggled to get down quickly, and Lin Juan also slowly let her go. Li Mengyao angrily hit the still smiling Lin Juan with her little hand, but she didn't dare to use too much force, as she would feel bad if she hurt herself. The 2 finally returned to their home in Jinwan Prefecture. As soon as Lin Juan returned home, he started cleaning. Li Mengyao also joined in and did what she could. Originally Lin Juan disagreed and wanted her to rest, but Li Mengyao insisted on joining together, otherwise she would not let Lin Juan kiss her tonight. This is simply a trump card for Lin Juan. He has no choice but to let Li Mengyao do some of the light work. It is not tiring for men and women to work together, and the house is soon cleaned up. In the past few days since returning, Li Mengyao has been preparing for her graduation thesis defense. The 2 are still senior students and must pass the graduation defense with their university advisor before they can officially graduate. On the other hand, Lin Juan acted as if nothing had happened, playing here and there. At night, Lin Juan was staring at his 200-inch big screen in the hall, watching a movie with great interest. Li Mengyao walked out of the room, hugged Lin Juan, rested her chin on his shoulder, and asked curiously, "Hubby, you don't have to prepare for your graduation defense." Lin Juan looked at his lovely wife in his arms and couldn't help but lean over and kiss her soft face. "Your husband is not talented, but because he performed so well before, he has been exempted from the graduation defense and can graduate directly." Li Mengyao puffed up her cheeks and complained, "Why is this happening? Lin Xuan couldn't stop smiling. Your husband is very good, don't you know that? Li Mengyao hooked her small hands around Lin Xuan's neck and gently bit his face. I know. Husband, you are the best. After saying that, he quickly distanced himself from the others and ran back to the room with his legs clattering. Lin Xuan touched the faintly visible tooth marks on his face, and the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Chapter 24. You have been laughing and never stopped. The day of graduation defense soon arrived. The sun was shining and the air was fresh. Li Mengyao's graduation defense was scheduled for the afternoon in order to be in a good state. She took a nap after lunch. After a short nap, she got up early and began to dress herself up carefully. She was wearing a snow-white shirt with the collar slightly open, revealing her slender neck and delicate collarbone. She wore a black lawn skirt on her lower body, the hem of which swayed gently with her steps, like a dancing butterfly. Her shiny black hair falls on her shoulders like a waterfall, exuding a faint fragrance. Li Mengyao walked up to Lin Xuan, turned around lightly, and asked with a bright smile on her face, "Honey, does this look good?" Lin Xuan couldn't help but go forward and hug Li Mengyao, sniffing the charming fragrance emanating from her body. He whispered, "It looks good. My wife looks good in anything she wears." Li Mengyao angrily scolded, "Smooth talk. Okay, let's go." Lin Xuan showed his signature smile again. "Can I come in and watch you defend your graduation thesis?" Li Mengyao hurriedly shook her head and said firmly, "No, I'd get nervous." "Okay, stop messing around, we're going to be late." Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao walked out of the room and came to the parking lot of Jinwan Mansion. Lin Xuan still chose to drive his Xiao He the name Lin Xuan gave to the Maybach. After a while, Lin Xuan drove the Maybach to the school parking lot. Because Li Mengyao was majoring in Chinese language and literature, Lin Xuan took Li Mengyao's hand and came to the teaching building of the School of Arts, found the corresponding classroom, and looked inside. There were 5 tutors sitting in the first row, and the back was filled with flustered students. Lin Xuan said to Li Mengyao gently, "Go ahead, don't be nervous. I'll wait for you at the door." In fact, with Li Mengyao's 4 years of hard work in college, she had basically no pressure in dealing with this graduation thesis defense. But she was more or less nervous when facing 5 mentors picking on her. Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan with a red face. "Well, kiss me. I won't be nervous anymore." Lin Xuan was also stunned. Why was his wife so proactive today? Then he hugged Li Mengyao and kissed her gently on the forehead. "Go ahead." Li Mengyao smiled and walked into the classroom happily. Do you really think Lin Xuan would be so honest? He had never seen Li Mengyao giving a speech in the classroom. And Lin Xuan showed his signature smile again. Lin Xuan returned to the parking lot and took out a black hat from Maybach. After putting on his hat, Lin Xuan returned to the room where Li Mengyao was holding her graduation defense. He sneaked into the classroom from the back door and sat in the last row. It was difficult to notice him without careful observation. I saw Li Mengyao in front of me, still closing her eyes to relax. Lin Xuan picked up his phone and started taking photos. If he missed this opportunity, it would be gone. It was his fault that he met Li Mengyao in his last year of college. After an unknown amount of time, Li Mengyao finally walked up to the podium. Unlike her usual weakness, Li Mengyao was quite confident on the podium. Her language was fluent and well organized, and her beautiful face was filled with a confident smile. With her bright Chinese language and cultural background and excellent expression skills, she won high praise from the instructors present. Lin Xuan quickly took out his cell phone and took pictures. As expected of a school beauty, she is beautiful and outstanding in her studies. Yeah, but I heard that the school beauty seems to have a boyfriend. Oh my god, which freshman snatched our school beauty away? It seems to be from our school. Lin Xuan heard a few boys next to him discussing and they were all smiling. Hey, classmate, what are you laughing at? The boy next to him asked curiously. Did I laugh? Lin Xuan said with a smile. You've been laughing all the time and never stopped, said another boy. I thought of something happy. Lin Xuan raised the corners of his mouth. What's so funny? Tell me about it. At this time, Li Mengyao had completed her graduation defense and returned to her seat to pack her things. Seeing that his wife was about to come out, Lin Xuan quickly ran away. Classmates, I have something to do and I'm leaving first. Come on guys. After saying that, he sneaked out of the classroom through the back door. This person doesn't seem to be from our college. Strange. Several people continued to discuss. Lin Xuan walked out of the classroom, looked at his phone as if nothing had happened, and stood at the door waiting for Li Mengyao. His handsome figure is as straight as a pine tree, and his handsome face with a smile attracts the attention of the girls around him. Finally, a girl couldn't help but come forward. Hello classmate. Can you add me to your contact information so we can get to know each other? This female classmate has a sweet appearance, a petite figure, and a charming smile, which makes it easy for people to like her. Sorry, I already have. Lin Xuan just opened his mouth to refuse. Suddenly, a figure appeared beside them. Li Mengyao held Lin Xuan's hand, her eyes slightly colder. Sorry classmate, he already has a girlfriend. When the female classmates saw that it was the school bell, they felt overshadowed by the comparison and left in shame. Wife, did your graduation defense go well? Lin Xuan said with a smile. It wasn't going well. I saw you with another girl when I came out. Li Mengyao's face fell, and she looked unhappy. It's unfair. My dear wife, I just arrived at the classroom door not long ago, Lin Xuan quickly protested. Who knows you? Li Mengyao pouted, looking serious. I have a way to prove my innocence, Lin Xuan said seriously. What method? Li Mengyao of course saw that the girl went to talk to Lin Xuan first, but she still wanted to tease him. Lin Xuan took out his cell phone and found the photos of Li Mengyao he had just taken in the classroom. Li Mengyao in the photo is beautiful and exudes an elegant temperament. You were peeking again. Li Mengyao then realized that Lin Xuan had been wearing a black hat, which looked quite handsome. But she was still angry, so she stretched out her little hand and touched Lin Xuan's waist. Lin Xuan took the opportunity to hug Li Mengyao and let her pinch him, since he had thick skin anyway. I just want to see you in class and experience what it's like to take classes with you. I won't have the chance to do that again. Lin Xuan continued gently. After the graduation defense, there will be the graduation ceremony, and generally you will not come back to class. Okay, then send me the photos. Li Mengyao's cheeks turned red, she spoke softly and raised her head slightly. Good. Lin Xuan sent the picture to Li Mengyao, and also sent it to a group chat of a loving family. Shang Shelan, my daughter-in-law is so beautiful. Lin's Ngguo, you are indeed my son, your vision is the same as mine when I was young. Lin Cici. This is my sister-in-law? Shang Shelan, Cici, you're playing with your phone at school? You're so rebellious. Lin Cici, sorry, I sent this to the wrong person. I'm not Cici. Lin Xuan, speechless expression. At this time, several boys who had just been discussing next to Lin Xuan also came out of the classroom seeing the school beauty being hugged by a handsome boy. They gritted their teeth. It seems that the news that the school beauty already has a boyfriend is true. Wait, no. Isn't he the boy who was smiling next to us just now? Damn it, no wonder you're always giggling. Chapter 25. That's not my boyfriend, that's my husband. You just said you wanted to experience what it's like to take classes with me, right? Li Mengyao rolled her eyes, tilted her head and smiled sweetly. Yes, Lin Xuan said. And let's go to the school cafeteria for dinner. You and I have never eaten together at school. Li Mengyao raised her beautiful eyebrows and raised her head proudly. No, it's not clean outside. Lin Xuan shook his head. Oh, it's just once. Besides, the school should be clean compared to the outside. Li Mengyao continued to act coquettously. Lin Xuan was still frowning and hesitating. Li Mengyao took Lin Xuan's hand and started walking towards the cafeteria. Come on, I'm hungry. If you don't leave, I'll go alone. Lin Xuan had no choice but to agree. Soon, the two arrived at the Meiyuan canteen, which had the best reputation in the school. It was already time for dinner, and students from Jinghe University came to the cafeteria one after another to eat. Auntie, I want to order scrambled eggs with tomatoes, braised fish, broccoli with shrimp, and fried chicken legs. Auntie? Please stop shaking your hands. This is the last time we'll come to the cafeteria to eat at the university. Li Mengyao was as happy as a little child, speaking with a smile. Okay, Auntie will give you more. Auntie gave Li Mengyao a larger amount than usual. And Lin Xuan ordered a few dishes at random, and the two of them went to a corner of the cafeteria and started eating. This is delicious. I used to come to Meiyuan to eat it often. As she spoke, Li Mengyao put half of the braised fish and a fried chicken leg into Lin Xuan's bowl. No wonder I hardly saw you in college. Lin Xuan's dormitory and classes are both on the south side of the school, and he also eats in the bamboo garden in the south. Li Mengyao's is just the opposite, on the north side, and the plum garden is the cafeteria in the north of the school. Jinghe University covers a large area. And Lin Xuan is a lazy person who would never go to the north of the school unless he has nothing better to do. But I've seen you, Li Mengyao said in a low voice. What did you say, wife? Because there were more and more people in the cafeteria, Li Mengyao spoke very quietly, so I couldn't hear clearly. Nothing, come, have a bite. Li Mengyao picked up a shrimp and handed it to Lin Xuan's mouth, who swallowed it in one gulp. Lin Xuan also picked up a piece of braised pork and gave it to Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao ate it in small bites, only biting off half of it, and the rest was swallowed by Lin Xuan. When the two of them were feeding each other, they had already become the objects of other students' attention. Look, isn't that the campus beauty of our university? Is the guy next to him his boyfriend? Damn it. How come my goddess already has a boyfriend? You know what, that guy is pretty handsome. He's so handsome. He doesn't deserve it. Hurry up and take a picture of it, post it on the campus intelligence network, and make that guy the public enemy of all the boys at Jinghe University. Snap. A photo of the two feeding each other was posted to the campus intelligence network of Jinghe University. Title: Shocking. The campus beauty of Jinghe University is eating in the cafeteria with her boyfriend. Who is that bastard next to our school beauty? The school beauty has a boyfriend. My heart is broken. It's just a boyfriend. I still have a chance, dog head. Isn't this the great Lin Xuanlin from our School of Computer Science? Are we all going to the Institute of Finance together tomorrow? While Lin Xuan was eating dinner, he felt countless hostile gazes on his back, which made him feel a little cold. At this time, Lin Xuan's cell phone rang. 622 Fantong Group. Xu Quan, Brother Xuan, you have been exposed. Zhan Zhesheng. Remember to wear a mask in school in the future. This is a friendly reminder. Chen Jingming, Brother Xuan. You are finished. Lin Xuan, what's going on? Xu Quan. Pictures. It was the photo of Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao showing their affection. What a mistake. I have to be more low-key when I return to school next time. Li Mengyao saw that Lin Xuan ignored her and kept looking at his phone, so she scolded him. Lin Xuan. What are you looking at? You are ignoring me. I have become the public enemy of all the boys in Jinghe University, Lin Xuan said with a helpless smile. Why? Li Mengyao blinked in confusion. Look. It's all because my wife is too beautiful. Lin Xuan took out his cell phone and opened the campus intelligence network to show Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao covered her mouth and burst out laughing. And I can't help you. You're on your own. Soon, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao finished their dinner and walked hand in hand around the campus. At this time, Lin Xuan still looked worried, fearing that he would suddenly be hit by a hammer from behind. He still believed in Li Mengyao's charm, but he was afraid that some people could not stand the stimulation and became obsessed. Honey, do you want me to help you? Seeing that Lin Xuan was still nervous, Li Mengyao kept laughing. How can you help? Lin Xuan looked at Li Mengyao expectantly. Call me sister and I will help you. Li Mengyao tucked her hair behind her ears and smiled happily. She had seen Lin Xuan's ID card, although they were born in the same year. Li Mengyao was a few months older than Lin Xuan, a few months was still older, so she should call her sister. No, Lin Xuan's face rarely turned red. Calling his wife sister was a big deal. It was too embarrassing. I'm older than you, what's wrong with calling me sister? Just call me one. Li Mengyao pouted and acted coquettish sly and cutely. Call one and I will give you a reward. Li Mengyao continued to increase the stakes and looked at Lin Xuan with anticipation. Real? Yeah, well, I can help you solve the school crisis and get a reward at the same time, killing two birds with one stone. Li Mengyao walked up to Lin Xuan, hugged him, raised her head and smiled slightly. If you don't call me, I will hold you and not leave. Lin Xuan looked away with his blushing cheeks and said something softly. Elder sister. My brother is so good. Li Mengyao's eyes were curved with joy. She stretched out her arms to hug Lin Yuan's neck, kissed him on the lips, and then quickly withdrew. Usually Lin Xuan makes her shy, but she didn't expect that she could win again today. She is so happy. Is this the reward? Lin Xuan touched his mouth. Yes, I don't like it. Li Mengyao blinked her elegant eyes slightly. I like it, but it's too short, Lin Xuan said gently. Still in school, the two continued to hang out in the school, and Lin Xuan continued to receive hatred from the boys across the street, which seemed to be more serious than before. Wife, didn't you just say you wanted to help me? Lin Xuan asked. I helped. You can take a look at the school information network. Li Mengyao pursed her lips and smiled. Lin Xuan took out his cell phone, opened the school information network and immediately saw a pinned comment that was posted by Li Mengyao. That's not my boyfriend, that's my husband. Chapter 26. I saved the galaxy in my previous life. What? He's already your husband? A newborn, a fucking newborn. I didn't stand a chance crying. Brothers, it's time to unite and take down this man. Lin Xuan looked at the campus intelligence network and felt a chill in his heart. Wife, you. At this time, Li Mengyao took advantage of the fact that Lin Xuan was looking at his mobile phone and secretly walked to the front, looking back at Lin Xuan every 10 steps. Wife. You still want to run? Lin Xuan started running to catch up with Li Mengyao. Don't come over here. When Li Mengyao saw that the truth was revealed, she also started to jog forward. One runs in front and the other chases behind. The cheerful laughs were heard in the silent campus. Because Li Mengyao was still pregnant, she didn't run fast, so Lin Xuan caught up with her easily, hugged her and spoke gently. Don't run around. Be careful. Li Mengyao tittied up her messy hair and showed a charming smile. The campus under the night sky, flowers, plants and trees appear particularly quiet and mysterious under the moonlight. On campus during graduation season, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao walked hand in hand under the moonlight. Every step was filled with sweetness. After the graduation defense, after 3 or 4 days of careful teaching by Lin Xuan, Li Mengyao can already drive skillfully in the city. In addition, the Xiaomi SU7 has an automatic parking function, so there is no need to worry about not being able to park. A day Li Mengyao's university dormitory held a farewell dinner. which was also the last meal after graduation from university. Since they were all girls, Lin Xuan felt embarrassed to go with them, so Li Mengyao drove there by herself. When Lin Xuan was training Li Mengyao to drive, he found that the girl learned to drive quite quickly and steadily. Moreover, smart cars like Xiaomi SU7 also have intelligent driving and emergency avoidance functions, so he agreed. Honey, I'm going out. Li Mengyao wore a simple white dress, highlighting her elegant temperament. She happily ran to Lin Xuan and kissed him lightly on the lips. Just as she was about to leave, Lin Xuan pulled her into his arms and kissed her cherry lips with light lipstick on them. I don't know how long it took. Come back early, Lin Xuan said with a grin. Li Mengyao touched her hot face and slightly red mouth, and did not forget to reply before leaving. Bad husband. Li Mengyao came to the parking lot, walked to the front of the Xiaomi SU7, sat in the driver's seat, started the car skillfully, and did not forget to take out a small mirror to touch up her lipstick, which was all eaten by Lin Xuan. Soon, Li Mengyao arrived at the dormitory building of Jinghe University and picked up 3 roommates whom she had not seen for a long time. Chen Man. Wow, Yao Yao, we haven't seen each other for just a few months and you're already driving a car. It's not cheap at all. Yang Lin, yeah, tell me. I saw you making a high-profile confession yesterday. Only Liu Uxin, who was standing by, knew all this. But she also joined in the joke. Yes, our Yao Yao has a husband and has forgotten her sisters. Li Mengyao blushed slightly when she was teased by her roommate and quickly changed the subject. Stop talking, hurry up and decide where to eat. I'm hungry. Well, the one we ate at last time was pretty good, but it seems like there's a new gourmet restaurant opening nearby. It's over, I have a fear of making choices. I think that one is better. No, I think the other one is better. In this way, the 4 people argued in the car for more than 10 minutes, and finally decided by voting. On the other hand, Lin Xuan had nothing to do at home. Thinking that the luxury store given by the system had not yet opened, he decided to go to Jinwan Plaza to post a job opening, and the first thing he wanted to do was to recruit a store manager. The store manager is responsible for all matters in the store, including the operation of the restaurant, the recruitment of chefs and waiters, and the decoration design. In this way, Lin Xuan can be a hands-off manager and be a boss at ease. Lin Xuan immediately drove his Maybach to Jinwan Plaza, printed out a recruitment information and posted it on the door of a luxury store. Later, Lin Xuan felt that this way of recruiting people was too old-fashioned, so he put a job recruitment information on the mobile recruitment app, offering a monthly salary of 20,000 yuan, with 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. This condition should attract many people. After everything was done, Lin Xuan drove home. On the other side, Li Mengyao was having dinner with her 3 good sisters. Li Mengyao told her roommates what had happened in the past few months, but of course she didn't tell them about her pregnancy. Your boyfriend is so nice. Yang Lin sighed. Yes, she is pretty, cooks every day, and is very loyal. Chen Man agreed. Only Liu Uxin remained silent, because she knew what was going on. Although Lin Xuan was indeed a very good person. Hey, Yao Yao, why do you call me husband when we're not even married? Did he propose to you? Liu Uxin couldn't help but ask. Not yet. I'll get used to it after being called that many times. Li Mengyao's cheeks turned red instantly. You are really infatuated, my big Yao Yao. Chen Man said with a smile. I remember you had a crush on him during your freshman year. Now your dream has finally come true. By the way, Yao Yao, this kind of good man is very popular, you have to keep a close eye on him, Yang Lin reminded. Yeah, Li Mengyao also nodded shyly. How can I not keep a close eye on her? We already have a child. And my Yao Yao has become someone else's. Liu Uxin complained helplessly in her heart. Okay. We finally graduated. I wish us a bright future. Cheers. The 4 little girls took their drinks and drank them all. After Li Mengyao and her good sisters had eaten and drunk their fill, Li Mengyao sent them back to the dormitory, then drove to Jinwan Plaza and he came to a jewelry store. Lin Xuan is indeed too easy to attract a lot of men. He met one at the door of the classroom yesterday. He has to find something to prove that he is taken. So Li Mengyao thought of men's rings. Welcome, beautiful lady, how can I help you? A tall and decent-looking clerk came over. That's right. This is the jewelry store where Lin Xuan bought the diamond ring before, and even the clerk is the same person. Hello, do you have any men's rings to recommend? Li Mengyao asked in a low voice. Yes, please follow me. A clerk guided Li Mengyao to a display cabinet on the side. Men's rings are displayed in the showcase, shining brightly, and each one exudes unique charm. Soon, Li Mengyao fell in love with a men's ring. It was simple yet exquisite in design, with a unique design that showed low-key luxury and elegance. Hello, please help me get this one. Li Mengyao raised her little hand and pointed. Okay, beauty. The clerk then took out the men's ring and handed it to Li Mengyao. Beautiful lady, you have a good taste. This is the latest design, so it fits the aesthetic taste of today's young people. Li Mengyao looked left and right, playing with it back and forth in her hands. It was very beautiful. How much is this one? A total of 18,888. After hearing the price, Li Mengyao gritted her teeth, hesitated slightly, and finally paid. Okay. Thank you, welcome to come next time. The clerk packed the items with a smile on his face, wondering which man was so lucky to have such a beautiful girl buy him a ring. He must have saved the galaxy in his previous life. Chapter 27. I'm afraid you left some of it on purpose. Li Mengyao drove back to Jinwan Mansion. Arriving at the door, I stretched out my hand and unlocked it with my fingerprint. Lin Xuan was watching a movie in the living room when he saw his wife coming back. He was about to speak. Wife. Come back. Li Mengyao flashed by and quickly trotted back to the room. Lin Xuan had a big question mark in his mind. What was his wife hiding? She was so mysterious. After Li Mengyao hid the ring she had just bought, she let out a long sigh, patted her face, and then walked out of the room. Honey, I'm back. You were so flustered just now. You must be hiding something. Lin Xuan grabbed Li Mengyao and held her in his arms. No, nothing. Li Mengyao's pupils suddenly shrank, and obvious nervousness flashed in her eyes. Really nothing. Lin Xuan showed his signature smile. That's a girl's secret, you are not allowed to know it. Li Mengyao blinked her elegant eyes slightly. Oh, well. Seeing that his wife refused to speak, Lin Xuan had no choice but to hug her and watch the movie together in the hall. After watching the movie, it was already 11 o'clock in the evening and the two returned to their room to sleep. The next day, a phone call woke Lin Xuan up from his sleep. In order not to disturb his wife's sleep, Lin Xuan walked out of the room to answer the phone. Brother Xuan, are you awake yet? Shu Quan asked. Quaner, why are you calling me so early in the morning? Lin Xuan was a little puzzled. Normally, fathers would send messages to each other and would only call each other when there was something extremely urgent. But as soon as I heard Shu Quan's laughter, I knew that nothing was wrong. Brother Xuan, are you planning to open a restaurant in Jinwan Plaza? Shu Quan continued to ask. Yeah, how did you know? Lin Xuan became a little more sober. I saw it on the recruitment software. Brother Xuan, have you found a candidate for the position of store manager? Why are you asking that? Brother Xuan, I want to apply for. Lin Xuan was a little shocked. Didn't Shu Quan take the civil service exam? Didn't you take the civil service exam? Why do you want to go into business? I didn't pass the exam. I found out that the civil service is really hard to pass nowadays. You don't know, I scored 80 points in the exam, but I didn't even get in for the interview. I heard that the first place got 89 points. Brother Xuan, tell me, how perverted are these people? Shu Quan complained a lot. Quaner, can you do it? Lin Xuan asked, with some doubt. Of course I can. My family runs a restaurant. Brother Xuan, why don't you interview me? Shu Quan said confidently. Okay then, I haven't seen you for a while. Let's wait at the usual place, the coffee shop near the school. Seeing that his brother was so confident, Lin Xuan decided to go and take a look. He knew him well, so maybe he was a good match for him. Okay, Brother Xuan, I'll go order some coffee and wait for you, Shu Quan said happily. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xuan washed up and returned to the room. Seeing Li Mengyao still sleeping soundly, he walked up to her and gave her a gentle kiss on her smooth forehead. Honey, I'm going out for a while. Okay. Li Mengyao's lashes trembled slightly and she responded in a daze. Then Lin Xuan walked out of the house, came to the parking lot, and drove the Mavic towards the school. Soon, Lin Xuan arrived at a coffee shop near the school. After parking the car, he saw Shu Quan waving happily as soon as he entered the door. Brother Xuan here. Lin Xuan came and sat down opposite Shu Quan. Brother Xuan, please interview me, Shu Quan suddenly said with a serious face. Mr. Shu Quan, I'm very glad that you are here to apply for the position of store manager. I will ask you a few questions now. Lin Xuan also began to look at Shu Quan seriously. After asking some simple restaurant operation knowledge. Oh my god, you are really something. Lin Xuan was a little surprised, because he didn't understand much about these things. So he planned to find a store manager to manage the business and just be a hands-off boss himself. Hey, Brother Xuan, have you forgotten that my family has always run a restaurant? And I have been working as a handyman in my own restaurant since I was a child. Don't think I can't cook. I can make you a piece of 9-turn large intestine. It's absolutely delicious, Shu Quan said proudly. No, I'm afraid you left some of it on purpose. Okay then, it's you, Lin Xuan said with a smile. Thank you, Brother Xuan. Then when can I start work? Shu Quan was very happy. After the renovation is completed, I will give you a sum of money for the renovation after a while, and then you can decorate the restaurant first. As for your salary, if the restaurant makes a profit, we'll split it 30 to 70. 70 for me and 30 for you. If it makes a loss, I'll still pay you 20. 0 a month. Really, Brother Xuan, you are so nice to me. Shu Quan almost jumped up with joy. Don't be too happy too soon. If the restaurant is profitable, everyone will make money. If the loss is too big, I will fire you and then sell the restaurant. Lin Chuan still wants to run this restaurant well, but he is not stupid enough to do business at a loss. He will let Shu Quan try it first. If it doesn't work out, he can still sell it at a loss. After all, it is given by the system for free, so he will make a profit. Brother Xuan, don't worry. I will definitely run the restaurant well. The two continued to chat and started complaining. Brother Xuan, why am I so unlucky lately? I've been able to get 6 consecutive big wins with Yuan Shen recently. I'm really impressed. After hearing this, Lin Xuan choked on the coffee he had just drunk and almost spit it out. Well, Quaner, I think you should change the game. Why did you ask me to change the game? Brother Jingming said the same thing. No, I'll try again later. Father Xuan, I'm going to go back first and try to finish the restaurant plan tomorrow. Good. Afterwards, Shu Quan went back to the school dormitory. Seeing that it was still early, Lin Xuan continued to look at his phone while slowly drinking the coffee in his hand. Okay, now the lazy bug is almost up. It's time to go back. Just as Lin Xuan walked out of the coffee shop and was about to leave, a familiar figure appeared in front of Lin Xuan. It was his ex-girlfriend Yi Zixuan. Yi Zixuan and Lin Xuan are in the same class. Yi Zixuan started pursuing Lin Xuan madly in their freshman year because Lin Xuan was handsome. However, after dating for less than half a year, Lin Xuan couldn't stand Yi Zixuan's vanity and chose to break up. At this time, Yi Zixuan had an outstanding appearance. She looked particularly charming in a white shirt and a black skirt. Lin Xuan was a little surprised. He didn't expect to meet Yi Zixuan here. Yi Zixuan also saw Lin Xuan, and a hint of arrogance flashed in her eyes. Lin Xuan had no attachment to Yi Zixuan. He just took one look at her and wanted to leave. What a coincidence, Lin Xuan. Yi Zixuan spoke first. Well, it's indeed a coincidence. Lin Xuan's tone was calm. How have you been lately? Yi Zixuan tried to greet him. It has nothing to do with classmate Yi, right? Lin Xuan responded coldly. Are you so cold to your first love? You're about to graduate. Have you found a good job? By the way, my current boyfriend is the leader of a technology company, and his salary and benefits are very good. Since we know each other, I can help you if you want to go. Yi Zixuan began to show off her boyfriend to suppress Lin Xuan. She just couldn't stand Lin Xuan's arrogant attitude despite having no money. Then congratulations, Lin Xuan just replied coldly and left without looking back. Chapter 28. I believe in you. Lin Xuan didn't pay much attention to Yi Zixuan. He walked straight to the Maybach parked nearby, started the car and left. When the car passed by the coffee shop, Yi Zixuan had just finished buying coffee. As she walked out, she saw a dark and slender Maybach driving past her. The key point was that Yi Zixuan was shocked to see that it was Lin Xuan who was driving. When did Lin Xuan become able to drive a luxury car? Even when he was a freshman, no one could tell that he came from a wealthy family. On second thought, it was very likely that Lin Xuan rented the car. He looked down on him again in his heart, wondering why he was pretending. Lin Xuan bought today's ingredients on the way home. Soon, Lin Xuan returned to Jinwan Mansion. As soon as he opened the door, a figure threw himself into his arms. Honey, welcome home. A hint of happiness flashed across Li Mengyao's face. I'm back. Have you eaten the breakfast I left for you? Lin Xuan touched Li Mengyao's little head. Eat it, husband. I find your cooking skills are getting better and better. It tastes like my mom's. Li Mengyao continued to stick to Lin Xuan. Of course. Well, you go to the living room and watch the show. I'll go to the kitchen to prepare lunch. Then Lin Xuan went straight into the kitchen and started to work. And Li Mengyao obediently went back to the living room to watch TV series. After a while, Lin Xuan prepared 3 dishes in a soup, which were full of aroma. My wife, let's have dinner. Here I come. Li Mengyao came to the restaurant and enjoyed lunch together with Lin Xuan. Wife, do you know that my roommate Shu Quan is here to apply for the position of manager of our restaurant? Lin Xuan said as he picked up some food for Li Mengyao. Is it the cute boy I saw in the hospital last time? Li Mengyao recalled. Well, his family has always run a restaurant. So he is very familiar with this area, so I plan to make it for him. Lin Xuan discussed it with his wife. It's up to you to decide. I have no opinion. Li Mengyao felt warm in her heart. It seemed that Lin Xuan cared about her very much and would consult her opinion. After a while, the two had their lunch and watched a drama together on the sofa in the hall. When they felt tired, they went back to their room to rest. Lin Xuan lay next to Li Mengyao. And after thinking it over, he decided to tell her. Wife, actually after I went out to meet Shu Quan, I met another person. Li Mengyao raised her head and looked at Lin Xuan with her charming eyes. Who else did you meet? I'm my ex-girlfriend. Lin Xuan didn't want to hide it from her, so he confessed. Then what? Li Mengyao's heart skipped a beat and she lowered her head. Her happy mood instantly fell. She knew that Lin Xuan had a girlfriend in his freshman year, so now what did Lin Xuan say to his ex? Will Lin Xuan change his mind? Will he abandon her? Pregnant women have very strong emotional fluctuations while they are having all kinds of thoughts. Their eyes feel sore. Lin Xuan quickly discovered that something was wrong with his wife. He reached out and gently hugged Li Mengyao, then lifted her pretty head again and put their foreheads against each other. When their eyes met, one could see that Li Mengyao's eyes were slightly red. I'm sorry, honey. I didn't talk to her much this morning. I just treated her very coldly. I started dating her during my freshman year because I was young and ignorant, and she kept pestering me. But we only dated for less than half a year. I found out that she was really vain, so I broke up with her right away. Nothing really happened. Lin Xuan explained sincerely. Li Mengyao turned her head away from looking at him, knowing that she was overthinking if she thought carefully. Lin Xuan was not that kind of person, but she still felt an indescribable discomfort in her heart. Is it true that nothing happened? Really? Lin Xuan answered without hesitation. Have you ever kissed her? Li Mengyao looked at Lin Xuan again and asked in a low voice. No, my first kiss is for you. Lin Xuan continued to hug her tightly and said gently. After hearing this, Li Mengyao stopped acting like a spoiled brat and hugged Lin Xuan back, burying her head in his strong chest. Thank you for confessing this to me. Actually I fell in love with you in my freshman year. So I knew you had an ex. When did this happen? How come I don't know about it? Lin Xuan was very surprised. So, his wife has liked me for almost 4 years. I was just peeking at you from a distance at that time. So of course your stupid husband didn't know. Li Mengyao continued to stay in Lin Xuan's arms, her voice soft. In fact, Li Mengyao has liked Lin Xuan since her freshman year. In addition to Lin Xuan's handsome appearance and outstanding abilities, there is also a little-known secret. Lin Xuan once saved her. Li Mengyao started working as a part-time tutor when she was a freshman one night, because the tutoring time was extended, in order to get back to school before the curfew. Li Mengyao took a small path, but was targeted by 2 thugs just when Li Mengyao was in despair. Lin Xuan, who happened to pass by, rescued Li Mengyao. She still clearly remembers the way Lin Xuan wrestled with the 2 thugs. After dealing with the 2 thugs, Lin Xuan led Li Mengyao out of the alley and left in a hurry. Li Mengyao was wearing a mask at the time, and it was dark at night, so Lin Xuan did not recognize her as Li Mengyao. Wife, I swear if I treat you and the babies badly in the future, God will punish you. Lin Xuan stretched out 3 fingers and prepared to swear. Suddenly Li Mengyao raised her head and blocked Lin Xuan's lips with her seductive lips. I don't know how long it took before the 2 lips parted. No, Don T, swear. I believe you. How can you not love a wife like this? Lin Xuan hugged Li Mengyao silently, and the 2 fell into a sweet dream. In the afternoon, Li Mengyao woke up and began to study the books compiled by teachers, preparing to become a teacher in the future. Lin Xuan was quietly watching his wife in a daze. Ding dong, Lin Xuan opened his phone and it was a message from Shu Quan. Brother Xuan, take a look at my freshly prepared plan. Wow, Quaner is so efficient. Lin Xuan read it carefully and felt that Shu Quan was indeed quite capable. Brother Xuan, should we prepare the renovation fee? Wait for me in the dormitory. Okay. Lin Xuan stood up, changed his clothes quickly, walked to Li Mengyao, and kissed her on the face. Honey, I'm going out for a while. I'm going to go look at the restaurant's decoration design with Shu Quan. Oh, go ahead. Li Mengyao blushed. She was just lying on the bed, and she changed her clothes in less than a few minutes. And boys really change clothes so quickly? Soon, Lin Xuan drove the Maybach and stopped downstairs of the dormitory building of Jinghe University. Brother Xuan, I'm here. Shu Quan trotted over, opened the car door and sat in the passenger seat. The seats of luxury cars are so comfortable. Shu Quan looked very enjoyable. No, this is for you. After saying that, Lin Xuan handed an exchange voucher to Shu Quan. Shu Quan took it and saw that it was a restaurant decoration voucher. What is this? Is it real, or fake? Shu Quan asked doubtfully. Of course it's true. Let's go to the catering decoration company in Jinghe City and take a look. Will this work? Shu Quan had never seen anyone exchanging a piece of paper for decoration. You'll find out when you get there. Lin Xuan didn't give Shu Quan any further doubt. He started the car and drove out. Now he has 100 confidence in the system. Can he still be given a short exchange voucher? Ding dong. Warm reminder, this kind of store decoration redemption voucher can be used in the most high-end decoration companies. The long-lost system sounded again. Chapter 20 Nayu. You deserve to die. Soon, Lin Xuan drove the Maybach to the Jinghe catering brand design company. After parking the car, Lin Xuan and Shu Quan walked into the door of the design company. As expected of the best catering design company in Jinghe City, the company's reception area is spacious and bright, with elegant and luxurious decoration, showing the luxurious atmosphere of the reception area. Welcome both of you. Are you here to design and renovate? A tall, elegant young woman in a professional suit came forward to greet him. Yes, we would like to consult about the restaurant decoration, Lin Xuan replied politely. The young woman smiled and nodded. Okay, please follow me. Let me first introduce to you some of our company's design cases and styles. As she spoke, she led Lin Juan and Shu Quan to the exhibition area. Various exquisite design drawings and renderings were displayed in the exhibition. Lin Juan and Shu Quan looked at them carefully while the young female salesperson was introducing them seriously. Do you have any requirements for the design of your restaurant? Asked the young female salesperson. We hope that the restaurant's decoration can reflect a fashionable and comfortable atmosphere, while also having a unique personality, said Lin Juan. So how many square meters is your restaurant? Where is it located? The young woman continued to ask while taking notes carefully. Our restaurant is 150 square meters and is located in Jinwan Plaza, said Lin Juan. The young saleswoman was slightly shocked and stopped taking notes. Jinwan Plaza? That's a place where every inch of land is worth a lot of money, and there is a large area of 150 square meters. You two look very young yet. It's really admirable that you started your own business at such a young age. The young woman quickly recovered and continued. Then, he recommended several suitable design styles based on Lin Juan's restaurant, and introduced the characteristics and advantages of each style in detail. Shu Quan, which one do you think is more suitable? Lin Juan was not particularly clear about these things, so he left it to Shu Quan. This style looks very good. We can learn more about the specific design details, said Shu Quan. After discussing various details, it was time for the most tense payment step. Please come here to pay. The young female salesperson kept smiling. Oh, and give this exchange voucher to her, Lin Juan said with a smile. Brother Juan, are you serious? Is this really going to work? Shu Quan looked doubtful, thinking that Lin Juan would not cheat me because he had no money. When have I ever lied to you? Go ahead. Lin Juan held back his smile. Haven't you lied enough? Shu Quan complained in his ear that had no choice but to bite the bullet. Hello, can I use this? Shu Quan nervously handed over the store decoration voucher in his hand. This is the latest luxury decoration redemption voucher issued by the head office this year. There are only 5 in the country. I didn't expect to see one here. A head office once said that anyone who came to redeem the coupons would be treated at the highest level. Shu Quan looked at the stunned salesperson in front of him and thought that he was being too weird. His face instantly turned red. Brother Juan, I told you it's not possible. Look, I'm so embarrassed. At this time, Lin Juan also came over with a smile and asked, hello, can I exchange it? The young saleswoman finally reacted and apologized. I'm sorry, my dear guests, for not entertaining you well. Charlie, please quickly bring you a cup of coffee and some snacks. I want the best. I'm so sorry. Please follow me over here. The young female salesperson took Lin Juan and Shu Quan to the other side of the guesthouse. The reception area here was luxurious, with gorgeous carpets and dazzling crystal chandeliers, as well as luxurious leather sofas and a huge LCD TV, creating a luxurious atmosphere. Soon, 2 cups of floral geisha coffee and French desserts were handed to Lin Juan and Shu Quan. Shu Quan was stunned by everything he saw. The contrast was too great. Dear guests, this exchange voucher has been successfully used. We will help you with the highest standard of decoration and the fastest speed. Do you need any other service? This time it was not the young female salesperson who came, but the general manager of this branch. He is a middle-aged man with a well-proportioned body. His face shows traces of time, but his eyes are sharp. Nothing else. I'll contact you if there is anything. Thank you, Lin Juan said with a smile. Okay, this is my business card. Welcome to come again. After saying that, the middle-aged man handed Lin Juan a business card. He was also very surprised why a person who looked like a college student had this redemption voucher. He must be a child from some family. After a while, the 2 men, who had eaten and drunk their fill, walked out of the design company, returned to the Maybach car, and prepared to go back. Brother Juan, how did you do it? Shu Quan couldn't help but ask. Quaner, stop asking about adults' affairs and just focus on being a store manager. TSK, if you don't want to tell me, then don't tell me. By the way, this is for you. If you have any problems with the decoration, just contact him directly. Lin Juan gave Shu Quan the general manager's business card. Okay, Brother Juan, where are we going now? Do you want to go out for a meal? Shu Quan said happily. Buy fish, Lin Juan said in a firm tone. Buy fish and go home to cook for my wife. You deserve to die. Seeing that it was getting late, Lin Juan simply invited Shu Quan to go home for dinner. Would you like to come to my house for dinner? Okay. Brother Juan, you are the best. Lin Juan turned on his phone and told Li Mengyao that Shu Quan was coming to have dinner together. He then drove to the market and bought a long-line fish and a dace. He planned to make a dace fish cake and a long-line fish with garlic vermicelli tonight. The 2 quickly returned to Jinwan Mansion. Shu Quan thought that what happened during the day was shocking enough, but he didn't expect Lin Juan to still live in the luxurious Jinwan Mansion. Shu Quan is slowly getting used to it. Lin Juan and Shu Quan arrived at the door, unlocked it, and saw Li Mengyao standing in front of them. She smiled and said, welcome home. I'm back. At this time, Li Mengyao had changed into a simple blue home suit, exuding an elegant temperament. "Hello sister-in-law, my name is Xu Quan. And I'm Lin Xuan's roommate," Xu Quan greeted with a smile. "Hello, come in." Li Mengyao poured Xu Quan a drink. Xu Quan looked around Lin Xuan's home, a luxurious community, a luxurious large flat, and luxurious decoration. "Alas, I am really envious and jealous, but I can't hate him after all. He is my boss. Quaner, come help in the kitchen." Not long after Xu Quan sat down, he was called to work. Although he cursed in his heart, he went helplessly. "Xu Quan, can you really do whatever you want if you have money?" Lin Xuan, "Sorry, it is indeed possible." Chapter 30. My wife is so charming. Xu Quan helped Lin Xuan in the kitchen and washed the vegetables, while Lin Xuan was busy cooking. "I didn't expect Brother Xuan to really know how to cook." Xu Quan was stunned. Soon, 4 dishes and 1 soup were served, including grass carp cakes, vermicelli in garlic sauce, long fish, sweet and sour pork ribs, and celery and tofu soup. "Honey, let's have dinner." "Here I come." Li Mengyao walked over happily and sat next to Lin Xuan, while Xu Quan was on the other side and Lin Xuan was in the middle. "There are new products today," Li Mengyao smiled. "Come and try it." Lin Xuan picked up a piece of fish cake and put it in Li Mengyao's bowl. Delicious. Li Mengyao's eyes were curved with joy. "Husband, you try it too." Li Mengyao also picked up a piece and put it in Lin Xuan's bowl. Xu Quan felt that he was redundant. If he had known, he would not have come. He was full before he even had his meal. "But the food made by Brother Xuan is really delicious, try it." Xu Quan also picked up a piece of fish and put it into his mouth. He was stunned for a moment, as if his soul had left his body. The fish meat is tender and juicy and melts in your mouth. Every bite is full of delicious flavor. It is extremely delicious. This is the most delicious fish he has ever eaten since he was a child. Why bother hiring a chef? Brother Xuan, this is so delicious. I think we don't need to hire a chef. You can be the head chef. Xu Quan came back to his senses and exclaimed. "No, I want to stay at home with my wife and children. Otherwise, what's the point of having you as a store manager?" Lin Xuan continued to feed Li Mengyao. Xu Quan was fed another wave of dog food. Then my mind turned. "And hey, I got it. Sister-in-law, do you want to know about Brother Xuan's scandal in the dormitory?" Xu Quan said with a sly smile. "What's the scandal?" Li Mengyao raised her beautiful eyes to show her curiosity. "Don't be fooled by Brother Xuan's appearance of not being afraid of anything. In fact, he is very afraid of spiders. Even a small spider can scare him to death. Once, a small spider, really small, smaller than a thumb, crawled onto Brother Xuan's body. He was so scared that he jumped up and swung back and forth, and finally begged me to help him find it. Also, I once cheated Brother Xuan in a game, and he teamed up with his roommates to almost take off my pants. Xu Quan's behavior is like killing 800 enemies but losing 1,000 of his own. Also, Lin Xuan used to like to peek at beautiful girls on the street. Lin Xuan quickly covered Xu Quan's mouth with his hand. "Don't talk nonsense, wife, that's not true." At first Li Mengyao was still smiling, but then her eyes became a little colder. "Honey, is that true?" "Of course it's fake. Xu Quan was just joking, right?" Lin Xuan let go of Xu Quan and put one hand on his shoulder. Xu Quan frowned and said slowly, Yes, sister-in-law, I was just joking. Sister-in-law is so beautiful. Of course my brother Xuan won't peek at other beauties." Lin Xuan picked up a piece of pork ribs and stuffed it into Xu Quan's mouth, with a sharp look in his eyes. "Shut your stinky mouth and eat well." Soon, the 3 of them had their dinner. After Lin Xuan asked Xu Quan to wash the dishes, he drove his Mavic to take him back to the school dormitory. Lin Xuan returned to Jinwan Mansion and saw that Li Mengyao had gone back to her room to rest, so he hurried to the bathroom to take a shower. After taking a shower, Lin Xuan came to the door of the room and wanted to open it, but found it was locked. "Wife, why is the door locked? Let me in!" Lin Xuan shouted from outside. "I won't open the door for you, a bad guy who peeks at beautiful women." Lin Xuan scolded Xu Quan at this time and said he would definitely deduct his salary from now on. "My wife is innocent. Xu Quan and the others tricked me into watching this," Lin Xuan cried out. After saying that, Lin Xuan heard light footsteps and the sound of the door being unlocked. "My wife opened the door." Lin Xuan quickly opened the door and walked in. At this time, Li Mengyao had quickly returned to the bed and was lying with her back to him. Lin Xuan also climbed onto the bed and lay next to Li Mengyao. Li Mengyao suddenly turned around, and their eyes met, staring at Lin Xuan with her beautiful eyes. "How did you cheat?" they suddenly said. "Look, there seems to be something over there. I looked over there and found out I had been tricked by them," Lin Xuan explained patiently. "Why do they tease you like this?" Li Mengyao raised the corners of her mouth slightly. "Because I was like a piece of wood at that time. I had a nickname called Lin Mutoyu," Lin Xuan said with a smile. "Really? Why don't I feel like you're a piece of wood? You always kiss me at every turn." Li Mengyao chuckled. In fact, Li Mengyao was not angry at the beginning, she just wanted to tease Lin Xuan. If she was really angry, she would not open the door for him. That's because my wife is so charming, I can't help myself. Lin Xuan reached out and gently held Li Mengyao in his arms, savoring the faint fragrance. You're so smooth talking, okay? I'm going to sleep. Li Mengyao took the opportunity to hug Lin Xuan tightly and hung her whole body on him. Good night, my wife. Lin Xuan kissed Li Mengyao on the forehead, and then they fell asleep together. A week later, NHA University held its graduation ceremony. It was a sunny day, and Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao stepped into the Jingha University campus with excitement and anticipation. The campus was full of green trees, fragrant flowers, and a strong academic atmosphere. Hand in hand, they walked through the campus tree-lined avenue and came to the graduate dressing room. The room was neatly lined with brand new bachelor's gowns. Li Mengyao put on a black robe for Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan put on a square hat and tied a bow-tie for Li Mengyao. The two smiled at each other, their eyes full of longing for the future. Lin Xuan, wearing a bachelor's gown, is elegant and has an extraordinary temperament. His handsome figure is particularly eye-catching in the sun. Li Mengyao is beautiful, elegant and graceful in her bachelor's gown, and her pretty figure becomes a beautiful landscape on campus. They came to Century Square. Located in the center of the campus, this square is spacious and magnificent, surrounded by magnificent teaching buildings and beautiful flower beds. In the center of the square stands a tall sculpture and a solemn school motto, symbolizing the inheritance of knowledge and wisdom. Standing in the center of the square, Lin Xuan hugged Li Mengyao tightly. Their eyes met and their foreheads touched. Lin Xuan felt her warm body and gentle breath. At this time, Shu Quan came in front of the two people reluctantly. Stand still, like this, don't move. Shu Quan took out his camera, adjusted the angle, pressed the shutter, and recorded this beautiful moment. Even though it wasn't good for him. Quaner, give me a few more, Lin Xuan said to Shu Quan. I know. If I die of overeating in the future, it will be because of you guys feeding me. Immediately afterwards, Lin Xuan gently kissed Li Mengyao's smooth forehead, and Li Mengyao closed her eyes happily. Worker Shu Quan came online again, raised his camera, adjusted the angle, and captured this beautiful moment again. Chapter 31. Will you marry me? After taking the photos, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao returned to the college to take a group photo. The sun sets, leaving its afterglow. In the blink of an eye, it was evening. Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao held hands tightly and strolled in the campus. As steps were light and leisurely, as if they wanted to imprint this familiar land deeply in their hearts. The school buildings were stained with a layer of golden glow under the setting sun. As the sun gradually set in the west, the golden glow became stronger, symbolizing the end of the two people's college career. In the evening, Lin Xuan and Li Mengyao returned to Jin. One mentioned. Lin Xuan opened the door, held Li Mengyao's hand and walked towards the living room step by step. Why don't you turn on the light? The light was poor at night, and Li Mengyao vaguely felt that the living room in her home was a little different from usual. Lin Xuan did not respond, but continued to hold her little hand and walk to the center of the living room. Lin Xuan snapped his fingers, and the lights in the room lit up instantly. Li Mengyao was surprised to find that the living room was filled with colorful balloons and flowers arranged in the shape of a heart, and romantic candlelight was swaying in the air. Li Mengyao blinked in surprise, her mouth slightly open, not knowing what to say. Lin Xuan carefully took out a delicate little box from his pocket and gently opened the lid. Inside lay a carat diamond ring shining brightly. This ring is worth as much as 500,000 yuan, and every angle of it reflects an intoxicating light, as if telling of endless luxury and preciousness. Then Lin Xuan knelt on one knee, looked at Li Mengyao affectionately and said, Mengyao, I'm so lucky to meet you in the last stage of college. From the moment we met, I knew you would be my lifelong partner, honey. Will you marry me? Let's spend the rest of our lives together and create our own happiness. Li Mengyao was already moved to tears. She gently took the ring, took a deep breath, tried to calm her inner excitement, smiled and nodded, and said in a firm and soft voice, I do. These 3 words echoed in the air like the sound of nature. A happy smile appeared on Lin Xuan's face. He finally married the person of his dreams. Lin Xuan stood up, stretched out his arms and hugged Li Mengyao tightly. Li Mengyao also stretched out her little hands and wrapped them around Lin Xuan's waist, enjoying this happy moment. Wife, I'll put it on for you. Lin Xuan looked at his wife with a blushing face in his arms affectionately and said gently. The two of them let go at the same time. Li Mengyao stretched out her fair left hand. Lin Xuan picked up the diamond ring that was shining with bright light and put it on gently. It's so beautiful. Li Mengyao kept shaking her left hand to look at her diamond ring from different angles. Suddenly, Li Mengyao was stunned for a moment. She remembered that she also had a ring to give to Lin Xuan. Hubby, wait a moment. Li Mengyao quickly trotted back to the room and took out the men's ring from the cabinet. Looking at the diamond ring on my hand, I suddenly felt that the ring I bought was too cheap. After a while, Li Mengyao walked out of the room shyly, came to Lin Xuan with a troubled look on her face. and clasped her hands tightly behind her back. You stretch out your hand. Lin Chuan looked at his wife, who was a little nervous in front of him, smiled and stretched out his left hand. Li Mengyao gently put the men's ring on Lin Chuan's hand. I've also prepared a ring for you. But mine is relatively cheap, so don't despise it. I'll work hard to earn money and buy you a better one in the future. After saying that, Li Mengyao lowered her head slightly and clenched her little hands together again. Lin Chuan looked at the exquisite and unique ring in his hand and smiled brightly. Honey, I like it very much. Lin Chuan hugged Li Mengyao tightly in his arms again. Face to face, he gently kissed Li Mengyao's soft cheek, then to the tip of her nose and finally to her seductive lips. Okay. I'll clean up, you can take a rest first, honey, Lin Chuan said with a smile. No, I haven't seen enough, I'll clean it up tomorrow, Li Mengyao said to Lin Chuan coquettously. Okay, Lin Chuan said with eyes full of doting. And the two of them snuggled up on the sofa and watched the show together on the big screen. Lin Chuan and Li Mengyao also posted on their moments. There are the graduation photos and proposal photos of the two at the school's Century Square, as well as the last photo of a big hand holding a small hand, both hands with dazzling, eye-catching rings. Lin Chuan's comments. Shang Shilan, good job son. Lin Zhengguo just gave a thumbs up. Lin Cici, brother, is this it? Shang Shilan, Cici, aren't you preparing for the final exam? Lin Cici withdraws a comment. Shu Quan, congratulations, and I wish you 99. Zhang Zhesheng. Congratulations, brother Xuan is so fast. Chen Jingming, I'll book a best man. Li Mengyao has relatively fewer friends, she only has a few truly good friends in college. The UUXIN. Yao Yao, my Yao Yao. Chen Man, congratulations. UXIN, wake up, Yao Yao is no longer yours. Yang Lin. Oh my god, congratulations, this is too fast, is it a rocket? Lin Chuan was reading the comments with great interest when the crisp voice of the system rang in his ears again. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for his successful proposal. A reward of 100 of the shares of Jingha Jinwan Technology Co. Limited will take effect tomorrow, please check it carefully. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for triggering the lottery mechanism, you will be awarded a chance to draw a prize. The current prize pool includes 1 triple cash crit card, 2. An exclusive fish recipe book, 3. Thank you for your patronage. Excuse me, host, would you like to draw a lottery? Last time I drew a free voucher for store decoration. But this time it was cancelled. In other words, as long as you draw enough times, you will definitely win something in the prize pool. Let's not trick Shu Quan this time, let's just start drawing. Lottery. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a copy of the exclusive fish recipe book. It has been placed on the desk at Jinwan Mansion, please check it. Our lottery pool is one less prize for every prize drawn. If only the thank you for your patronage prize is left, the system will refresh the prize pool. This system is so powerful. Chapter 32 New Chairman. Before going to bed at night, Li Mengyao lay in Ling Yishuan's arms, playing with the diamond ring in her hand, and she never got tired of looking at it. Honey, how much did you pay for this diamond ring? Li Mengyao knew that the diamond ring was very valuable, but she still couldn't help asking. 500. 0, Lin Chuan answered truthfully. After hearing this, Li Mengyao opened her beautiful eyes with disbelief. She didn't expect it to be so expensive. Why buy something so expensive? It makes the things I give you seem cheap. Li Mengyao's little forehead was pressed against Lin Chuan's chest. It's okay, I like everything my wife gives me. If it's really unbalanced, just kiss me a few more times. Lin Chuan said with a grin, frivolously. Lin Chuan knew that the ring his wife bought was definitely not as good as his, but he could tell at a glance that the ring in his hand was not a cheap item. At least worth tens of thousands. For a family like Li Mengyao's, they must have lived frugally in college to save this amount of money. Lin Chuan was very touched. Why did you do it again? Feeling a sharp pain in his waist, Lin Chuan quickly reached out and grabbed the restless little hand. You just kiss me every day, won't you get tired of it? Li Mengyao raised her head and pretended to be angry. No, I'll never get tired of kissing my wife. After saying that, Lin Chuan rubbed his face against Li Mengyao. I want to sleep. Li Mengyao struggled a little. His wife said she was sleepy, so Lin Chuan had no choice but to let her go. The moment he let go, Li Mengyao suddenly attacked, came up to him and kissed him on the lips, then quickly distanced herself from him, turned around and went to sleep. Classic flirt and run. What can I do? I can only spoil him. Lin Chuan also fell asleep. In the early morning of July, the sun had just risen, and the first ray of golden sunlight sprinkled on the earth like a veil. Lin Chuan got up early and made breakfast in the kitchen while looking through the exclusive fish recipes given by the system yesterday. This recipe collection actually contains various methods of cooking fish and secret seasonings. According to the book, it can enhance the freshness and tenderness of fish. Lin Chuan decided to try it at noon. Suddenly, the cell phone rang. Lin Xuan turned on the phone and answered the call. Son, good job. Shang Xiaolan's happy voice came from the phone. Mom, you weren't so happy when I got first place in the exam, Lin Xuan said speechlessly. How can this be compared? Hey, I will soon have a beautiful daughter-in-law and a chubby grandson. By the way, Mom, please pick a good day for us to get the marriage certificate. Lin Xuan suddenly thought of it. Yes. I was so happy that I almost forgot about it. Wait for me, son. Then Shang Xiaolan hung up the phone and went straight to look at the 2020-2024 calendar. You hung up the phone on me? Are you still my biological son? Lin Xuan went back to make breakfast. Not long after, Shang Xiaolan called again. Son, the 7th of this month is a good date. July 7th is so auspicious. It's especially suitable for getting married. Her tone was full of anticipation and excitement. Then, Shang Xiaolan continued to explain. The 7th day of the 7th lunar month is the day when the cowherd and the weaver girl meet at the Magpie Bridge, which means lovers will finally get married. In addition, the word 7 also means reunion and happiness. Choosing this day to get married will definitely bring you happiness and good luck. Okay, Mom, I'll discuss it with Meng Yao later. Lin Xuan said. Where's my daughter-in-law? She's still sleeping. Well, take good care of her if anything happens. Call Mom. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xuan also felt that July 7 was a very good day. Soon, the loving breakfast was ready. And just as Lin Xuan was about to wake up the lazy bug, the phone rang again. I thought my mother forgot to tell me something, but it turned out to be an unfamiliar number. Hello, who are you? Hello, Mr. Lin, I am Yi Tiancheng, the chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. Hello, MRI. Lin Xuan was a little surprised. He didn't expect the system to be so efficient. MRLin, I'm so sorry to bother you so early. Are you free to come to the company today? I would like to talk to you about the specific matters of the company's handover, Yi Tiancheng said in a very polite tone. The person who can acquire all the shares of Jinwan Technology Company at a high price must be a big shot. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Lin Xuan hung up the phone, had a simple breakfast, and put Li Mengyao's portion in the warming cabinet. Then Lin Xuan walked into the room and gently woke Li Mengyao up. Honey, I'm going to be out for a while. Remember to eat breakfast. After saying that, Lin Xuan kissed her fair cheek. Hubby, be careful on the road. Li Mengyao rubbed her eyes. Dazed Lion reminded. Soon, Lin Xuan drove a Maybach to Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. Although this company looks small, its architectural design is ingenious. Its appearance is simple and elegant, its courtyard is green and lush, and its logo is eye-catching and unique, highlighting the company's brand image. After parking the car, Lin Xuan saw a tall and straight man downstairs of the company. He was wearing a well-tailored and exquisite suit, and he looked extraordinary. Compared to Lin Xuan, he is much simpler, wearing casual clothes. This person is Yi Tiancheng, the chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. Unexpectedly, Chairman Yi was waiting for him downstairs in the company early. Sorry, MRI, I've kept you waiting for so long. Lin Xuan walked forward with a smile on his face. Who are you? I'm Lin Xuan. We just talked on the phone. Yi Tiancheng couldn't believe that this young man, who was dressed casually and looked like he had just graduated, could actually acquire Jinwan Technology Co. Limited at a high price. I'm so sorry, MRLin. You are so young and promising. I didn't expect the new chairman to be so young. Yi Tiancheng took the initiative to extend his hand and shake hands with Lin Xuan. This young man must have a strong family background. So Yi Tiancheng dare not neglect him in the slightest. MRLin, please follow me. I will show you around the company. Yi Tiancheng personally led Lin Xuan to visit various departments of the company. First we came to the R&D department, where a group of top scientific and technological talents gathered. They were immersed in studying various cutting-edge technologies, and I hardly looked up at them. My technical R&D team is the most outstanding people in the entire company. Suddenly, Lin Xuan spotted a familiar figure. Was NT this his roommate Song Zesheng. He was so absorbed in his studies that he didn't notice him at all. It turns out that the company he was talking about working for was Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. Lin Xuan smiled. And he went to the marketing department and watched the employees working busy and orderly. Yi Tiancheng continued to introduce. Our marketing team is very professional and efficient. They can quickly capture market trends and make accurate decisions. Afterwards, they also visited other important functional departments, such as the finance department and the administration department. At each place, Yi Tiancheng introduced the main responsibilities and operations of the department in detail, allowing Lin Xuan to have a clearer understanding of the company's overall structure. Finally, the two came to the chairman's office, and Yi Tiancheng handed a document to Lin Xuan. MRLin, I'm very glad that you can acquire this company. Sign your name and you will be the new chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. In the end, Lin Xuan successfully completed the company's handover procedures. Chapter 33. Should I sell the company? Lin Xuan looked at the chairman's office. In front of him, the spacious and bright office space and a series of luxurious furnishings showed the company's high-end image. Unexpectedly, he became the new chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited overnight. Lin Xuan sat in the large black leather chair, turned the chair, and fell into deep thought. Suddenly, a slight knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. Director Lin, is it convenient for you to come in now? Come in. There was a slight sound of footsteps, and a young woman who looked like a secretary walked towards him with a smile. She was wearing a professional suit, had a graceful figure, light steps, and a faint smile on her face. Hello, Director Lin. I am your secretary, Xu Siyu. Xu Siyu was very surprised when she walked in. She didn't expect the new chairman to be so young and handsome. Xu Siyu also graduated from Jinghe University 1 year earlier than Lin Xuan, so she should be Lin Xuan Sr. Hello, Secretary Xu, I'm new here and I'll still need your advice if I have anything in the future, Lin Xuan said with a smile. No, Amarellin, just tell me if you have anything to say. Xu Siyu didn't expect Lin Xuan to be so humble. Well, please show me the list of all the people in the company so I can take a brief look at it. Okay. Amarellin, please wait a moment. After saying that, Xu Siyu first made tea for Lin Xuan, and then went back to her desk to organize the documents. Lin Xuan was sipping tea while thinking about how to manage this company. His wife couldn't leave either, which was really a headache. After a while, Xu Siyu put the company's personnel list in front of Lin Xuan. Director Lin. This is the current list of all the personnel in the company. Please take a look. Okay, thank you. Go ahead and do your work, I can take care of it myself, Lin Xuan said to Xu Siyu while looking at the list of people in his hand. Okay. Xu Siyu left the room and closed the door gently. Lin Xuan first looked at Xu Siyu's personnel file. It turned out that she also graduated from Jinghe University, just 1 year earlier than him. This means that he will have to call her senior sister after get off work. Lin Xuan then continued to check and found that Jinwan Technology Co. Limited has a general manager who is responsible for the company's daily operations and management. Ordnance. There are also several department managers who are responsible for the daily managers who are responsible for the daily management of the department and completing the tasks assigned by their superiors. As the chairman of the company, Lin Xuan plays an important leadership and decision-making role. This is really stressful. How can Lin Xuan accompany his wife and children every day and be a happy dad? Should I sell the company? Just as Lin Xuan frowned, there was another slight knock on the door accompanied by some panting sounds. Come in. A middle-aged man who looked mature and steady walked up hurriedly. He was the general manager of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited, Liu Wen. I'm sorry, Director Lin, I just want to meet an important client, so I didn't have time to catch up with you when you took office. Liu Wen was also very shocked. The chairman in front of him didn't look like a chairman at all. He was just a fresh college graduate. If He Tiancheng hadn't sent a message confirming the change of chairman, he would have thought someone was playing a prank. It's okay, Secretary Xu, please make a cup of tea for Manager Liu. After saying that, Xu Siyu brought a cup of tea and placed it in front of Liu Wen. Boss Liu, I just took over the company. And I have many things to ask you. Lin Xuan picked up the tea and took a sip. Liu Wen also quickly picked it up and took a sip, saying, No, I will follow Director Lin's arrangements. Lin Xuan then asked about various things about the company, including the company's main business direction, personnel structure, salary and benefits, and future plans. Liu Wen was able to answer all the questions fluently and also put forward his own opinions, which shows that he is very knowledgeable about various matters in the company. Lin Xuan is very satisfied with the current general manager of the company, Liu Wen, and decides to use him for a while to see how it goes. Okay, I'll visit the various departments of the company later, Mr. Liu, you go and get busy first. Lin Xuan nodded with satisfaction. MRLN, let me take you there and give you a detailed introduction, Liu Wen said. No, I just want to see what the company really looks like. Lin Xuan stood up and took the initiative to extend his hand to shake hands with Liu Wen. Boss Liu, let's work together to make the company bigger and stronger. Okay, MRLN, I will do my best, Liu Wen said in a firm tone. Afterwards, Liu Wen returned to his general manager's office to start working, while Lin Xuan continued to look at the company's personnel list and found that there were too many of them. So he simply only looked at the information of those above the middle-level leaders and ignored the rest. Lin Xuan walked out of the chairman's office. The company's leadership offices were on the 6th floor, so Lin Xuan took the elevator to the finance department office on the 2nd floor downstairs. After walking around the finance department, I saw that everyone in the finance department office was working diligently. Of course, there were a few who were slacking off and looking at their phones. Lin Xuan didn't think it was a big deal. It was okay to play with the phone to relax when tired from work, as long as he didn't fall behind in the work at hand. Everyone in the finance department also saw a strange handsome young man walking back and forth in their office and thought he was a new intern. Well, please give this document to Mr. Liu when you have time. The finance manager asked me to do so. I'm really too busy, thank you. A slightly older woman handed a piece of information to Lin Xuan, obviously treating him as a new intern. Okay, Lin Xuan smiled slightly. Currently only General Manager Yu Wen and Secretary Xu Xiu in the company know Lin Xuan's identity, so they agreed to help. Then Lin Xuan took the elevator to the administrative office on the third floor of the company. The staff in the administrative department are also working diligently, harmoniously and orderly. And the entire department is full of positive energy. Lin Xuan nodded with satisfaction again, then left with a smile and continued to take the elevator to the marketing department on the fourth floor, which was also filled with a vibrant and passionate atmosphere. Finally, Lin Xuan came to the RD department on the fifth floor. As soon as the elevator opened, he met a familiar figure. Yi Zixuan. Chapter 34. What if I don't? Lin Xuan didn't want to have any interaction with Yi Zixuan, but he was a little surprised to see her. How could it be that enemies meet on such a narrow road? She actually works in this company, and now she has become my subordinate by mistake. If his wife finds out, won't she run away from home? No. Yi Zixuan was also stunned when she saw Lin Xuan. How did he get in? Would it be that he still had some feelings for me, who had heard that I was in this company and followed me all the way here? Lin Xuan walked past Yi Zixuan with an expressionless face. Hey! Lin Xuan, what do you mean? Lin Xuan turned his head and looked at Yi Zixuan as if she was a fool. It's been so many years. Why haven't you given up? I told you I already have a boyfriend, why did you still follow me? Or do you want to work in the RD department of Jinwan Technology Company? To tell you the truth, my boyfriend is the manager of the RD department. If you beg me now, I might be able to say something good for you later. Yi Zixuan saw that Lin Xuan still looked superior and wanted Lin Xuan to bow down to her. You also work in the RD department? Yes. Yi Zixuan said proudly with her arms folded across her chest. I remember you can write code or program. Lin Xuan smiled, having guessed something. Yi Zixuan majored in finance, but because her boyfriend is the leader of the RD department, she was able to go into the department and slack off. I can't. But my boyfriend is a leader, and I can do whatever I want in the RD department. In other words, whether you can join the company's RD department is also decided by me. Yi Zixuan said with a proud look on her face. You are still as vain as before. Lin Xuan showed his signature smile, then turned around and left. Walking into the RD office. Why are you pretending? You are just aloof. Yi Zixuan was very angry. She picked up her cell phone and called her boyfriend. Honey, a newcomer in the RD department just bullied me. Yi Zixuan pretended to cry. Damn, how dare someone bully my girlfriend? How dare a newbie be so arrogant? Chuaner. Don't be angry, wait for me to come back and deal with him. Zheng Haran, who was still outside the company at this time, was very angry and drove back without stopping. When Lin Xuan came to the RD office, he clearly felt the difference from other departments. The members of the RD department were all listless, with huge dark circles under their eyes, and looked exhausted. The whole department was filled with a tense and depressing atmosphere. Even Zhang Zisheng, who was full of energy at school, looked shaky. It's obvious at first glance that it's caused by working overtime and staying up late. Lin Xuan felt inexplicably distressed. After all, he was now his employee. Lin Xuan quietly came behind Zhang Zisheng, patted his shoulder gently, and called out, Zisheng. Fuck. Zhang Zisheng shuddered all over and almost jumped up in fright. When he turned around, he found that it was his college roommate Lin Xuan. At this time Lin Xuan was looking at him with a smile. Brother Xuan, why are you here? I came to see you. Zhang Zisheng was confused and came to see me. Have you also joined the RD department of Jinwan Technology Company? Lin Xuan smiled and said nothing. Zhang Zisheng suddenly stood up and dragged Lin Xuan to the lounge next to them, finding a place where no one was. Brother Xuan, run away quickly, this is not a place for people, Zhang Zisheng said in a low voice. What's going on? Lin Xuan asked. This company is pretty good overall, other departments are very comfortable and the working atmosphere is very harmonious. It's the RD department that is the most disgusting. The leader of this department is simply insane. He has no technical skills at all, but he only knows how to make us work overtime every day and even withholds our overtime pay. Zhang Zisheng continued to complain. Is it that serious? Lin Xuan didn't expect that Yi Zixuan's boyfriend didn't treat his employees as human beings. Even pearls are not so real. Believe me and run quickly, Zhang Zisheng urged Lin Xuan. Why don't you leave? Lin Xuan asked. I just started working here not long ago. If I quit right away, it will be very disadvantageous for me to continue looking for a job, so I decided to wait for 3 months. Zhang Zisheng glanced at his phone and continued hurriedly. At this time, that stupid leader is coming back. I'm going back to my workstation first. Brother Xuan, you should leave quickly and don't look back. After saying that, Zhang Zisheng ran back to his workstation and continued working. Thinking of his good brother being exploited like this, Lin Xuan sighed. It seemed that he had to reorganize the RD department on the first day of taking office. Just as Lin Xuan was about to walk out of the RD office, he was stopped by a man wearing glasses, with a barrel waist and a slightly bald head. This person was Zheng Haoran, the RD manager who had hurried back. "Are you the new one?" Lin Xuan raised his eyebrows, looking indifferent. "I am." Zheng Haoran was so angry that his hair was smoking. He had never seen a newcomer who dared to be so arrogant on the first day. "You just bullied Yi Zixuan from our department, scum like you. Oh, back to where you came from." Lin Xuan remained indifferent. "I used to be so arrogant, what if I didn't?" After saying that, Lin Xuan picked up the phone and called Liu Wen. "Boss Liu, could you please come to the RD office?" When Zheng Haoran heard Lin Xuan talking about President Liu on the phone, he looked at Lin Xuan in front of him carefully again. He didn't look like someone who knew President Liu. He was just a child from an ordinary family. "Stop pretending. What kind of character is this, Mr. Liu? Get out of here right now, or I'll call security." Zheng Haoran continued to humiliate Lin Xuan, but Lin Xuan still smiled slightly, not caring at all, as if it was a heavy punch hitting cotton. Zheng Haoran was so angry that he picked up the phone and started shouting, "Security! Come up to the RD department on the 5th floor quickly. There's someone causing trouble and refusing to leave. Someone, get him out." After saying that, he stared at Lin Xuan viciously. "You little bastard, just wait to be beaten out." "Okay, I'll wait." Lin Xuan found a seat and sat in the chair leisurely. The employees in the RD department were all talking about it. "Who is this person? He is so bold. It seems like he's new here. He's very brave. This is the first time I've seen someone so disrespectful to Zheng Haoran." Only Zhang Zisheng was still worried. He walked to Lin Xuan and whispered, "Brother Xuan, you better leave first, otherwise the security will really kick you out." Lin Xuan took a look and smiled. "It's okay." Zheng Haoran became even angrier when he saw Zhang Zisheng whispering with Lin Xuan. "Zhang Zisheng, do you know him? If you don't work hard, I will fine you 1 month's salary. He's my roommate. What's wrong with me talking to him?" Zhang Zisheng could no longer tolerate such a leader. "It seems like you two are of the same type. That's even better. Get out of here together." When Zheng Haoran heard that Lin Xuan was Zhang Zisheng's college roommate, he became even more certain that this person had no other identity. "Let's go. Who cares about a dog leader like you who can't do anything, Lin Xuan? Let's go." After saying that, Zhang Zisheng wanted to pull Lin Xuan away together. Suddenly, Mr. Li came to the RD office in a hurry. "Boss Liu, you came at the right time." These two. Before Zheng Haoran finished speaking, Liu Wen hurriedly walked up to Lin Xuan and said respectfully, "Director Lin, I'm sorry I'm late. What can I do for you?" Lin Xuan stood up calmly, took out a document and handed it to Liu Wen. "This is a document that the finance department prepared for you. I happen to have nothing to do, so I helped pass it to you. How can I trouble you?" "MRLN, with such a small matter?" Liu Wen hurriedly took the information. "Also, please inform COU that a full staff meeting will be held in the conference room on the 7th floor in 1 hour. I have something important to announce." After saying that, Lin Xuan left the RD office with his head held high. Chapter 35. I have other uses. "Zisheng, come with me." Lin Xuan looked back at Zhang Zisheng, and glanced at Zheng Haoran who was standing there in a daze with disdain. Coming. Zhang Zisheng hadn't recovered from the shock yet, and he was stunned for a while before responding. And the two of them took the elevator to the chairman's office on the 6th floor. Zheng Haoran's face was extremely pale. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead, and his eyes were full of disbelief. "Mr. Li, Mr. Liu, is he really the chairman? Where is Emrai?" Liu Wen's eyes became heavy. He could clearly sense that Director Lin was very angry. He said to Zheng Haoran without changing his expression, "Zheng Li, don't think you can show off just because Emrai is here now that Emrai is gone. You should take care of yourself." Afterwards, Liu Wen also left the RD office, leaving Zheng Haoran standing there in a daze. Lin Xuan and Zhang Zisheng returned to the chairman's office. "Brother Xuan, what happened just now? Are you really the new chairman?" Zhang Zisheng couldn't help but ask. "Yes, I just acquired it yesterday and took over the company today. I didn't expect to encounter such a situation." Lin Xuan poured a cup of tea for Zhang Zisheng. They were very casual with each other as brothers, so Lin Xuan did not act like a leader. "Brother Xuan, you hid it very well," Zhang Zisheng said with a smile. "Keep a low profile. Zisheng, don't worry, I will take care of these bad apples later." Lin Xuan took a sip of tea carefully, looking like a veteran cadre. "Brother Xuan, what are you going to do?" Zhang Zisheng was very curious. With admiring little stars in his eyes, he had long wanted to see Zheng Haoran being taught a lesson. "You'll know soon." Lin Xuan showed his signature smile. When Zhang Zisheng saw Lin Xuan smile, he knew that Zheng Haoran would be in a miserable state. Knock. There was a slight knock on the door. Hello, Director Lin, is it convenient for me to come in? Come in. The person who walked in was General Manager Li Wen. Director Lin, the conference room is ready. Zhe Sheng, you go back first. I have something to discuss with Mr. Liu. Lin Xuan said to Zhang Zhe Sheng. After Zhang Zhe Sheng left the chairman's office, Lin Xuan also poured a cup of tea for Li Wen. MRLN, I'll do it. Li Wen was a little frightened. Mr. Liu, there's no need to be so nervous. You are my elder, so it's only right for you to pour me a cup of tea. Lin Xuan smiled. However, I have some questions. How did Zheng Haoran, who doesn't know how to be considerate of his subordinates and doesn't understand RD technology, become the manager of the RD department? Lin Xuan suddenly asked. This was promoted by the previous chairman. I actually disagreed, but there was nothing I could do. Li Wen almost choked and explained. What do you think of Zhang Zhe Sheng? Lin Xuan smiled and continued to ask. I personally participated in the interview and recruitment of this young man. He has strong technical skills and is hardworking and capable. If he is trained well, he will be able to take charge of his own business in the future. Li Wen still has a very good impression of Zhang Zhe Sheng. Okay, I understand it. It's almost time. Let's go to the 7th floor for the meeting. Lin Xuan nodded with satisfaction. Lin Xuan and Li Wen came to the large conference room on the 7th floor and sat on the podium at the front. Good morning, colleagues. I am sorry to take up your precious time due to special reasons. Chairman Yi Tiancheng has stepped down from today on. Lin Xuan will serve as the new chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. Please give him a warm welcome. The more than 200 employees in the audience applauded, saying that a leader who does not choose to hold meetings after get off work is a good leader. Only two people were still in shock. One was the RD manager Zheng Haoran, and the other was Yi Zixuan. The expressions of the two people are even uglier than crying. Good morning, colleagues. I am honored to serve as the chairman of Jinwan Technology Co. Limited. I am new here. If I have done anything wrong, please point it out in time. I am ready to accept your supervision at any time. I believe that as long as we unite as one and work hard, everyone's income will be raised to a higher level. As a company leader, you still have to paint the pie. Besides that, I have one more announcement to make. Lin Xuan looked at Zheng Haoran and Yi Zixuan with a smile. This morning, I inspected the various departments and found that Zheng Haoran, the RD manager, took advantage of his position to exploit employees and even hired his girlfriend to work for free. For people like this, I will reassign them to new positions. Nonsense, what evidence do you have? Zheng Haoran knew that Lin Xuan would not let him go, so he just made it clear. You want evidence? I can take you down without it. But since you want it so badly, I might as well show it to you. Lin Xuan took out his cell phone and said a few words to Secretary Xu next to him. And the entire conference room was filled with the conversation between Lin Xuan and Yi Zixuan, as well as the confrontation with Zheng Haoran in the RD department. My boyfriend is the manager of the RD department. If you beg me now, I might be able to say something good for you later. I can't, but my boyfriend is a leader, and I can do whatever I want in the RD department. Scum like you. Go back to where you came from. Yes, Lin Xuan has been recording since the beginning. Now that all the employees in the company knew about it, Zheng Haoran and Yi Zixuan showed extremely ugly expressions. I am just like this. If you have the guts, fire me. Zheng Haoran suddenly became angry and embarrassed. Lin Xuan smiled slightly. You're dreaming. Why should I fire you? I have other uses for your talents. It just so happens that our company is short of a security guard and a cleaner. You two are perfect for us. Lin Xuan did not look down on the professions of security guards and cleaners, but wanted to take this opportunity to force the two to resign voluntarily. If the company fired them directly, it would have to pay compensation. Of course, if it is a normal personnel optimization of the company, the compensation should still be paid, and Lin Xuan guarantees that he will not pay a penny less. But what these two people did does not deserve the money. As for the candidate for the new RD manager, Mr. Liu, do you have any recommendations? Lin Xuan turned to Liu Wen and asked. I think Zhang Zhe Sheng is very good. He has top-notch skills and is hardworking. Liu Wen responded. Lin Xuan nodded with satisfaction again. Then it's decided. From now on, Zhang Zhe Sheng will be the manager of the RD department. Okay, everyone, thank you for your hard work. Let's adjourn the meeting. Lin Xuan and Liu Wen left first, and everyone else left as well, discussing the situation. The new chairman is so young, and he's handsome too. He is very courageous. He eliminated the cancer of the company right from the start. Yeah. This Zheng Haoran always acts so superior. I've been displeased with him for a long time. I just asked the chairman to help me pass on the information. In the end, only Zheng Haoran and Yi Zixuan were left standing there in a daze. Chapter 36. Congratulations on your twin pregnancy. Lin Xuan returned to the chairman's office again, ready to pack up and go home to cook for his wife. Knock on the door sounded again. Come in. Other Xuan, Are you really going to let me be the R&D manager? Zhang Zheng walked into the office and asked in disbelief. Any questions? Lin Xuan trusted Zhang Zheng's technical level. In addition, Jinwan Technology Co. Limited was technology-oriented, so he felt relieved to let his good brother take charge of the key departments. I'm worried that I won't be able to do it well. Zhang Zheng was a little worried. I believe in you, just go for it. I'll help you if anything goes wrong. Also, what about Brother Xuan? I've told you so many times, when you're working, you should refer to your job title. Lin Xuan joked, imitating the tone of a TV drama. Okay, Lin. Zhang Zheng was also amused. Okay, nothing else, I'll go back first. Lin Xuan missed his wife. Lin Zihui, aren't you going to eat together in the cafeteria? No, I want to go home and cook for my wife. Damn, we're in Versailles again, so let's get together in the dormitory when we have time. Zhang Zheng didn't know yet that Xuquan was also working for Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan drove the Maybach out of the company gate, went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables, and then returned home. I'm back. A petite figure rushed into Lin Xuan's arms. Welcome home. Li Mengyao raised her head and looked at Lin Xuan with a smile. Be careful. Lin Xuan lifted Li Mengyao's chin and gently kissed her delicate lips. Have you had breakfast? I ate it. What time do you eat? Why are you just like my mom? Lin Xuan gently scratched Li Mengyao's little nose with his hand. Husband has to take good care of you two. I'm going to go cook first. Got it. Li Mengyao obediently returned to the sofa and continued watching the show. For lunch today, Lin Xuan tried the exclusive fish recipe given by the system. Wow, husband, your cooking skills have improved again. Li Mengyao exclaimed. Of course, Lin Xuan's 5-star cooking skills plus secret seasonings make it even more delicious. Then eat more. Lin Xuan continued to pick up food for Li Mengyao. If I eat more, I'll get fat. Li Mengyao pouted her lips slightly and took the meat back from the bowl. You have to eat more when you're pregnant, and you're not fat at all. Lin Xuan continued to pass the meat to Li Mengyao, who continued to eat happily. Wife, let's go get the marriage certificate on July 7th. Li Mengyao's little face turned slightly red. I didn't expect that I would get married and get a marriage certificate right after graduation. After lunch, they returned to their room to take a nap. In the afternoon, after waking up, Lin Xuan suddenly remembered that Li Mengyao had been pregnant for more than 3 months and she had to go to the hospital for another pregnancy checkup. I looked at the time. It was past 3 o'clock. Wife, wake up. Lin Xuan shook her gently. What? Don't disturb my sleep. Li Mengyao rubbed her beautiful eyes with her small hands and muttered. Wife, let's go for a pregnancy checkup. Lin Xuan gently lifted Li Mengyao up with both hands. Oh, Li Mengyao's body softened again. There is no way. I can only pamper my bedridden wife. Half an hour passed. Hubby, let's go. Li Mengyao dressed up simply and smiled at Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan held Li Mengyao's hand and came to the parking lot after sitting down. He started the car and headed for Jinghai People's Hospital. Arriving at the hospital, Lin Xuan carefully helped Li Mengyao get out of the car, entering the hospital lobby. Lin Xuan was busy registering and paying the fees, while Li Mengyao sat aside and waited quietly. Li Mengyao is already 13 weeks pregnant. This prenatal checkup mainly checks whether the embryo is developing healthily, whether the mother is healthy, and whether the embryo has any congenital defects. When it was Li Mengyao's turn to be examined, Lin Xuan stayed by her side nervously. I saw a kind middle-aged female doctor examining her carefully, and Lin Xuan's eyes never left Li Mengyao. How many weeks pregnant? About 13 weeks. Li Mengyao said in a low voice. The female doctor sighed in her heart. He is so young to have a child, and the child is so beautiful. This boy is really blessed. Soon, the inspection was over. The fetus is fine and both little ones are very well behaved. Too? Li Mengyao's beautiful eyes widened instantly. Yes, from the ultrasound examination, it is confirmed that there are 2 embryos. Congratulations, you are pregnant with twins. Before, Lin Xuan brought Li Mengyao for a physical examination. But no ultrasound examination was done, so he didn't know that she was pregnant with twins. But you should continue to maintain a balanced diet, exercise appropriately, and pay more attention to rest. The female doctor smiled and advised. Okay, thank you, doctor. Lin Xuan smiled and thanked her, then took Li Mengyao's hand and left. At this moment, Li Mengyao thought that she was pregnant with twins. The babies were growing up healthily every day, and a happy smile appeared on her face. In fact, boy-girl twins are a type of twins. Fraternal twins, however, domestic law prohibits fetal gender identification without medical needs. So many women who are pregnant with twins will not know whether they are boy-girl twins until they are born. When they arrived at the hospital parking lot, Lin Xuan helped Li Mengyao get into the car, and then drove the Maybach back to Jinwan Mansion. Wait a minute. Honey, I'm going to get a package. Li Mengyao, who was sitting in the passenger seat, suddenly shouted. Send me the pickup code and I'll go get it. Lin Xuan parked the car aside and buckled his seatbelt and prepared to pick up the express delivery. Li Mengyao blinked her elegant eyes gently, stretched out her little hands to hug Lin Xuan, and kissed his lips. Thank you for your hard work, husband. That's it. Li Mengyao just tapped lightly and Lin Xuan didn't feel anything. What else do you want? Lin Xuan raised his hand and grabbed her forehead, pulled her over, and continued to seal those seductive lips with a kiss. After a while, Lin Xuan let go of Li Mengyao. Oh, quickly! A blush appeared on Li Mengyao's delicate face and she glared at him in reproach. Only then did Lin Xuan get out of the car contentedly to pick up the express. Soon, Lin Xuan returned to the car with 2 express parcels. Honey, what did you buy? I won't tell you. When they returned home, Li Mengyao couldn't wait to open the express box. Lin Xuan walked forward and saw that they were 2 sets of couple outfits. How is it? It looks good. Li Mengyao picked up the clothes and measured them against her body. Smiling slightly. Wife, please change it and see. Li Mengyao picked up her clothes and went back to her room. Lin Xuan picked up his suit, took a look at